make the playoffs in that one. Stage 2, go out 0-5.
They win a single map. That's all. At the very beginning of stage 2, and Shroud dropped, or not Shroud, Tens dropped a 40 bomb. Shroud's another guy we're going to be talking about in just a second. So this team obviously had some issues, right? Switching out the roster. Rocks, of course, had to step in from that coach position to actually play for the team. So with a rebuild here, Sentinels fans have to be looking up in this LCQ.
That's an important asterisk that I don't feel like we spent enough effort on.
Wait.
Did take a break away from the game that caused them to have to play with a different roster, but now they're coming in with an even different roster. They make the changes, and while there's one player in particular I know the audience wants to hear us talk about, let's focus on Zelsis first, who comes in very successful with his time with VIII, really impressed with what he did as a player. I think he brings a lot to this team.
Yeah, very successful with VIII, now verified, now on a new organization,
Different
ready to come into
The
the
real Zelsis now.
Yeah, for real. And
No
this guy
catfishing.
is the real deal. When V1 was making their wonderful run in stage 1, he was a huge part of that. Playing on the initiator, using that utility to set his team up.
Anjas.
That we knew his squad for.
Anjas, kita bakalan nonton Shroud main, guys. Mungkin untuk setelah sekian lama gitu, akhirnya turun di kompetitif lagi. Gua sih pasti mau nonton ya ini Sentinel, mudah-mudahan tidak mengecewakan guys. Jadi gue udah tidur nih, sengaja gue baru bangun mau nonton doang demi
Well, you've also got the elephant in the room at the end there. We're talking about Shroud, an incredible player coming in from his time in competitive Counter-Strike, now switching over to Valorant, coming out of retirement as a content creator. What are your expectations for Shroud? Because I feel like we don't really know what to expect because we really haven't seen him play.
Salah title guys. Absen kali. Absen guys.
The one game trying to qualify for an open qualifier, but he has been absolutely spamming ranked over on stream, and I think he's also been playing
Ini Shroud, ini contoh Shroud kemarin live stream ya.
There's been some highlight reels of the Omen and what he can get done on that agent. This player, yes, he's a streamer. Sentinels,
Gini,
no stranger to that.
satu hal, strafe-nya Shroud tuh enak banget ya masih. Strafe tuh apa ya? Biasanya kayak lu jadi kan dia lu yang kanan langsung lu tahan keyboard kiri WS AD masa disuruh tarik Lian kata Anang kadang-kadang Anang suka bener cok.
Gua nggak tahu, siapa tahu di private yang bisa dilihat.
Nggak dong, Anda dulu kan suka di sini kan.
Nggak, tadi tuh gue bilangnya ke Anang gue pakai Discordnya si monyet.
Oh. Suara lu kecil banget tapi. Oh, enggak. Gue salah sih.
Headset player soalnya. Males gue otak-atik cok.
Jangan cok. Wah.
Udah live.
Guys, udah live cok. Gue sih penasaran banget sih Yan. Aduh.
Ya gue aja begadang buat itu doang.
Iya cok. Kalau aja belum. Di atas ada Abi sama Korea tapi masih mungkin lagi RP tadi katanya, lagi nyangkut RP ntar nyusul. Kadang lagi OTW, ini ada Rian Onik.
Manajer Valorant bukan manajer cuak.
Di PUBG tidak laku cuak. Tidak baik-baik saja Oniknya.
Tidak lulus.
Tentu dong.
Ya doain aja. Nggak, manajer PUBG gue tetap cewek.
Dia bisa sampai bikin statement kayak begitu ya. Kalau Valorant franchise, gue pasti balik jadi pro player. When I was like 10 or 11 years old.
Mal gajinya itu kasarnya tuh kayak mal gaji itu dia stream dia sebulan.
Ini mal gajinya dia ya.
Ya ada standar gaji gede banget. Gua denger rahasia aja gede banget.
Indo aja gila ya.
Ya apa?
Wah.
Lu nonton di YouTube atau
Twitch? Twitch.
Own career to what it's going to be like for some of these youngsters, but as we shift our focus over to the guard, speaking of those youngsters,
Gila
this
nih.
is a team who in stage 1
Lens Shazam Shroud. Wah.
not successful, very similar to XZ.
Ini sebenarnya emang agak mengerikan gitu timnya nih.
Di atas kertas ngeri cok, apalagi Tens sama Shroud. Tapi gua nggak tahu si Shroud ini main apa.
Nah.
Inisiator kah? Atau smoker?
Smoker nggak sih?
Nggak tahu, gua kalau lihat live-nya semua dimainin anjir.
Ya, itu dia sih. Itu yang bingung sih. Katanya ini jago juga ya, coba gue lihat dulu lah statistiknya nih.
Ya, The Guard ini peringkat 3-nya Valorant point, circuit point. Kasarnya dia peringkat bleed di NA-nya. Sedangkan Sentinel nih paling bawah.
Yes.
Ini tim master, cok.
Tapi yang bilang pada banyak yang bilang sih Shroud smoker, cok.
Iya.
Kalau gue ngeliat juga gitu, cuma ya nggak tahu lah kalau ini kan.
Apa, Cok?
Wih,
Abang-abangan Valo ya kan?
bukan abang Palo.
PUBG, cok.
Gue abangan CS, cok. Ini abang-abangan PUBG dateng.
Lu diem. Jangan gitu, Rian.
Aman, cok.
Kan
Ini
gua
tim 3,
gua
cok.
abang-abangan Valo, lu abang-abangan PUBG gitu.
Lu PUBG, Cok. Parah lu.
Gua aja nggak ke GH kemarin gara-gara ini sama
Udah pasrah, Yan?
ya takel enggak, bukan itu takel.
Mana PC?
Oh, lu ngurus LCQ ya?
Enggak, itu kita lagi main lawan bom takel COVID, cok.
Hah?
Astaga. Serius, Cuk?
Ya makanya gua nggak keluar dari GH.
Duh. Terus lagi karantin atau gimana?
Nah, kayak pada mikirnya ya udahlah, ada pernah kena corona, takel tetap main di satu GH, cuma
Iya.
Ya,
Beda tempat
namanya
lah
orang
ya.
ya tapi
tabrak
nama
aja,
orang
bos.
sakit nggak fit. Pokoknya tim Valorant ini aneh anjir tiap
Nih,
Oh.
aman, Cok.
Dapat ini nggak permission nggak? Boleh nobar nggak?
Gas saya udah cuek dia aja. Ya sudah.
Udah gua bentar lagi nih gitu ya.
Udah aman.
Itu tiap mau VCT pasti ada yang kena corona.
Kenapa, Cok? Jimatnya kah?
Nggak
Anjing.
tahu anjir, ada aja nyasar corona ya, padahal nggak keluar loh.
Jimat anjing.
Asik gua anak-anak. Tapi,
Halo teman-teman.
Oh, ini kapan main, Yan?
Hari ini match kedua.
Hari ini lah.
Kedua.
Sore kan, Yan?
Enggak, match kedua, sore itu Bleed lawan Boom.
Oh iya, Bleed Boom.
Jam 3 berarti toh?
6 lagi, Cok.
Pokoknya hari ini seru semua. Secret lawan apa sih?
Anu.
Lawan apa ya? Pokoknya Secret, Order, terus
Order ya.
MITH, baru Boom Bleed hari ini. Ya hari ini sampai hari Minggu seru. Cuma ya Pablo tidak bisa nobar.
Kenapa PMPL ya?
Iya.
Kalau pas PMPL kita PMPL lah. Tapi gue salah pilih nggak, Yan? Kalau buat nobarnya.
Mana ya, gue bilang salah nggak juga. Masalahnya PMPL ya sama-sama rame, tapi ya dan ini kan
Lu nonton Twitch kan, Bro?
Twitch. Kenapa, Yan?
Ya saya kan di level LC dan ada Indo ya.
Paham.
Jadi sebenarnya dibilang salah enggak, dibilang bener enggak gitu.
Ya.
Ya, salah.
Paham.
Bisa lah.
Dan lu kan streamer PUBG. Valorant kan selingan.
Tapi apa ya? 6 tim lagi merebutkan satu tempat, Bro. Kalau untuk yang apa kan?
Apa? 6 tim lagi ya? Tinggal emang sampai tim lagi.
6 kan, Yan?
Ya. Tapi ini bro, habis lu nonton LCQ apa? Lu harus nonton LCQ East Asia. Itu tim Cina pertama kali.
Turun juga.
Asia ada anjing.
East Asia tuh Jepang, Korea, sama Cina. Cina tuh ada 2, Edward sama Kone. Lu lihat Edward Gaming main, sumpah ngeri banget, Cok. Kita sumpah itu aimnya, kalau lu bilang PRX ada 4 second, di Edward Gaming tuh kalau kata Ucil 4 secondnya 5.
Hah?
Mas gue juga ente terus. Halo.
Serius lu kata Ucil?
Abi lagi gitu. gitu ya.
Iya, Ucil yang ngomong. For second-nya
Ucil yang
5.
ngomong.
Iya.
Wah.
Anjay.
Persekannya 5 kah?
Iya. Ngeri, Cok.
Itu
aja
ada
kaget.
satu for second aja nyusahin, Cok. 5.
Mana 5?
5. Ini ya hitungannya. Wah,
Jadi aimnya
Bentar
kencang
lagi,
semua.
Oh iya, belum gua tampilin nanti
pasti
ya.
kencang semua, Cok.
Kemarin kalau Valo di mana? Oh, di atas nama itu ya. Oh iya.
Ini nobar sama
Udah
Super
bisa
Mayer
gua.
sama Rombeng tuh. Oh iya, nonton aja di sana nggak apa-apa. Nggak enak mau join. Gue tahu tadi gue udah lihat sih ada nih.
Air nonton.
Nonton ini. Di tempat Cemara.
Oh, di Cemara.
Pick apa nih Sentinel? Biasa.
Aman guys, nanti kalau mereka mau join bisa kok gampang.
Oh, wah mau main AIM, Cok.
Ini Dewa e-sport.
Oh,
apa tadi? Pertanyaan?
Sentinel pick breeze. Map AIM.
Oh, lagi ini ya, ngeband map ya?
Iya.
Woi. Aman guys, pas mulai hilang nanti logonya. Pagi, selamat pagi.
Gue sih yakin ya LCQ East Asia tuh Edward sih harus.
Udah pasti fix.
Itu Jepang ya?
Bukan udah pasti sih. Masalahnya Damwon
DWG Damwon Gaming itu Korea.
Damwon tuh masih bisa dikalahin. Kone tuh kita pernah menang, tapi banyak kalah juga. Edward ini paling susah.
Gila mapnya Breeze.
Itu bukan nama baru ya berarti ya?
Edward Gaming tuh udah lama belum menang. Makan Valorant kan belum rilis di Cina. Jadi ya belum official gitu loh.
Oh,
ini baru ini aja.
Oh, dia tapi udah ya pancing-pancing tipis lah ya.
Iya, tapi mainnya tuh di server Hong Kong.
Tapi dia pemainnya full Cina Yan atau gabungan gitu maksudnya?
Full Cina.
Breeze Ascent Ice
Paraboynya Valo dong berarti anjay.
Gila main di Breeze gimana ini? Sebenernya agak kurang enak sih. Gue kalau nonton pertandingan gini-gini ya, yang kalau misalkan yang kerat gitu jadi gue agak kurang suka di Breeze sih sebenarnya sih.
Kalau mau kerat-keratan enak di Heaven.
Heaven.
Defense-nya imbang kan.
Iya. Heaven, Ascent.
Lu berapa kemarin Onyx? 17-19 ya?
15-17.
Iya, 15-17. Kan
15-17.
nggak bisa tim.
Iya itu, ada mentoknya nggak tuh Yan?
Nggak ada.
Nggak ada.
Pernah 20-18.
Sampai selisih 2 ya Yan berarti?
Ya, pokoknya harus menang 2 kali berturut-turut. Kayak tenis. Tenis aja pernah 5 jam kan?
Iya. TO terus ya?
Ya katanya.
OT terus.
OT. Mana tadi kata agent pick Anjoy.
Paham banget gue ini guys yang kayak gini.
Iya kan Anang. Wah, Anang paling ngerti nih cowok.
Kan udah belajar Madelet kemarin.
Bisa gila.
Ini suruh aman cok, bener cok.
Bigas saya bigas bi.
Kalau lu ragu, kecilin bi.
Aman sih menurut gua.
Aman sih menurut.
Malah disupport sih.
Cok.
Intinya pas ini jangan bahas yang lain dah.
Ya.
Udah mulai ngantuk kawan? Gua ngeliat dia main gitu. udah mulai.
Capek,
Udah mulai meng-ente cowok.
Berapa jam bro?
Nambah lagi cowok.
10 jam. Sekarang 31.
The Sentinel the guard match is about to be wild.
Kalau channel menang bisa lolos soalnya the guard nih.
Iya kan banyak yang underestimate juga cu Sentinel ini.
Ya masalahnya Sentinel jelek.
Betul.
Ya masalahnya orang kemarin katanya kagak ada menangnya.
Gak ada, dia peringkat terakhir di grup
Peringkat terakhir bro.
Iya gue tuh kemarin tuh sempat nonton dia lawan siapa gitu. Kalah lagi 2-0, kalah lagi 2-0 cok.
Jangan rebahan kawan. Kelewat kawan. Hey. Pakai mode chat lambat Aduh, udah nggak apa-apa. Aman.
Banget cok.
Wah, gua gemes, Cok. Takut. Soalnya gini ya, ini balik ya. Dari dia nih yang udah istilahnya pensiun, sekarang coba terjun lagi nih, sebenarnya menurut gua ada impactnya tuh kemana-mana gitu. Gak cuma ke Sentinel doang gitu, buat dianya tuh gede banget impactnya gak sih?
Ngebalikin mood untuk kompetitif lagi gitu loh ya.
Iya, bisa nggak?
Beda loh, rehat sama pensi kan bener-bener kayak live gitu.
Ya, tapi kalau menurut gua ya kayak gini lah, kayak Abi nggak PMPL nih 2 season. Mungkin season depan dia main. Gue yakin game sense-nya masih ada.
Oh, yakin.
Ya, bawaanan. Naluri insting pasti masih.
Game sense tuh nomor 1 menurut gua.
Paham.
Ya tinggal ya latihan-latihan lagi. Dan ini juga online sih, jadi kayak pressure-nya nggak segede offline.
Tapi mohon maaf nih, tanpa mengeluarkan rasa hormat, bilangin belum dimatiin bodycam GTA-nya, bro.
Udah.
Oh, udah.
Lu jangan kelewat, lu udah pesen kopi.
Belum, gue pesen makan, gue lapar banget, Cok.
Ini gue juga mau pesen makan, anjay.
Lu baru pada bangun?
Bangun?
Enggak, belum tidur.
Gua baru bangun gua. Tidur gua.
Gua nonton
Belum tidur.
Dota.
Chatnya Abi sama Manang sama, Cok, masuk ya barengan. Nonton nggak?
Gua ada ngechat dia kan.
Nobar
dia
guys,
lagi
kita
fokus
nobar.
tadi.
Ntar gue istirahat ya guys.
Aman lu, rebahan aja dulu, santuy. Lah iya, volumenya ke mute guys, maaf.
Ini Gregor, Cok. Hah? Mirip kan?
Iya.
Ada mirip ada sama Gregor.
Asli.
Sentinel sampai The Guard lu. Emang ada yang dukung The Guard ya? Kayaknya nggak ada.
Lihat viewernya dia belum.
Ya tetap ada lah viewernya.
Viewer apa chat di live streamnya?
Di Valorantnya 87.000, ditarik 75.000, di Shroud 60.000. Wah gila, gara-gara Shroud.
Shroudnya ada.
Di Shroud kan itu yang
Ceweknya.
watch party ceweknya.
Oh iya kan, coba
Tadi gue
nonton.
liat Twitter tadi.
Lihat ah.
Ceweknya
Anjing.
tarik juga.
Kena
Ini
iklan, Cok.
gila juga.
Kenapa?
Gila viewernya.
Viewernya gila, iya makanya Valorant.
Ini viewer
Udah
master
sampai.
anjir ini.
Aku ngambil makanan dulu ya.
Aman.
Gue rasa semua turun gak sih nonton, penasaran nih kayak saking iya
Ya,
ditemenin
4
cewek.
tahun bro.
Penasaran itu cu, asli.
Kayak gini aja kalau Super Nair
Nah,
kompetitif lagi lu nonton nggak walaupun
Nonton.
jam 5 subuh?
nonton,
Kan?
nonton.
Kayak gitu, Cok.
Makanya. Lawan gue siapa? Riannya Onyx. Kalau mau nanya abang-abangan Valo, iya. Sekarang.
Lu tanya makan Severin apa biar jago, tanya.
Nah.
Bener.
Shroud sama Simple satu angkatan.
Mana panggil
Jatuhnya
Cil
iya.
sini, Cil. Panggil Cil.
Lagi di luar ngerokok paling. Gue mulai.
Pin
Dia
picok.
watch party sama ceweknya kok nggak salah.
Oh, dia watch party sama ceweknya.
Oh,
Meme.
enggak live. Oh enggak.
Weh,
AF tadi juga vote mau nonton, dia mana dia?
Siapa?
hero-nya
Hero
apa?
agent.
Iya, agent nih. Tense.
Ya, seru
Nggak,
pakai vibe.
Beda di
Nggak ada beda di sofa.
tapi di
Ya,
pas
sofanya ada Fed.
sofa
Mereka
sama
nggak pakai
Fed.
duelist. Nggak pakai duelist.
Dia pakai sofa sama Fed jadi satu. Wah.
Dia nggak pakai duelist.
Ini serius udah di pick belum kan? Ini belum kan?
Nggak tahu sih gue kaget anjir. Di Breeze nggak pakai duelist, Cok.
Di Breeze gak pakai duelist sih. Wah.
Serinya gitu. Ya. Apa ngandelin defense doang dia?
Tapi enggak juga main pakai ada Fed juga. Ada sofa.
Tumen si Tens nggak pakai jet.
Ngerti gue. Gimana ceritanya Fed di Breeze?
Tapi Fed di Breeze bisa aja sih.
Tahu ya.
Udah nih anjing. Udah kocak bro. Apa tuh maksudnya? Udah mulai. Ini mulai cowok.
choice to put your star op or your star duelist
Belum
on that
tidur gua.
role.
Sengaja
And
pengen
if
nonton
there's a
ini
map
guys,
to do it, if
asli.
there's a map to run the duelist list, I think it
Kalau
makes a lot of
PRX
sense on
dua
Razer. I'm
duelist,
excited to see what they have.
Sentinel dua
Really curious to see
inisiator.
what's going to go down here on our first map of this best of 3. We've got our casters standing by. It's Rivington and Van Silly. Take it away.
Cil, udah mulai Cil.
Thank you so much, Mark, and everybody at the desk. Riv, this is one of
Udah
those
mulai kah?
games where I'm super excited
lagi.
about because
Kalian nonton di mana, di YouTube apa Twitch?
Twitch.
excited to watch this game than I was watching the Masters 2 in
Linknya
Copenhagen
dong, Bang Pablo.
between these two teams.
Hah?
It's a simulation or we're in a movie. The script is perfect.
Minta link. Lu langsung buka Twitch, langsung ada Valorant paling kiri, Kre.
Iya kah?
Much skill going into this game right now.
Wah, mau mulai, guys.
Ih, pacarnya Shroud cakep banget ya.
Iya lagi.
Wah, doyan banget gua anjir.
Buset.
Kayak kowe. Lori banget kok. Anjing lah.
Kita mau
Abi yang tuir
kita
masa
facecam
menang.
berempat ya.
Iya, Cok. Gila idaman banget tuh.
Apa off cam? Off cam ya.
Top banget, gila.
Off cam kah?
Off cam
on.
Udah mulai Cil.
Halo Cil, salam pen salam Cok, suruh semangat. Gua facecam dulu nih. Cil. Beban, Cok.
And we wonder this map pool could actually allow
Oi,
just jet, right?
Kontol.
lu bikin malu aja kalah sama boom anjing, woi.
Gimana anjing?
Iya.
Namanya main game.
Tapi seru ya. Hah?
Seru dong.
Seru.
Gila nih,
Yuk.
Bos. Bos, ngajak pergi-pergi lagi, Bos.
Nah, ayo gas, Cok. Lu menang dulu sono.
Sudah panas.
Anjing pistol roundnya pasti
Ini kali ya.
Chelsea-nya keras juga, guys.
Asli.
Facecam di mana, Cok? Enaknya, Cok, facecam.
Kanan,
Di atas ini, Bi.
Di bawah aim lab.
Sama agentnya tuh.
Udah,
Udah, kalau itu nutupin gitu
Turunin lagi
Oh,
dia.
di atas player ya.
Ya, di atas nama player. Itu Ucil ya, Bro? Iya, Ucil. Kayaknya bakal mendefense Sentinel. Yeay. Apakah Sentinel akan balik berjaya lagi, guys? Ini bayar slot sih nggak murah mestinya sih.
Gajinya mahal, bro.
Mahal.
Tidak mungkin murah.
Little 3-man test, making sure they can at least trade if they do go for one. Dapper, you see Dapper on the peak there, but he also has a bit of an anchor.
Udah berasa
Belum
banget.
makan, Cok.
Ayo makan
Ya,
biar
Cok.
makan. Silakan sila.
It was sick on Sage or Dapper on something else, and the controllers to get their engages, to be their duelists. Sentinels have always had a different style. And the triple initiator as well leads to a style where you can play straight to protocols. You don't have these set strats. Now it seems to lean towards B. The guard has this quite red though.
Attackingnya bagus sih.
Duh, kanannya. Ini. Oh no. Shroud.
Nice poison bomb from Shroud just to try to cover for a bit. 20 seconds left. Plenty of time to still go for a plant, but we still have the Marshal in play. Tense though, coming in as a chamber, getting a shot on to net.
Oh, belum headshot sih guys ya. Belum headshot sih.
And it's gonna be an easy 3 versus 1. And it's gonna be impossible for Saya player to try to win this 3 versus 1 with only a Marshal.
If he can hit a few through the smoke, that would have been
Mungkin ya, nggak mungkin lah ya, nggak mungkin lah.
And even a far rotation off here by Shroud to make sure that they could just hang back.
Lu jadi lapar lagi.
If it was necessary. Great damage by guard.
Kayak lebih pasif gitu dia mainnya.
Lebih tenang ya.
Iya.
So they can get
Nggak ngeliat yang Tens bisa seradap seluruh gitu ya.
Maybe Tens of the Spectre, he might just go full headhunter here, and it looks like he will do that. The guard have tried to push onto B. They played Saya player towards a Marshal for that round, so
ya bisa juga karena itu.
It doesn't look like an operator will be in the future with the economy just yet.
Langsung pada bye.
And we'll see what they do now.
Udah bikin 0-13 kah?
Player over towards A. Strength calls. They spread out this defense.
Kalau ngebantai sih bisa lolos dia.
How much coverage he can control with this move towards A for Sentinels. They can again do anything, right? It's off of protocol, not really strategies for
Gila,
them. As they can
si Ucil nyemilnya KFC anjing.
play style we've usually seen from them.
That's what
Baru
we're
bangun
talking
dia.
about, is trying to stay in the default style that you have from Sentinels with the triple initiator, playing it more slowly and using your utility of
Ucil live di mana?
to figure out if the guard
Atau nggak live dia di Mei
early like they did in the first round. This means that we might potentially see a lot of big rotations back as they get inside, but this time it's going to be quick. Moving inside the A side, and
What?
it's going to be an open door, but Trent holding it up towards that bridge. Two on the Shroud and Dapper. 10's the last player standing stuck at the mid.
Oke, sisa 10.
Oh, nice try.
Oh, nice try, bro.
Ini namanya digunting ya guys ya.
Apa namanya, Pablo?
Digunting, sendulan kucing ini.
Nicely retaliated by the guard, not thrown off by the fact that there were
Langsung dipotong.
even blind with that fade utility from Dapper. Guards
Facecam Ucil lah bro. Adanya facecam
Ini
Lian.
first time Shroud turnamen major ya?
Oh,
turun kompetitif.
Tetip lagi.
Maksud gue di Valo.
Iya, balik lagi ke kompetitif kan.
First turnamen dia cok di major.
Tapi katanya waktu itu pernah daftar sama tim-tim kecil-kecilan gitu kalau nggak salah.
Pernah, tapi nggak lolos kualifikasi.
Nggak lolos kualifikasi.
Ya kan yang major ini.
Razer nggak sih?
Ya, tensnya kena.
Major ini lagi di wildcard ya kan.
Strafe-nya si Shroud ini bagus banget, cok.
Siapa?
Strafe-nya. Yang nembak berhenti gitu nah. Timing kah? Oh.
Meleng dia.
Timing is everything in Valorant memang.
Receiving and reading the guard right now. The Sentinels have seen two pushes, right? Already. That B push on second round as well as elbow that came in late to the second round.
Sebenarnya
And now this. They're expecting guard to be
sampai saat ini sih pertandingan biasa-biasa aja sih, belum ada yang
Belum yang ya gimana.
Ya gitu. Main tuh gini gitu, lewat tiket cetot hilang aja tiba-tiba. Wih anjing.
Make it into a little more for Valley. Looks for the second one, but as he tries to clear towards the left side, came out of nowhere and got
gua Valorant paling jago sekarang si ini. Optik Yei.
Yei.
Jago banget tuh orang anjing.
Yei.
Lu lihat anjing ininya. Corsair M-nya gila.
Tapi ya emang keras, cok. Anjing Zazam bunuh. Kayak nembaknya kayak easy banget ya kalau di slow motion ya.
Kayak dapet aja gitu ya bro.
Kenapa cok?
Habi belum lihat Sugetsu. Tahu lah Abi Sugetsu, tahu nggak Bi?
Oh ada si Queen. Apa?
Sugetsu.
Sugetsu tahu, cuman menurutku tetep Yei sih.
Mungkin Sugetsu kemarin ada kelas tampil juga.
Kalau Sugetsu itu main licik.
Iya licik.
Kalau Yei itu emang pure aim-nya kerat.
Pure aim-nya kerat.
Iya.
Sugetsu tuh kayak Ucil tuh modelnya ya. Hah?
Licik dia. Jadi kayak lu lawan dia tuh bisa lu nggak nembak sama dia.
Net firing a few off. Looks like the iron sight was not calibrated as he wished.
Ini gila siapa nih kalau kayak gini, aduh.
Siapa?
Zazam kah? Masih apa ganti slot? Tetap Zazam ya. Harusnya sih ya.
Padahal si ini jago loh. Siapa?
Siapa?
Komentan. Komentan. Yang sebelumnya siapa sih?
Zoms.
Bukan. Kan satu lagi si zombie sama siapa gitu.
Satu lagi siapa ya?
Sik jago itu dia.
Sik, oh iya. Banyak juga tuh bocilnya tuh, bocil Sik cok.
Apa dia nggak main ya?
Itu makanya Shroud gantiin itu nggak sih?
Iya, gantiin.
There's just so
Sentinel
much
6
down
player
on the
kalau nggak
pocket
salah.
right now for Sentinels that the guard still needs to
Ik lagi masa keluarga katanya. Lu yang bener lu. Gua mah iya aja nih pure aja cowok yang ngomong cowok.
On one side of the map tells you a lot actually. You know,
Oh iya enggaknya
masalah keluarga ya.
chances are
keluarga berat
you
nggak?
agree that there's a heavy towards the left
berat nggak?
side. Chamber can obviously teleport out from that push, so you never really want to go too hard on it. And Sentinels, as you said, going in, playing the wall when they do or don't need it. That was the bone, or that was the save-ish for the guard, right? So of course Sentinels are going to take the long-range firefight. The aim has been on.
Sampai situ soalnya gua.
Everybody getting a piece of the pie right now. Ultimates have already been used to secure a few rounds for Sentinels. We saw a very early Viper's Pit from Shroud that allowed them to secure a few, and we're back to a bit of a sorted round. Tour de force here for guard.
Yeah.
We do have armor for them, though, so let's see if they can get themselves back in.
Janjian ya bareng-bareng.
Despite them losing these rounds,
Itu
4-1 for the Sentinels. Everything comes back into fruition where they have a very strong defense, especially after that tag and now the kill.
yang ketek siapa, yang mati siapa, mampus gak lu? Hah?
Bete.
This is when you kind of like say, "God, we have
Ketek
triple initiator."
Zazam yang mati Zelsis.
Lose somebody, right?
Sezamnya nggak kena.
Sezamnya nggak kena. Apa ya, Cok?
This is what they need. You need to shut down Sentinels who are waiting for you across the map. We're like, all right, wait for this.
Yeah.
Takes them down. Because guard isn't playing into the hand of Sentinels anymore. They're staying on their own side, hard angles.
Doms
Like,
kata
you double up, like you said. You let the aggression be used.
And a Nightfall does hit net. You hear the Hunter's Fury coming out on the attack as well. The Hunt also pings and forces the fall back. Couple of pings coming out at least
Masuk nih 20 detik.
the Hunter's Fury of Shazam. But still a 5 versus 4, so going for a plant. Nice shock dart onto 10.
Gila shock dartnya, Cok.
But still in the end, it's a plant. Close plant situation now for the guard.
Mati,
Starting things off quite well with a dual pulse kill from net. Battle onto mid and Shazam is lurking back. But the retake back towards the site. Shroud is holding towards the angle at the ladder. That's the first kill at Berlin. But it continues to get traded out. And it continues to be a perfect
Gila,
retake
nice
for the
retake,
guard
Cok.
to make it 2-4 in favor of Sentinel still.
Oh, the little clip shot Sentinels are hitting here just look like they are winning the round, but the backside there, Jonah P moving in, the squad coming together, and they were able to take down just about everybody
Tapi the guardnya
through the backside of the site when the focus was towards mid, was towards
ini miskin
the
duitnya.
archway.
Iya.
So really nicely done there. Guard did suffer quite a bit there in economy.
Tapi masih
So it might be
cukup,
tough for
Cok.
them to get back into a buy. They're
Kalau
going to call
kalah,
time even
mix
after the win
buy.
to make sure they can
Kalau
keep
kalah.
the flow going. Because it's tough,
juga sama.
right? They're winning the rounds, like I said, but Econ's down. And it takes the spike being planted and
Kalau Sky mah 4 second jago mana? Yeh.
still getting
Waduh,
their money.
Sky
They're still
dong.
finding
Jago
money.
Sky lah.
And I think the guard
Iya,
is
jago
then
Sky
considering,
kemana-mana.
alright,
Gue megang Sky kemana-mana sih, seadanya coy.
Sky aja baru
Still
sekali
making it
PMPL
in.
ngeratain
I don't think
Ipus.
they care about that. The winning of the round is really where it ends here. Sometimes you can go at, let's stop them fully from getting in the site, but I think this is going to be a
Abi udah nge-live berapa jam berarti, Bi?
guard coming out because of the way Sentinels is drawing these rounds out and really finding guards positioning before attacking.
Yeah. And this is a very interesting moment where the guard is actually calling the timeout when they actually had a beautiful
Masih
going in for
ya
the
masih match-match yang
methods actually to hold that
masih inilah.
Masih saling baca dan raba sih, Bro.
Masih aman banget ini.
Gua
Boring sih gua nontonnya.
Hah? Iya kan? Gak ada yang
B aja.
tapi iya gara-gara Breeze juga kayaknya nggak sih?
Breeze tuh map gede, jadi kayak benar-benar lu main-main Crossfire kan. Habis ini sih baru.
Essence seru sih mestinya sih.
Nah ini sama regen.
Then it gets dicey, right? You're looking to use the op as a shotgun, and it doesn't really work like that for some. Viper's Pit's gonna stall out an A hit here.
Sekali lagi receh.
Anjir namanya saya player.
Iya.
Yeah, the positioning is so good if you're looking at this radar from the guard. The offers
Turunan Indo kali,
towards the B main, towards mid. You have the Silva playing towards the back A halls, and then you have the Viper's Pit in the front. But you're facing against 3 initiators in the front A site. Now the door gets
Ya
a beautiful
ampun.
flash, but it's still Saya player that lands the first kill on the Dapper.
Vali-nya malah nge-push pinter banget, Cok.
The recon dart comes out, and that's a spike down as well. But we are trading back. It's Shroud and Tens back.
Wah, Ten sama Shroud. Apakah double wombo?
For the guard, as the recon dart comes out, trying to flush out Shroud, bringing out Poison Orb, and he's getting sprayed at the same time. Tens goes for a plant.
Udah
anjing.
anjing.
Oh my gosh.
Kompetensnya kena anjir.
Operator for tens, it feels like comfort. It feels like home. And there's one shot onto net.
Oh ya, apakah combo wombo?
Well, now it's tens, or Trent, should I say, on the clutch. 2 versus 1 does have the Aldrone to work with. Who better than Trent to try to go for this clutch right here? But the reeler is coming back here from tens on the mid. Now we have to tap onto that spike, potentially have a double swing. The first peek out, the headshot to Shroud, but he's still looking back towards the doors.
banget anjir.
An opportunity here for tens to move back up. Comes in for the op kill for the mid doors, and that is a 2-on-1.
Nggak ngepick loncat dulu gitu ya.
Mike Tyson.
Belum kayak game sense-nya belum kesana, Cok.
The haymaker thrown by the Mike Tyson combo. Oh, that puts him down around for sure.
Menurut gua game sense itu tumbuh karena pengalaman anjir.
Reposition as well. Because Shroud was
udah
in
dari
hall.
tadi.
So that's the first reposition.
Sering ketemu momen-momen gitu ya maksudnya, Bi.
Iya.
Or the cave. So that's the next reposition. You don't think they're going to go that far around.
Kayak misalkan ngeliat musuh nih suka shoulder pick. Anjing gua mati mulu nih kalau musuh kayak gini.
Operator still tens on the operator. He's got it in hand now. It becomes dangerous. Let's see if Sentinels can still keep putting these frags on the board. A push from Jonah P here. And guard get a little aggressive again here in round 8.
Yeah.
Tinggi banget nih orang sensinya kayak.
From other players where the underhand throw could catch a lot of players off guard towards that front B. But again, looking at Sentinels, it's been very slow in the beginning of these rounds. Just playing where you're mentioning before, Riv, where they're buying their guns. But look at this push from net and the off angle.
Timing.
But net wins it.
There's a spicy shot.
Udah feeling, Cok. Nah, timing pasti shotnya.
That wall is for Sentinels to get into these rounds. A lot
Iya, game sense belum nemu udah kedua 7.
Opening pick for them is the way to even this up. So far he looks
emang kerat, Cok.
And again, we saw this sometimes from Sentinels before, where they draw out the rounds.
Sayang banget mapnya, Cok.
They'd aggress a little bit more. Sick would be in somebody's face a little bit faster here, but it does seem like they're relying on the guard telling them a little bit of information before there's movement. This death ball moves once again towards A. They don't.
Ya, kalau menurut gua Asen baru seru.
We'll see once we get Shazam up here how they can drone themselves in.
It's actually a great delay. Now the gun also sticks out too, but unfortunately the headhunter does not connect from net. So that's an early 4 versus 4, and because of all this utility,
untung gak kena anjing.
By all these flashes, off shot miss could have been a crucial one, but this allows now Sentinels to get a plant down. The Owl drone trying to re-clear that does tag onto a member of Sentinels, forcing him just to hold back towards bricks. As Zelsis is watching back towards that right side pyramid. We still have
sakit banget ini.
For Sentinels, and we're also flooding back. Nice flash from Jonah B, but it's
Shazam,
and looking at it so far with those 2 kills coming out from Shazam, you already see Saya player falling back to save that operator, so that is going to be a round coming in for the Sentinels.
Gila safety banget mainnya mereka loh. Sen nggak mau ngejar.
Controller down, Vansili. Right?
Betul.
And we saw
seorang gila, Cok.
kind of just run in there.
And
then we saw a few other flashes coming in as well. We did see Zelsis throw 0 point back towards the right side to make sure that they kind of deterred anybody on that for defense.
Katanya saya player ini orang Korea, emang iya, Cok?
Walk into that site, pushing the round timer down, putting odds in their favor. The guard wouldn't want to take a fight.
Ya teh beban, Cok.
Bener lu orang Korea, anjoy.
So
everybody
never gets on without having Shrouds.
Iya, bukan jet Korea.
Giving or just kind of playing those odds in their favor just enough, even when they're down and around there. And we see Shroud going down, the guard up in a 5v4 round, and they can't convert. They've had so much trouble doing that.
And the trouble that they had was also during the whole stage of stage 2, which we actually see the guard kind of like drop off in those advantages that you had on this early virus. So yeah, it continues to be a lingering factor right now for the guard, at least in this very map.
Nih, 27 sih kalah lagi sih ini.
Looking very good on the executions with this triple initiator. Get these plants, starting things off with a Viper on the left side. Another conversion that starts off early for Trent as he gets the first blood for the team. It gets immediately traded out, and now he's trying to go for this flank. He's not really traded out, but at least they've evened up the tally for Sentinels is what I'm trying to get to. And with that, though, with this pit, we're still going to hold very slowly for Sentinels.
Got 9 rounds in and they pull the trigger.
Muter, Cok, berdua, Cok.
Fast round from Sentinels. Guard with a great reaction so far on a fast push, but they read Trent. They kick him down. Vansili Dapper now looking as Nat searching for another frag. back after he gets the Vandal.
Zelsis with the underhand throw outside of the pit to connect onto Jonah P, and unfortunately Net is going to be by himself now as another one falls for the guard.
Yes.
Inside the pit, Zelsis spots for the third one of this round, making it 7-2, and that's to add another one of these Sentinels post-plant conversions, almost making us think
Ini baru ronde nih.
100 Thieves play from stage
27.
Yeah. The good thing you mentioned that.
Terus menang nih, kalau ini nggak menang
it was Hiko that said when you play against Sentinels, you
jauh
get
ya.
this, you almost play against every play style
28,
at the
29.
same time. The ability to change it up, be fluid and versatile. And there we just saw them completely flip the switch after showing guard a very Navi style of play where they were planting with 1 second every time. So now the guard has to wonder, do we continue to push? Are we going to see this death ball right away? It looks like they'll keep this one set back and actually hover towards B this time. They're trying to read what Sentinels would do side to side, and it seems like they're starting to favor A more, especially when Tens will have the tour de force, which they just see the knee of Tens.
Intip dikit.
Yeah. Jump peek, jiggle peek, just try to spot something, bait out a shot, so we don't.
Kerjaan gua nih anjir ya kayak gua lagi si Tens. Liatin itu kristal-kristal. Wih, yang di ulti itunya, Cok. Tup. Anjing, 3 orang, Cok.
Shroud and Shazam plant on the right side of the pyramid, and the wall comes
up. Shroud nggak suka pandal ya?
Position inside sight.
Guards just setting up garrisons here.
Apa ya?
Like you said, under bridge there were.
Kalau di sini enak vandal sih.
Beautiful coverage and anchoring of each other here, making it tough for Sentinels. Now Shroud and Shazam standing tall. Be able to do it. A Saya player connects.
Oke, kita lihat ini Shroud.
Ya,
miss. Pershotnya miss ya. Shroud mainnya kayak pasif banget gitu. Kayak ya. Masih bisa aja Bi, belum panas ya kan, masih demam panggung, Cok.
Demam panggung. Kas lu belum?
Masih ini match pertama biasa, raba-raba. Pertama kali ya kan. Aduh, mau kentut. Bentar.
Reading how Sentinels were playing when they're basically getting hit with everything. So it's good to see.
Kayaknya perut gua kosong harus.
Enak belum tidur?
Enak, Cok.
Tidur lagi kan?
Enggak tidur lagi lah.
Tidur lagi?
Cok, anjing main GTA nih, ngantuk gua.
Dapper starts it off. There's again your initiator getting that first frag away. Sentinels has before. It's things you don't expect.
Banyak ini Krek.
To come out here. Dapper had used a bit of utility there to clear space and make sure he could take
situasi.
We tried something new for the guard in terms of the push from the chamber, which is now on that B site, punished by Dapper. We potentially could have seen the first battle on mid where
Ntar siang lagi, Cok, merem dulu. Anjing.
Iya, lu istirahat aja dulu Bi abis ini Bi.
Emang istirahat anjing.
Siang lagi, Cok.
Siang gas lagi dah temennya.
Terus iya.
Enggak off tapi, Cok.
Iya, enggak off. Udah reset live belum lu?
Abis ini
12 jam habis itu ya.
Tapi iya ya, apa benernya deh ngomong kan gak ada UltraGaming, Cok. Tapi emang Perex tuh membuat sesuatu yang beda sih dengan UltraGaming-nya sih.
UltraGaming apaan?
Gue terus, Cok, maju, Cok, tabrak.
Kayak gue kabel lari terus lu.
Ya, Cok. Bedanya kalau ini, kalau Perex tuh dapat gitu nang. Kalau anak cuma lari doang anjing.
kan jadi bait buat lu anjing.
Kasih info doang.
Kasih info, Cok.
Wah, 48 kah ini?
That's one of those moments where it looks like it was a very solid hold and not allowing Sentinels to plant.
Ada si Dapper ya.
So the operator does seem to be
ada perkembangan ya guys ya, masih kill 7.
Definitely allowing
good time out ngeledek, Cok. Spec streamer ini, Cok.
What's happening from Sentinels is their wide swing. But their
Time
shots are
out.
on right now, and clearing the
Iya.
sights we saw. In the
Ulti
first
nggak
few
punya,
rounds,
semua nggak apa.
well,
Ini
we were
time out
talking
respect,
about to
Cok.
keep those angles open. They're now being met with the guard coming online a little bit. Great plays.
Tapi pressernya Shroud
Awareness.
gede banget sih di sini anjir.
Mantap itu ya.
Really nice.
Soalnya satu slot doang gitu loh.
Angled
Iya.
that ramp too. So Sentinels will call a timeout here. What to do on the final round?
Nggak tahu tapi bakal dihujat gak dia ya kira-kira kalau
Go super hard. It is
Kalau
gonna be an all-
Ini nggak-
underperform ya atau nggak
Iya.
sesuai ekspektasi.
Mid hit right here, so
Itu
look
apa?
towards that A side, but it
Gamblingnya
does look
dia.
like the ball funnel into
Iya.
the area.
Kecuali main event kan maksud gua kayak oh lu gagal di upper bisa ke lower gitu kan.
jika rasa pas nonton boring biasa W Gaming. Iya lagi ada benernya lagi gua.
Misalnya megang
Biasa nonton
Shroud, megang
PRX.
champion.
Kalau di NA lo nonton gitu nonton 100 Thief,
Nanti
baru W Gaming.
Indo nonton katanya mirip A. Ada unsurnya sih W Gaming AE sih.
Versi light.
Tapi gimana Subaton aman-aman, Cok.
Aman Wilbur. RTO bentar gua tadi ya.
It is very much so. Just to touch on Celsius once more.
Tuh, RTO, Cok.
Apa jaringan lu?
Oh tadi OBS gua mental 20.000 naik.
Huge handful of members.
Udah balik lagi.
Seems like they want to encroach though. They kind of play against what you think would happen. Oh, we slowed them down.
Tapi beris ini emang kalau nahan ini mesti pakai operator mau nggak mau, Cok.
Kalau jauh kan.
Wah, 457, Cok. Trend.
Soalnya dia match pertama lawannya seeding 1 aja.
Iya.
Udah beban duluan lawannya, udah paling rajanya.
Switching side. Will be right back. Lah.
Ya, ini habis ini langsung masuk lagi.
Halftime NA iklan anjir. Kalau di Indo nalit.
Indo analis ya. Kemarin ini cepet sih.
Gila lo viewernya.
Ah berapa?
Tarik Valor. Ini 120.
120.000.
Tarik 145.
Lah ini Kidae 30, berarti udah 150 dong.
Tarik 145.
145 anjing.
147 naik.
Lah.
170.
Rejeng 3.000, rejeng 3.000.
Nyumbang ya. Nyumbang ya.
Nyumbang.
Kontribusi, Cok.
Hitung berarti kalau Valorant dong 120, Kidae 150 kan ceweknya Tens.
ID.
Oh, iya, Kidae, Cok. 60.
Day.
Dae.
Day.
Iya.
Day. Tuh.
Kidae siapa gue dari tadi mikir, Cok.
Itu Kidae, Cok. Dia ini enggak jadi kehitung-hitung nih. 150.
165, 167, 570, 556, 751, 1921, 54, 14, 14, Maleu, oi,
oi, Lian.
Uyang enggak lu, Bro?
Lumayan ini gue mau hitung mau buka kalkulator aja. Jadi lu ngitung bodo amat.
Ceweknya tensi nggak ada obat.
Siniat anjing.
35 tambah 14 tambah 11 tambah 147.
Ada obat cowok. Cewek tensi.
Itu Sinatra 11.000.
Sudah 400.000 di Twitch aja, guys.
Sinatra 11.000 udah hitung.
Udah. 400.000 ya.
Indo, Cok. Yang streamer Indo, Cok.
Pablo 100.
Jangan hitung gue, Cok, malu, Cok, anjing. Gue tadi juga gak hitung yang 100 anjing.
Oh iya.
Jangan weh.
Gue 27 ini. Lumayan.
Jangan, Cok. Mana gaming? Halo.
Nice. Chat nggak ada follow ya?
Valorant Champion di YouTube 40.000, 400.000.
we wanted to start off this series, to start off the LCQ.
Champion masalahnya.
60.000 yang nonton Valorant di itu. 60 tambah berarti ya mau 500.000, Cok.
One of the win conditions we came into this tournament with
Level LCQ
was
gede
that
banget.
guard converts their 5
NA doang lagi.
Iya, NA doang LCQ gede banget sih. Besok nggak bakal begini nih.
Kalau besok habis match ini nggak akan kayak gini.
Iya, Cok. Mau face juga lewat sih. Kebakalan. Ya dapat salam ya dari Wilbert.
Halo, Bert.
Oh, Matthew nge-cash ya, lupa gue mau jadi lupa.
PSL dia kan.
Iya, sama Santi.
Ntar masuk rumah sakit.
Iya, ini flow main, guys. Dapet, Cok.
Nice try.
Wah, dapet ini the guard.
Big 2.
Kalah menurut gue Sentinel.
Menurut
gini terus.
Shroud gara-gara lu puji, Cok. Game sense balik, kill 7 nggak bunuh lagi anjir.
Iya, Cok. Dari kill 7 stop anjir. Asusnya cuma nambah 1 dari tadi.
Gimana, Bi?
Abi efek, Cok.
Wah, terus efek dari 500.000 orang nggak ada yang efek lagi apa anjing?
Pablo nggak berlaku kayak di sini, Cok.
Berharap Shroud kill 40 gitu.
Ya gitu.
Yang banyak bilang I'm God, Cok.
Rejing sore udah ngantuk. Abis ini dia istirahat kok, guys. Aman.
Capek nembak dari GTA.
Sampai jadi polisi ya, Kre ya.
The name and the numbers and the viewers affect his playstyle to be like, I'm going to confidently push down, get the information from my team, and on top of that, getting these kills.
Yeah, you got to know you're better than everybody else in the server. It's just a feeling.
Iya, ada yang lapor nggak polisi, Bi? Di mobil barangnya hilang, dirampok.
Maksudnya?
Gue tadi ada ngambil barang polisi, Cok. Kayak di mobil.
Barang apaan?
Mobilnya dikunci, gue buka pakai lockpick.
Ada apaan?
Senjata 4 biji.
Senjata apaan?
Assault. Special assault. Apa ya?
Udah, Cok, Bi.
Arbin yang kedua.
Ntar kita warnanya orang.
Apa? Ya, Kre?
Warnanya nih, 40 nih. Walaupun kita taunya OC ya kan.
Libur, Cok, lu, Cok, sumpah. Kalau tiba-tiba gue kena cek aset gara-gara itu libur, Cok. Pasti.
Guard mirrored what Sentinels did. They crouched and scaled onto A. Now we have a late round.
Lu juga libur itu anjing.
Kenapa?
Bisa libur? Kan nggak boleh.
Boleh, Cok.
Kecuali lu nggak boleh, kecuali lu ikut perampokan. Itu mobil nggak boleh dicek, Cok. Cuma boleh ngelut badan. Ada polisi itu. Iya.
Ih, enggak, Bi, itu tuh bebas. Lu tau gak sekarang pegang senjata polisi berapa dendanya? 200.000. 200.000 dibuatnya.
Oh, udah 7 sama, Cok.
Enggak, ini bonus nih. Ini harusnya naik lah, Sentinel 78. Bisa nggak ya?
Kalah ini udah 13-7 ini.
Iya, 3 bulldog, 2 pandal. Kerat juga, Cok.
Gonna work out in their favor.
So instant walls being put up right away. So this allows you to feel out the map. You've already put something on the plate of Sentinels on defense, so guard can decide to play around that. It does seem like Trent feels comfortable in halls. It's the second time we've seen him extremity
dikontrol
as they start to work mid. So now guard, this did not happen for Sentinels. I don't think we ever saw Sentinels work mid once. So guard here trying to pressure the kill.
If anything, it was only a late lurk, but here comes that split in. A couple of flashes coming out on defense, but it's still gonna be Shroud trying to hold this round out.
Wih, wih, anjing. Baru ada yang goib ya guys ya.
Baru ada kejadian satu ya.
Nah, itu baru agak ada goib satu guys.
Itu baru ori.
Wah.
Gaib guys, gaib.
Astaga, tense.
What the fuck?
Wah, line up.
Kena itu.
Untung nggak.
Nggak, tapi itu dia nggak bisa masuk.
Dapat.
Oh, I think just at the last moment, I thought they
Expensive
were trying
round.
to
Iya,
gas
ini menang
out.
rasa kalah nih.
Maybe didn't call that it was going down. That caught out, but then stayed out.
Miskin ini. Kok juga?
Enak sejuta umat.
Nggak ada 4.000 anjir.
And it did not pay off.
Jam iya habis ini istirahat tadi kita
Honestly,
guys,
that
aman.
looked like the guards round with Sentinels having to come
Ini nonton ini.
Cok, tinggal 30 menit, Cok.
Anjing.
A bit of damage and the
Kepala,
firefight
Cok.
just continued.
Alah, Cok, 3 pelor anjing, arahnya nggak goyang.
And then we see now, the reason I mention that is the difference in how we're seeing these teams already play the map. We see that guard wants to work mid a bit. It may still happen, and we'll see if Sentinels reacts to that mid pressure. Already looking for 2 towards elbow for Sentinels.
The econ's low for Sentinels, so we tried to go for something explosive on the mid.
Hitungannya mereka sama-sama force sih.
Kalau YouTube streaming cuma 12 jam, kenapa YouTube lain kayak live musik gitu bisa sampai 3 minggu?
Enggak, makanya gue tadi kan ngomong, gue 14 jam kemarin aman aja.
Aman, Cok, menurut gue deh.
Gue kemarin hilang, Cuk.
Replaynya hilang ya?
Ya, replaynya hilang.
Oh tuh Bi, replaynya sih.
Kalau masalah live-nya nggak putus-putus mah aman aja.
Aman kan?
Replaynya aja yang hilang.
Yeah,
Wah, kena potong sama tes ini, ketahuan gak sih?
Tapi masih force.
Ini Zelsis sih bagus loh mainnya loh.
Underhand throw, looking to peek back towards the ladder, and he does spot a few. Now he does have support from Shroud coming out from McDonald's while Dapper's moving in the middle, and they are closing in on the guard, leaving Saya player, that Guardian by himself on the attack. It's just gonna slow down for a bit.
Anjing!
Nice flick there onto Dapper. Let to go for a pre-fire shot into the.
Ada yang goib lagi guys, ternyata guys.
Itu gua pakai Guardian loh.
Itu, Cok.
Mantep bener-bener.
Bukan peluru nyasar anjir itu.
Bukan. Itu tepat ya, on point ya.
On point.
Satu peluru bener.
Zelsis bagus banget ya.
Iya, Zelsis yang paling menurut gue malah bagus banget ini. Oh iya, 17 Cok, gila Cok.
Ya sesuai role lah.
Tadi kasih lihat ya tadi saya playernya itu ya. Gitu. Di push biar nggak ngambil orb, nggak ada ulti itunya. Maksa nggak sih masih buka tour de force? Enggak juga nih.
Terus kan Eko pakai tour de force biar rata-rata kayak gitu bro. Si Tensnya baru mungkin agak maksa karena dia saving juga buat beli OP dia nanti.
That's 2 activated in this round. You talked about the orb touch with the shop. That was Nets tour de force up. Now they have 2 priority ultimates in that blade storm and 2.
Zelsis rank 1 Radiant di NA.
Wah. A lot slower. A little more pressure on net here. You can see Saya ready to.
Tapi kenapa namanya? Saya player.
2-3 across the map for Sentinel's defense here. They're playing for the retake. They know they're against big alts. There's no reason to try to play the 1v1 right
now. Ya, Korea gue tanya apa saja.
Apakah iya dia ada keturunan darah Indonesia?
That is going to be the guard, making it a 4
dapper
versus 3.
time.
Still at least looking to get a plant down for the economy into the next round. Net though answers back
Yeah,
onto
anjing.
Shazam. It's a 3 versus 3 somehow. As Dapper is still stuck in the back of the site, looking to get pushed in, looking to get the wall bang shots, and Dapper is looking for that swing. It's a close range battle against
Lagi
Valen,
nunggu.
who's just around the corner.
Dapat.
And as he goes for that swing, it's 2 players looking in that area, forcing out at least a retake from the Nightfall. As Net still stays alive for a bit, but only for a bit.
Dapper next step nahannya anjir.
And he was the solo anchor into the site and also stays alive this whole time. That was pretty good.
Oh my, yeah, exactly. Like I said, they wanted to play the retake, and that takes so much.
Nih ronde menang gara-gara Dapper, Cok.
Played that ridiculously well.
Tahannya santai banget ya, tenang banget, calm banget.
I'm getting pressure, but he found a way to stay safe, knowing when to play the kill. And like you said, long enough.
Chill meh katanya.
For a Nightfall in the situation, which is ridiculous. He was the only one that could really allow those ultimates to be broken through the site. If he got those 2 frags, like literally Moon's aligning their guard, trying their best.
Kok nggak ada videonya ini? Sentinel ya, udah tadi.
And that's a round now pulling away again for Sentinels, and they don't have to worry about those ultimates for quite a while.
Kalau ini menang, match point dong. Kalau Sentinel menang itu 11, terus Echo lagi 12.
Iya.
Necessary, but right out the gate.
The 3 players pushing up towards the mid doors for the guard.
Agak lain ya ini ya.
Advantage also on the attack. Plant coming down to the pulse plant at the default spot once again, where they could play the pulse plant lineup. So you currently see Trent moving all the way back. Valen still has his 2 snake bites, and as he actually brings back up that fuel, allows the one to come back up, and now they retreat.
Man down, man down.
This is such
Emang
a
iya?
position. I mean,
Man down. Man down.
Abi tidur, Cok.
Guys, clip guys. Man down. Man down.
Cok, anjim nih orang. Udah ngantuk kali itu dia.
Man down.
Emang iya man down.
Si lagu turu teret.
Jangan kerjaan lagu ngegeser aneh-aneh ya guys ya. Jangan Cok, jangan Cok.
Tapi media
Kesel
udah
nanti.
dikecilin dia dah kayaknya.
Oh ya udah. Jangan Cok, nanti bete ke kalian loh.
Ya.
Kert.
Down 1. Anjay.
Down 1, man down, man down.
Tadi dia bilang gitu ya, down 1 Pak, down 1 Pak.
Kabel sebeton juga kagak.
Kebo Cok, kenyang bego. Kayak bobo. Makan Cok.
Makan.
Back towards A possibly.
Iya, NASA aja live-nya 4 bulan kagak berhenti-berhenti Cok.
Siapa sih?
NASA.
Tahun nggak berhenti.
Oh, NASA.
Enggak, maksud gue tuh aman sih harusnya, cuman mungkin itu replay doang.
Nggak muncul aja.
Pokernya hilang. Pusing sudah.
Temen gue udah ada tuh 24 jam live.
Tapi gue 14 kemarin aman Krek.
Ada kan?
Mati. Anjir dua
HP and finally kill confirmed by Shazam, but alert coming back towards it from Trent, and he can come up huge right now. It's a 5 versus 2. We are watching that flank, but it's Net and Trent, the 2 youngsters right now in the roster, making it work at least for now. Trent on his lonesome, and it does not connect there, unfortunately, on that duel. But we actually did have a crossfire set up no matter what. He was fighting against Shazam. He had Zelsis on the other end and one going on a defuse.
Pablo, Abi belum reset live itu. Guys, jangan laporan guys, percuma orang udah tidur juga, udah biarin aja, udah mau diapain, Cok.
Saya juga nggak berani gangguin guys, sumpah. Nggak berani nelpon bangunin.
Itu kalau nggak di offin ya bagus sih. Replaynya hilang.
Oh, Twitch kan kalau mati kelar live hilang gitu doang kan?
Dimatiin sama adminnya.
Tem doang sih kalau nggak salah.
Biar merem dulu bentar guys. Udah mampir sini ngobrol-ngobrol, jangan lupa subscribe ya kan.
Iya.
Mumpung kalau PCT-nya udah habis apa yang ditampilin sama dia?
Dia dong.
Kasur dia lah. Makan Indomie lah inilah. Makan cok
Minumnya
bentar.
enak, Cok. Tadi gue nyesel mesen ini.
And with the triple initiator, it seems to fit way more into their wheelhouse because they can wait a bit longer. They can get into position and they can make sure that even if you have ultimates, it doesn't really matter. Guard are gonna call a timeout.
Tapi
and figure
kalau
out how
misalnya
to thwart this.
nanti
How to
apa
say,
ya?
okay,
Bukan ditampilnya aneh-aneh
maybe
sih.
if we all turn our monitors off,
Siapa
we're
tahu
gonna
Jero
be
masih
fast.
bangun, kalian bisa DM
Right.
Jero mungkin.
But even then, we saw Shazam
Gamenya
coming
dia
through
bisa
with
gedein.
the solar bolts. We saw double kills through the walls at B. We've seen them kills through smoke. So it's
Saweria
almost
lagu
impossible
headbang.
to get away. And on that last round, the spike went down during the plant, which gave Sentinels even more time to swarm the site, and we saw Guard kind of scrambling. So they seem to be just a step ahead here on the rounds. And Guard, when they do win, are taking a lot of damage in those fights. Round 20 here, Vans.
Really important here. We actually had a buy coming out from Valiant onto Forsyth player, so you now know and see that the economy is very low for the Guard. A crucial round for them to win, and also banking on the fact that they need Valiant to get the plant so we can pull out the Poison Orb, or should I say the Viper's Pit. That said, they were able to do that on the splits towards the A site. This round, looking to focus a lot of players on mid control, even abandoning Cave.
Guard have had good success through this doorway. So you can see him touching it again, saying, all right, let's get the rotation now. No bite, though. Sentinels staying very controlled on their angles. Just a little bit of a lean now from the defensive spawn area.
Dapper's gonna have to come up huge at the pillar of the B site. Dissipates. Could have lined up too, but that's an easy trade back. Viper's Pit is available, but it's stopped by Shazam just by the archers in the back of the B site. Spike is also down, but Shazam's run is by himself, actually. He can do it so far. That's one kill. Traded out by Saya player on a 2 versus 2. Now there's no information from the Guard where the last two players are, except maybe with that 0 point that just came out. The rotation's coming back towards mid.
A nice little two-pronged attack here coming in from the side of the Guard.
Crosshair kotak
We
gitu,
saw
Cok.
kind of what the cloud burst over a gas wall.
Kayaknya 9-11 dah nih.
Bit in the butt for a second as that wall's over towards A, but this 2v2 is tight, and Sentinels look to put themselves on key.
Ya.
Not
Gonna
gonna
hails by Jonah P. One of those moments where, you know, there was that miscomm that came out from one end before with Valent's wall coming down. This time is actually Sentinels. The wall comes down. Zelsis had his back turned towards the back, and 2 easy kills for Jonah P with an aggressive push-up. I like that. And the Guard stays alive so far in this game.
Oh, look this way. You look this way? With this way?
9-11 sengit nih kayaknya nih bakalan nih. 9-10-11.
Dapper,
Sentinel kayak gini
Zelsis,
kuat loh hitungan.
Shazam,
The Guard.
all ready to fire out ultimates here.
Tegar tuh emang kuat gitu ya sebenarnya.
Guard, let's see how many they use.
Ya,
Valen.
soalnya
Are they going to try to
sebelumnya
crash
Sentinel
onto a
dibantai,
site and
Cok.
get this Viper's Pit down? Again, these rounds where the spike is down, okay, it gets picked up. Usually we see
Iya guys, kayaknya salah minta ke Abi cok suruh subscribe. Viewernya juga udah turu itu 3.000 cok.
Crossfire here to help each other out. The double push in halls like this.
Yeah.
Sentinels are trying to put things in place. They haven't gotten any pushes though, so the Guard have not been read in this strategy. They could
Pantes
start
tadi kok
crash
diem
on the site
doang gitu,
and
Bro.
slam that
Iya,
Viper's
Jo.
Pit down.
That's exactly
Ternyata
nyender lewat. Down.
Tapi dia mengakui tadi kan, kenyang bego nih.
Tapi enak loh itu tidur kayak gitu tuh sumpah.
Asli kre, habis makan lu posisinya.
Enggak
Tidur
dapet
ketiduran tuh habis makan lagi.
Dapper.
Dapat.
Wah, panik Dapper. Ya, 10-11 ya guys.
Apakah di comeback kali kan?
Wah, di comeback kan nih.
Bisa jadi.
Cok, aduh.
I like it.
Istirahat lah lu.
Efficient with
Nah,
the
bangun
ultimates
gitu.
on this round. Coming in with the head
Kau
of
restream
35.
dulu.
Tanggung cok, Bi, restream dulu Bi.
So,
Nobar,
Guard
Cok.
actually have
Nobar,
found
Cok.
quite a
Asli
bit of
dah.
success
Nobarnya
going
aku.
towards middle.
Iya kan?
Status stream
Wih,
juga
acuh.
sih.
We're gonna hold on that.
Lagi.
Itu kalau dapet lagi tuh, bisa momen tuh gue kasih tahu tuh.
Iya, Cok.
Apa nih nice Icue anjir.
Hilang lagi suaranya, Bi.
Kok dia bengong?
Lewat lagi.
Right. It's like I said before, when Guard do win, man, they take a lot of damage in the fights.
Bangunnya
That-
semenit.
It makes it so tough to
makin
Abi down lagi, Kacok.
Kagak, makin diturunin ini kursinya. Senderannya masih kayak diturunin anjir.
Tidur lagi Kak, anjir gue.
Kenok lagi.
results if you do go down, right? You can't just buy next round. It's not that kind of game for Guard
Iya,
right now. So
lagi
the
blo.
ultimates
Ngigo
are
ini
about
si
to
anjing.
just clash here.
Nobar,
as we get
Cok.
towards the end of our first
Anjing
round.
enggak.
What
Masa
he
ngigo?
off
Ngigo
NLC.
nih, yakin.
Bisa jadi, Cok.
Oh
Sentinels.
yeah.
Tengah sadar
Oh,
itu.
baby, it's
Ngigo
still
nggak sih,
going
guys?
too. First map Breeze. We never thought this would be in the mix here, but Guard wants
Ngigo
to
kah,
avoid
guys?
Haven. The other maps, just get him out.
Nah, kalau
Halls is gonna be the
Sentinel
play here.
kalah,
Tides have turned
Point.
in terms of the economy for Sentinels. A crucial round for
Oh,
them to
iya.
win. If they win this round but lose a lot of players, they're
Biarin
still
lah,
gonna
biarin.
have full economy at map
nice
point.
Shazam.
But that's a great way to start things
Turun
off.
lagi, biarin, guys,
Shazam, EDSing, headshot onto net. We're trying
Iya.
to
Lagi Rian
back from the
Onyx.
halls, the underhand throw. Shazam tries to fight back, but Jonah P at least
Ras,
got
Cok.
control of
Iya,
the
lagi
door.
ngeliatin
That
parabel
forces out the
kayak dia.
ultimate, and Valen gets the entry onto Shroud. Meanwhile, though, as the door opens, that's already going to be
Itu
the
2-3.
Oh, Zelsis ya, nice banget. Dia harus menang duel itu sih. Zelsis.
Still, the Viper's pit available.
Udah ketahuan tapi udah di sana belum lewat.
Coming out on the defense,
Udah
so that's
hilang
gonna
silence.
make things just more
Gas,
good.
gas.
And there you go, the pit finally comes out. Trent still has the Owl drone. Hunter's Fury to come out as well on the retake from Shazam. And it's Zelsa, Shazam, and Tens looking for the retake, but they have to retake with an op on top of that.
Ganti gak sih opnya?
Positioning at least for Valen inside the pit. As the wall comes down.
Kelamaan. Weh, moncongnya keluar.
Iya kelamaan. Oh.
Tunggu tolong Zelsis.
Zelsisnya untung bagus banget, Cok.
Banget Zelsis. Gila sih.
Cok, punggung Zelsis berat, Cok.
Sayang banget itu moncongnya keluar aja. Masuk.
Bit of money, like you said, coming back into their
Match
favor.
point.
Again, we see Sentinels using this triple initiator comp. You basically negate the space where Sentinel or Guard
sih,
would be standing.
kalau
in that
Sentinel
Viper's
kalah
pit,
udah
right? Whether you have
fix
Shazam,
OT
whether you
aja.
have a Seize, a Hun, a
Kalau
Prowler,
Sentinel kalah ya.
a flash going
Ya,
in. To
duitnya
know
kayak
you
gitu,
have the
Cok,
upper hand.
sedih.
If it was close enough to
Cuma
that.
beli Spectre.
They almost knew where they were
Kecuali
going to
Tensnya
find
kayak tadi ya kan.
Bro, waktu lu nobar lawan Boom yang OT-OT itu gemes.
Game point here as we
Gue nggak nobar kan pempel gue.
Oh iya, pempel.
Tapi gue nonton, tapi ya nggak bisa ini gue. Nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain. Gue liat anjing. Gemes, Cok. Menangnya juga kan sih 1-2 orang doang.
Kan yang pertama 13-13 nggak sih?
Sama 12-12 dulu OT.
12-12. Lo sama, terus Pablo ngomong, lah iya dia ngintip.
Itu.
Gue masih bilang Onyx menolak kalah.
Onyx iya, gue bilang Onyx yang sumpah.
Tuh kalau OT kan siapa yang bikin salah paling banyak.
Zelsis could have their back real quick, but Guard make quick work of everything that's in A.
Alah.
Later is he just in time?
Ayo Zelsis, ungu berat.
Zelsis looking towards the back end of the cave. Tens looking for the high ground. But here's that flash to the door. That spots Tens, but Jonah P still manages to escape.
Agak lama ya retake-nya mereka nih ya.
Now for the Guard. And even Sentinels, look at that. On a 5 or 4 versus 3 rather.
Nggak ada smoker soalnya, bro. Rote udah mati.
So that opens up the
baru
door.
gas.
There's that nightfall that's going to ping 2 players out of the 3 remaining inside the site
Ya,
as well. So you will
Nggak keburu nggak sih, no time.
Nggak keburu. Mereka post plan.
Molly in the front from the fragment of Zelsis. And we're straight to the wall. Put the timing on that one. Trent allowing
Udah lama. Bikin
to
pula.
get 2 kills out of that.
Gila, Zelsis tiap match 3 kill, Cok.
We're 1 round away of seeing overtime to kick off the LCQ.
Again, mid becomes this
36.
opening.
KD-nya di atas 2.
Guard can
25 tambah 12.
into Sentinel's defense, be a thorn in their side. The initiators want to stop
Lo sampai fast.
forward choke point and then be able to play.
Enggak.
When we see
Ini doang kan?
Celsius now trying to
doang.
play 2 sides of the pyramid because there's cave
T.
and doors, that doesn't start to work as well because of how far back we actually have the rest of Sentinels playing, right? Shroud's not going to be able to do too much. He can put up a smoke, right? But that's not going to stop Guard from flooding in. They're already in.
Abi
And
tidurnya
Celsius
udah
needs a
mulai
little more
miring.
help there. So Guard have found a really great way to be in the middle of the
Tidurnya udah miring.
initiator
Enak
comp
banget
to
itu.
start instead of allowing Sentinels a time to position.
Sekali tepok bahu juga ngebangun
There's
tuh.
not much Shroud could do when net
Wah.
goes in and enters that way with a Vandal running up mid. When you already had the crosshair placement by one of the greats being Shroud in attack FPS in the attack FPS world.
Kalau milih map itu yang satunya random ya, Bro?
Decider sisanya apa? Bukannya random anjing.
Oh, kan dia sama-sama ngeband dua-dua kan?
Mapnya kan 7.
Kan random guys. Map sisanya apa?
Kalau ada Pearl, Split udah nggak
much
Bagi
lower
lagi.
buy in
Nggak kepake
round
lagi ya?
24. Last round of regulation where the guard has everything in their favor.
Gua malah pengennya
to force
bind,
the
anjir.
overtime.
Kenapa Bain?
Trent's been pretty spicy with that ultimate, at least.
Onyx sering kalah di bind,
maybe
Cok.
even some frags for him.
Onyx.
They didn't put the wall up.
Bain. Makan nih, sambil makan nih, guys semua teman-teman. Makan cowok.
Makan.
So we'll have to see what happens where guard goes, where they decide to use it, if they still fake it.
Dapat nih.
Halo, mie kan?
Mie.
Dapat nih Tens nih. Anjir.
That is
Cok,
a huge first
Jujur teriak juga ya.
and that opens up the B side as well. We have another player
Wah, kacau.
around, but
Gemes tuh.
OT itu harusnya dapat satu aja.
As the toxic screen's about to come down, he's looking for the window flank.
Udah,
dapet.
ini post plan anjir. Ada ulti sofa.
This would be incredibly impressive.
It would be impossible.
Wah.
Very doable if you actually have a huge flank. Oh,
Ya, ke-whip.
Whip lagi.
Now given away with two players playing under the window. You're gonna have
Wah,
it
udah.
doesn't work out. He had utility in his hands, and we're looking closer and closer for the overtime.
Udah,
Shroud with
dua
the
lawan
Marshall.
4, Cok.
Zels is down,
masih
and
hidup.
Shazam with the hold up, but the res
Oke,
comes
gas.
out,
Post
forcing
plan,
out the
bro.
Hunter's Fury
Rak,
tag
dapat
onto one.
dua.
Double kill with the Hunter's Fury, leaving only one player alive. That Zels is with that
Udah
Spectre
bingung, Cok,
spotted
mau
in
ngapain
front
ini.
of the B site, and we
Awas.
will be going into overtime. A Saya player gets that last kill.
Oh, Sentinels meet
Beneran
the
over
guard
kan, Cu?
as they
Itu kalau
stand.
dapat beda
Oh my
cerita.
gosh. Overtime for this game, all ready to start.
Sama telur
in our best
asin.
of three. We still have
Aduh,
a Sen- we still have
Shroud
Icebox to
buat
go,
frag,
but that
Cok.
doesn't matter
Kalah
right
masih
now.
saya aja.
Standing tall.
Apa, Cok?
The economy being low here for Sentinels
Buat frag kan?
completely separate from what we've
Biar
been
dapat
seeing
dua.
them do every round, right? The reason I said that would be almost impossible is because everyone then had to make 1v1
Kan
plays.
kayak boom sama Onyx
Instead
lah.
of the utility being for the team, right? Dapper wasn't with Celsius, it was with Shroud. Shazam was by himself, so the communication may have still been there from long-range utility, but it wasn't over the shoulder, it wasn't anchor fights. That was just.
Tapi kalau The Guard ini berarti udah lama timnya kan. Kalau Sentinel hitungannya masih baru nih guys. Playernya ya masih butuh chemistry juga nggak sih?
Roster barunya emang siapa aja?
Doang.
Cerot doang kan?
Doesn't look like too much of a commitment on either side as Sentinels keep a 2-1-2 on defense. On guard on defense as we swap.
Yeah.
And Sentinels going back to this kind of
Nah,
attack.
unit
Now we do have a lurker. Dapper is
Hit.
away from the team.
Anjay ada. Anjay ada katanya.
Iya.
Try to catch the rotation as the rest are trying to actually flush that out of position. And look at that. He gets pinged by a drone. He's not switching his position. He's just staying and anchored up on the left side pyramid. The owl drone to support him on the top of the bridge from Trent. And now this is a stalemate. You're going to have to wait for the next recycle.
Tahan Dapper.
Oh, Dapper flanknya bagus.
Dapat nih.
Tunggu. Ya, timing.
Itu timing banget kan?
Ya, timing. Dapat nih. Ya, malah Dapper yang mati. Oh, enggak.
Dapat, Cok.
Haunt to look up, a push down from Valin,
Ah,
and he wins it on that 4 versus 4. He gets pinged
Apa?
down, but it's still the rest of Sentinels going for that
Jobnya
explosive
ada
hit now as you have
pelaksanaan.
the toxic screen coming up towards A.
I wonder how much guard actually think this is a fake. Sentinels didn't do any of that in the first half when they were playing on their attack. And they are going to do a little bit of that to scale into A.
Gila, lambat banget, Cok, mainnya dia.
baru nabrak. Aduh. Ini risky banget nggak sih? Oh, tapi dilempar pisau.
Dikasih plan.
1-0 point spots all 4 players. That is going to
Zelsis
be the
mati
spike
udah
down
ini
going to
kalah.
lose for the Sentinels as they lose Zelsis in the
Bang
process.
gendongnya mati, Cok.
The retakes coming out from
Ada
the guard.
Tens, cowok, anjing.
Front of the site here for Sentinels, and all of this time we had the toxic screen still available for Valin. So now we go for that
Itu
retake, and
Tens
we go
baru lu
for the
bilangin.
Sentinels, and somehow the guard take the lead on the first map on their
Bau mulut lu.
perma being
Bangsat.
Incredible teamwork there. You see how tight knit
Bisa
both
tadi
teams are
harusnya
moving right
anjay.
now. They know how each other are going to attack and play. If there's a wide swing, there's more to follow. Everybody's tethered to each other right now. This game is requiring a lot of communication from both teams there. We saw the walls actually go perpendicular.
Rapi tadi retake-nya rapi banget, Cok.
Coming from the double door side for guard, all of them could focus right through the pyramids. Sentinels was ready and waiting. I would say ready. They were waiting though. For that first one. Let's see what guard has now for attack. Sentinels onto the defense, setting up their own 2-1-2.
Apa Yan?
And it looks like they
Nah,
will
kan
diversify.
si Dapper kan udah
Those
dapat
were
info
set
itu
up.
ada
We saw
orang
a lot of the
rotate.
times Zelsis with
Jadi dia bisa
Dapper.
harusnya langsung
Now
gas karena
the
tahu
initiators
minim
have been split.
harusnya tahu di A tuh minimal 2, maksimal 2.
Prowler and a 0 point on elbow.
Harusnya ya.
We're putting a lot of information or trying to gather information on the
Kayak Dapper
mid-front
mati
B
sia-sia.
from Sentinels and stacking players more towards the A site. But the guard are pulling a trick out of Sentinel's hat. Staying towards spawn, playing it passively, waiting for the next utility to come out to try to find information, maybe try to
Padahal udah tahu dapat satu. Satu lagi
Dia mati
bunuh.
lagi kan. Ada 2 di mid.
2 mid. Angkap nggak guys maksudnya?
Birds just chirping. Who's gonna break the silence? A quick prowler out, so they at least know where Dapper might be lurking and playing. And that's kind of
Di sini terlihat ronda akan berakhir ya guys ya.
On a bit of a sentry mission to figure out what's going on.
Wall up, owl drone. This
Yeah,
is
wall,
a thing
yeah.
right now on the A
Guard
side
out.
to hit towards B. But we hear the footsteps. Tens is on the top.
Aduh,
Guard,
Tens.
but no hits, no
Karat
kills.
tuh.
And,
Nice.
or should I say net at 1 HP finally gets dropped. Now it's a 4 versus 4. Knife actually pings him out. And we have now recon guard
Selalu
actually
kalah.
player. But Valid is walking towards the front of the B site. It's a 4 versus 3. Tens is trying to go for the hero play to at least narrow down the numbers on the retake. But we still have Zelsis. The flash in the back of the side. Saya players also holding that angle. The peek out wins that fight.
Tapi trennya nih. Tren cok.
The 0 point coming out on defense.
Nice, Zem. Ayo. Belakangmu.
The first headshot to Shroud. The recon dart to come out too. And Valen is still holding towards that window. So we have to go for the quick kill. And it works out for Shazam.
Tapi masih ada yang jaga di ujung.
Has to go for the jiggle back in the front. And Shazam saves it in now for the Sentinels.
Zazam naik di saat yang dibutuhkan ya guys ya. One tap-nya keluar cowok.
Gila.
Okay, Tyson. That got a little scary there for Sentinels fans. We saw Tyson dive into a crowd of attackers, but that initiator composition just coming through. And Shazam, hello? His aim has been crispy this game. When we are on him, he is clicking heads, and he actually had a read on where every flank is coming from, like he was in the guard's head on that attack. That's what you need.
Ini abis tidur Shroud baru bisa bunuh cok.
We're gonna get an operator here.
Yes,
the buy comes out from net, so they can get that gun onto these hard angles to hold here. That will be focused over towards cave.
Bener nggak mau main mid anjir ininya. Mau kontrol mid. Sentinelnya.
Again on their first half, they're starting to distribute the way they play this strategy.
Tadi gitu tahan dulu.
Guard messed up because all Sentinels really did was either hit fast, never play mid, or go right down to 10 seconds.
Saya players trying to do the same thing as Pens did on the B site. The Allen drone for the
Fake dulu anjir, ada 2 inisiator nah dapat dia.
Celsius gets the opener. We actually do clear that drop of flank, but Valent to the back of the site connects onto 1, but cannot get the readjustment on the Shroud. We have a plank coming down.
Kita lihat di sini.
Dapat nih, dapat. Aduh.
That's gonna be a big audio cue. Dapper staying on the top of mid.
Wah, udah ketahuan.
Sampai berapa kali dia menang 2 kali berturut-turut.
That's a great pick. But another late lurk coming out from elbow. And just gonna hear rotation from Jonah B. Connects onto that kill.
Tuh sayang banget tuh Jonah tuh. Kesalahan kecil anjir. Tapi fatal.
That's one of the things we like to see, yeah. I mean, Shroud.
Lempar.
Lempar. One of those players that's coming in. As we do have the shots landing on a 1 versus 1, and it is halfway. We're forcing out the ping. The wall may come out for Shroud. Does get the kill.
Shroud kill 14,
Shroud to win that round. On that 1 versus 1 against net, putting Sentinels back at map point.
The time, the ice cold. I feel like everybody's sitting there sweating like, fire it, Molly! Oh my God, fire it!
Apakah akhirnya Shroud ya?
Nah, dia bilang apa nih komentatornya? Ya tadi semua orang tuh tembak dia tetep aja biasa aja santai. Itu gue udah tahu timingnya cowok katanya. Udah santai aja guys.
Even as a joke, he said, or even as in his interview, he said, "Oh, there's potential where I won't play a Viper and maybe let Dapper play it, but throw it into this role quite well."
It's cold.
Iya.
It's cold lineups. Makes you think you got it. Nice clutch, nice play. Sentinels pull the lead back in their favor here on their pick of Breeze.
Nih, Zelsis hati, Cok.
Now from the side.
Kenapa? Siapa?
The spike is
still down towards
AK.
Oh, Zelsis.
Yeah, Zed shop. So if they actually decide
to go towards
A, they can still do that. Wall hasn't been used as per usual. They would fire towards A pyramids, so they still have a chance to go either way.
least the spike is on the
menang.
right? So if Trent dies, then yeah, okay, we have a player pushed up towards A, but this is all bad timing because we think we have position and info, and does get the first kill at least onto tunnel. But this could still be a rotate back towards the A site. Let them in. Maybe that's going to be the play here for Sentinels because you just want Zelsis to play the pulse plan and just.
Ini Zelsis enak banget ini. Halo.
Menang coy yang ronde 1.
Gak ada dosa dia lewat situ, Cok. What's up?
Well, he was making sure nobody else was to his left.
Oh, Shroud 3 kill, Cok.
Adik-adik
langsung anjir.
You gotta be kidding me.
Adik-adik.
Oh my word, I like literally
kasih ending yang manis ya guys ya.
Game.
Replay sih.
That was like the last 3, so he gets the first kill of the match and the last 3 of the match. It's a kill terakhir ya, Cok. And that was one of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Mana tadi?
It's going to be a good one.
Udah lewat 30 detik.
Iya, lupa pencet klik anjay.
Down to situations just like that turn the round, keeping a few more players alive in a round so the economy builds.
Tip of the game kah?
Each team is giving each other so many problems to have to
bisa
think
guys.
about within the games. I can't wait to get to Ascent, so let's shut up.
Yeah, I was ready to go for a little bit of a podcast before because I thought the guard was going to be able to make it in and at least go for the plant after knowing that Zelsis towards that front, but you got to stay on the edge.
Abis seru yuk, Ascent yuk.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. As we take a break and when we come back, we have Ascent coming up.
Lu nggak tidur, Cil? Lu nggak tidur?
Guys ya.
Ucil suruh add gua anjing. Bilang.
Apa?
Itu Valorant.
Pablo minta add follow-nya.
Dia nggak tahu Pablo bego. Gue panggilnya SS gitu.
Yes. Dia udah tahu Pablo dia. Udah ada kata Ucil.
Oh iya.
Kita main match 2, Cil. Paling cepat jam 1, paling lambat jam 3, paling cepat ya jam 1:30. Gue jaga GH.
Ada Ahing. Kok Ahing belum dapet ini sih? Ini Benter tertidur nih, gimana cara banguninnya, Cok?
Apa? Abi.
Nobar Abi dulu lah, guys.
Nobar Abi dulu bentar kan.
Iya, nobar Abi dulu lah bentar. Reaction, bro.
React.
Kapan lagi ngeledekin kawan? People.
Kelas asli teori langsung upload, coy.
Ya.
Mana ya kemarin download Twitch tuh?
Wah, kayaknya dia udah terlelap sih Abi.
Udah nyenyak gitu.
Enggak bakal bisa, Cok.
Hah?
Kayaknya senggol bahunya dikit nggak akan kebangun tuh.
Kalau teman-teman yang masih ini DM Jero dah paling bener. Serius.
Abi banget dong satu. Mana nih?
DM Jero deh kalian, guys.
Satu nih.
Ntar guys, gue udut muka Pablo dulu ya.
Apa?
Enggak, gue ngudut kamera gue muka lu dulu.
Nah, aman, Cok. Jangan diganggu dulu, Bro.
Pablo mesana Rian gua duluan lah ya.
Waduh, nyusul deh. Oke, Kre.
Thank you.
Aman. Ya, Kre, sama-sama.
Cowok Abi masih mau nge-live, cowok.
Tadi peraturannya apa? Dia sebatonya kalau tidur di pause ya waktunya atau apa?
Emang iya?
Gimana tadi, guys?
Oh, gua enggak.
Aman, Ber.
Di leher doang, nggak bangun-bangun bisa nengok. Cowok itu. Makanya dia nggak boleh off cam ntar kalau udah bangun. Nyalain face cam.
Aman.
Ya ASEAN mestinya seru sih. Harusnya sih. 1-1 apa 2-0? Hah?
Tahu sih kalau mainnya kayak gitu satu sama, Cok.
Kayak gitu tuh sama. 2-0 gue percaya.
Kayak enggak, kalau gue lihat tadi tuh match sebelumnya tuh kayak menang aim loh, bukan menang
Oh, sebelum main strat.
gitu. Iya.
Stratnya kalah ya, bingung ya, kayak orang masih.
Iya.
Ya itu ada benernya sih. Kalau secara strat tadi menang ini jauh, Cok.
Jauh guard.
Jauh.
Kalah aim aja mereka.
Iya, Cok. Sama kalah mental goyang dikit kali ya. Cok ada slot, Cok.
Gimana peluru goib tadi match terakhir? Round terakhir.
Kenapa Twitch kurang populer di Indonesia? Karena pasarnya kurang untuk di Indonesia.
Analis CWS semangat banget, Cok.
Previously from Sentinels, this team was very much defined by
Siap.
kind of throwing out utility or using the multiple pieces of utility to clear the same angle. This time the coordination was well put together. They implemented this composition really well, and it shut down key players on guard like Saya player.
Yeah, and specifically because they had like so many different like pieces of
Semangat banget ya yang cewek ya.
KO mollies usually to push guard players into corners where they're like forced to like that backside B play. You have a KO molly that stops anyone from swinging out from backside.
Itu juga harus di
suka loh.
Apa?
Caster Valorant luarnya dia bajunya nyantai gitu kan, nggak perlu yang harus. Dulu kan zaman dulu caster jas harus formal.
Itu yang kemarin dibahas sama siapa dulu kita nonton? Oh no, delete, iya kan? Kayak apa? Emang lebih enak gitu nggak sih? Maksudnya yang penting maksudnya masih dalam kategori
proper
sopan ya.
Sopan
lah, lebih ke arah sopan mungkin. Enak dilihat looknya lah gitu.
Soalnya apa? Kata gue sih mungkin terlalu ke bawa olahraga tradisional kan.
Konvensional.
Komentatornya rata-rata jas gitu-gitu.
Jadi akhirnya kebawa
terus
juga.
ini juga LOL kan yang pertama kan yang World kan casternya pakai jas pada ngikutin Dota juga.
Iya, Dota ya.
Mulai pertama tuh siapa ya baju bebas ya?
Ini kerat sih, ini orang sakit, Cok.
Yang HS-nya 33 di atas 30.
Hitungannya gimana Yan berarti? Kalau gue sih nangkepnya 3 pelor sekali headshot aja gitu.
Dari semua kill dia itu, yang dihitung tuh last kill. Jadi dari semua kill dia itu, kill 33%. Itu pokoknya lu ngekill orang, misalnya lu tembak kepala sekali, tapi lu ngekillnya badan, gak dihitung headshotnya.
Gak dihitung.
Tahu gue gitu. Kayak PUBG aja gimana?
Tahu juga PUBG itu gitu headshotnya gimana.
PUBG lu lihat aja, Cok. Headshotnya dikit-dikit kan. Dia last hitnya yang dihitung.
Yang finishingnya sih.
Iya, dia finishingnya kepala atau badan.
Jadi kalau lu kalau lu cuma ngenokin headshot tapi tembak body, tetap kehitung body bro.
Tapi berarti kalau dia bunuh kayak gitu 33%, hitungannya kayak gitu sakit banget, Cok.
Iya itu gede. Headshot di atas 30 itu gede banget.
Oh nggak di pause ya. Makasih ya udah ngasih tahu. Nggak di pause tapi tetap jalan dia boleh tidur gitu bro. Kalau boleh tidur udah nggak apa-apa biarin aja guys.
Viewer Augie ribut. Ribut apa nih?
Ngapain ribut orangnya tidur?
Nggak ada yang kasihan suruh Abi off. Ada yang bilang nama juga Subaton ya. Lah berdebat gara-gara gitu doang.
Ya ampun. Sini guys, ke Pablo dulu, subscribe dulu dah mendingan dah. Ntar baru balik lagi ke sana. Ya ampun dia berantem kan.
Lucu-lucu netizen nih. Ya ada yang ngikutin sholat.
Biarin aja. RP viewer kah?
Kalau tidur tuh biasa pause tapi stream jalan.
Aku belum centang ini ya di dia.
Di gua aja masih Ripple abi.
Di gua centang, di gua Ryzen Game.
Udah centang tapi Ripple.
Di komputer, iya dengan akun ini yang apa ya?
Kadang suka kalau lu nggak subscribe jadi Ripple, Cok.
Enggak, gua di komputer ini ya. Di komputer Ripple, nah di HP Ryzen Gaming. Nggak tahu kalau gara-gara premium ya. Yang di HP.
Iya, dia kayak gua gitu nyala. Tadi habis makan, ngomong, ntar Cok, habis makan ini. Terus hilang anjing.
Abi tidurnya stres, Cok. Sakit kepala.
Salah.
And it's really cool because similar to the guard retake walls, it allows you to retake site, but also allows you to fight on site. You can flash through that wall like we were talking about before. It also, because you throw it so deep in spawn, it lets you
Shroud main bang, main tapi tadi bottom break. Lah gua kan jujur
Tadi enggak, kan dia terakhir kill 3.
Coba lihat ya.
Gue liat VLR dulu deh. VLR.gg.
VLR iya nih. Kayaknya masih kurang dah, Sasamnya juga naik, Cok. Tuh bener, di atasnya
bottom break.
Enggak, Sazam bottom break.
Sazam kan?
16 iya.
Sazam 16, di 17. Sisanya kalah.
Tapi kalau secara semuanya ACS segala macam, Shroud bottom break. Ya kan, potong kill, dead, assist ya kan, KDA.
Sazam ACS-nya kecil, Cok.
Bukan ACS, overall semuanya. 34.
Matinya banyak.
Banyak kata banyak.
Rondenya ada 28, dia mati 20.
They dropped the ball in a couple situations that really would have put them up in an advantageous position. They could have taken map 1 here in the series.
AS dia 26%.
Now we move to Ascent. This is their map pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think guard, we saw the kind of slow start out of them.
Tanggapan soal Shroud di match ini.
Looked like they were going to be able to close out. Overslung a little bit. Overfight. They had a few of those overshoot moments. I think it calmed down over the course of the series.
Untung dia nggak lupa cara nembak gitu ya.
Ya. Shroud is being Shroud tapi
si Abi udah bangun. Tapi ke WC dia, hilang dari kursi.
Cok, ngigo jalan kah, Cok?
Tidur jalan tapi. Ya gua ini dulu.
penting cowok udah bangun ya.
Oh ya udah bangun.
Ambil bantal guling.
Honestly, Sentinel's just going to run triple initiator on every map. It seems like too. Ascent is a map that we've seen a lot more teams trying this one out.
Gila.
EG and NA
No duelis lagi.
Other teams have followed suit. Whereas guard, they go back to almost basics.
Heyo, Astra, Chamber.
Main sofa vet lagi anjir.
Combo sofa vet ya.
Dual inisiator. Satu nyari yang di sela-sela, satu lagi nyari yang luas.
Kalau gini center kewalan gimana main di champion? Lawannya kerat juga guys ini.
Nggak bisa ngitung gitu soalnya di champion pasti patch-nya beda sama ada map pearl aja champion.
Oh, pasti
pakai pearl.
Serius tuh.
Iya.
Narik. Pearl itu yang map baru itu kan? Cuk.
Ya.
Lu ngapain Bi?
Bi?
Aman.
Tidur Cok. Ya tidur Cok, aman Cok. Tidur. Tidur.
Ready to go here for the second map now on
Udah mau mulai nih.
Okay, I had a conversation with MC before Riv when we had this game. I was like, I don't want you to tell me if the guys have been in a lab, if we're going deeper into the H.
Gila sih kebalikannya. PRX banget nih Sentinel.
Balikannya.
PRX 2 duelis.
Dua duelis ya.
Ini malah nggak ada duelis ya, gila sih.
Iya makanya.
This camera angle, I thought that turret was on a wall I've never seen
Kas
before. I
PD
was
itu
like,
sama
okay, we're already starting out with
Ya
the
tapi
tech right now. But actually, we were just falling off the map for a second.
gua ada kangen-kangennya sih sama Tens yang dulu sih. Kalian ada yang kangen gak sih? Lu melihat Tens yang kayak
OP-nya ya.
Kayak dulunya lagi gitu.
Kan OP maksudnya dia mainnya kayak WGaming emang dulu. Truk, jet, ngedas, kill kiri, kill kanan.
Hah?
Nice little combo of utility as well on the attack to actually force Tens away with the rendezvous back onto Cat. So Mid was forfeited for a bit. We haven't taken control of
Lihat Abi
anything
hilang.
with regard.
Kamera udah
Still
dibenerin
holding
ke
towards the link, trying to
kalian
see
belum
if
guys?
Tens gonna re-push out while he
Nggak
has
ke viewer-nya.
Kameranya ke sofa.
Udah lah ya.
Oh ya udah.
We're just
Udah
gonna
kamera
play
udah ke
slow,
sofa.
find that timing. Well, there you go. Tens is back. Teleporter's back. Nothing's changed there
Cok.
for
Kamera lu udah ke sofa.
Pindahin gue, Cok.
the chamber.
Blo ini nggak bisa nggak AFK, Blo.
Bisa kayaknya.
The first utility off the refreshments, the 0 point clear out towards Cat.
Bentar, nggak apa-apa, ntar gue pindahin Bi kalau itu.
Another dodge out.
Mana cara matiin nih ya?
Reposition again. They're
Nah,
reading
denger
the
gua.
re-round of utility as you were saying.
Pindahin aja, pindahin aja.
Door here, this could easily
Hah?
go back towards
Jangan
Cat.
dipindahin justru biar dia di sini, Cok.
And that may be the
Tampilan layar live-nya apa tapi?
This positioning and
Dia
what a
tempat dia
dia
tidur.
move they have from Sentinels.
Oh, ya udah nggak apa-apa, Cok.
Tens gave up towards Garden, and now we're pushing
Oh.
Two kills with the
Dapat
first in the
dua.
back of the Jenny, lining up a third
Dapat
one
tiga.
with the wall bang,
Aman,
and
aman.
that's Tens
Udah
on the
banyak.
other end just to hold it back off the rotation.
Wah.
Nets on his
Holy
own.
Wah.
shit.
Sentinel looking so strong ya guys ya.
Kita lihat di sini ya, pede banget ya.
Tap, Shroud nggak bottom frag.
Been an amazing sight holder in the 1v1s, the 2v1s. He
Dapper
thrives
sih ya, 3 kali headshot.
here.
Peng,
What
anjing.
is that second shot? Slowed down, it still seems fast, my man.
Replay guys, replay guys.
Oh, and that one coming back through the Jenny gets
Pam.
a clip,
Pam.
and then the rest.
Kayaknya 5 pala tuh barusan
Ten
pecah tuh.
Took my fourth. That's basically
Yeah.
what happened in the site. But yeah, that is a statement round.
Kalau di Indo dikatain bucin tuh Tens, iya lagi.
Tried to work
Cir.
the map just to get shut down coming through.
Wah, Tens Baki Gaming, Cok.
That's the strength as well of playing that triple
Jadi mana?
initiator for Sentinels, but we'll talk about that a
Iya.
little bit later.
Usah.
It's a great push outside the A main, it's already
Nggak
spiked
berani
down
maju
off
dong
the grab
Tens ya.
well.
Jaga doang.
That's gonna
Ada
be
pakai Baki,
The
Baki
read on
teleport.
the play.
Dapper.
Shroud is on the Astra too, so that's the quick click.
Nah, Bi live-nya mati bentar.
Owned in that, on that.
Reset,
And
reset
their
dia.
own one-way
Reset
Shroud
itu
here to
biar
make sure they
legal.
gain a little bit of position.
Keluar dulu, aman, aman, aman.
Sam's just holding with the yellow drone back from the garden in that spot, at least Silent Player on that Marshall, so they pretty much have all that
Ah, hilang.
information
Dia lagi
on
restart live
game
doang,
on
guys.
lock. Well, that spike is still down, so a tough battle for the garden.
Pala itu.
Take the time to
Jelsis.
talk about it at least. The triple initiator combo. It has been shown here by EG.
Tungguin aja, guys.
Retweaked and
Reset
revamped
itu.
as well
Right.
by Optic into stage
Baru
2, and
gas
now
war
Sentinels
lagi.
is using it. And one of those moments of where you saw that second kill coming out from Dapper was just a nice little
Dapper.
lineup to get the kill off a recon
Ronde
guard that
4
came
double
out
T
from
nih.
Shazam as well into the A side. So there's just going to be a lot of utility that's going to
Coba.
and if everybody's so focused on trying to
30
take you
seconds
down
left.
on aim duels, then you're going to
Sat
be able
sat
to
sat
take
sat
so
sat
many
sat
players
sat.
on your
Tadi Dapper yang kill 3 ya, sekarang Zelsis.
The way that it can be slow. If it's a slow game, information is king, right?
Yeah.
And if you have more information to gain over and over, we see them recycling the utility. It becomes much harder to do anything in the
Cocok,
dark,
SMG
if
aja
you will,
dulu.
to have your opponents thrown
Wah,
off,
anjing Odin.
because
Yeah.
they're
Nggak
already
jadi.
pushed up.
Kemana
to
nang
enemy
anjing?
cover or utility cover
Jadi.
in a certain area.
Iya,
Tampilan ini aja.
Let's see what happens. This still the same
Bisa
setup
mainnya,
coming from
Cuk.
guard.
Bareng aja.
Tile coverage from KJ is a kind of a norm. Have a bit of a lurk. This is one of the first times Net will be by himself. We'll see how much they can provide over there with 4 playing towards Cat and Gelato. Sentinels set up a 4-1 here to start with 4 towards B.
Wah, game burik sepi nggak kayak Free Fire game nomor 1. Wah.
Lu diam.
Lagu apaan, Cok?
Instrumental apa gitu Bi buat tidur, lagu tidur, Cok.
Ya,
Lagu
yang
copyright apa?
Hah?
Lofi aja.
Lofi nggak berhenti ya?
Iya.
ya Lofi aja udah, enggak
Jadi
apa-apa.
ada deng.
Valen definitely finds a lot of comfort on Omen. Clutch
Love yang
situations,
studi.
first bloods.
Daripada dengerin suara lu
No
kentut sama
stranger
ngorok
to
ntar, Cok.
any of those of
Iya.
the sort. A real big reason they were one of the #1 teams there. Fragging IGLs are a rarity. See the push towards B though. It has been held by Nat. Seems like they want to get in. Nobody's really close to any alls. We're still so early in the game, but again,
Ya,
guard
kasihan
try to
kayak.
play this time down and Jonah finds 2. That's big news.
Timing.
Oh, nice route.
They take him.
Tried to get something at least on the A side. The underhand throw actually did catch Zelsis.
Wah, B-nya tadi masuk.
Shroud. But what that does is that they're on a bonus, so losing a little bit of a spectrum to allow the rest of them to get into
Udah ya kan, pas ya guys. Tidur ya, Cok.
Ayo B, ayo B.
Selamat tidur, Cok. Nanti teman lagi.
Temu siang.
Easy in, easy plant.
Ratu.
Let's see if they can get back out of the site here.
Udah guys ya,
Getting
Regen udah
swarmed
turu
by
ya.
all this utility will not be affecting the Sentinels, and they'll know exactly how to use it. Doesn't look like they have much more than net just on the crossfire. See how Sentinels get in.
Excuse me, lost a rifle in the process. Not only a Spectre here because it's a gun round now for the guard.
Dapat anjing. Lazam.
Gimana anjir?
Oh, di wallbang. Astaga.
Kecil banget.
Wah, bete banget, Cok. Anjing di wallbang, Cok. Wah, tren. No time gak sih? No time gak sih?
Tapi mahal bonus roundnya. Dapat, Cok.
Dapat anjing 1 detik.
Dapat.
As well, not even a gun diff.
Lagi-lagi bonus round yang mahal ya, guys ya.
Back and forth. And I said it coming
mahal,
into the site,
rugi.
silly. Like that's going to be so
Gak ada yang
hard
bisa
to
beli.
hold. All that information ready to be gained by Sentinels. And
Lazam
we saw
baki,
the
Cok.
first kill was through a wall.
3-0.
Ini tren ini juga gila loh.
Things it be almost a
Dari
deja
tadi.
vu
Dari
from
tadi
this
ya.
situation. But it comes up on Dapper's side, and they're able to get the defuse.
Dapper.
Great round by
Dapper.
Sentinels. They hold the bonus true. And
Mulai.
they
Dapper
guard
belum
back
mati
on
ya.
mobile.
Bukan kill goib sih, ini karena ini Asen sih. Banyak dah pasti aneh-aneh udah apalan mati gitu dah, gampang betul.
Jarak jauhnya cuma mid guard dan
Itu doang iya. Mid market.
In full force here with how we're currently placing the stars into A main for Shroud. If it's going to be support with the Gravwell on top of that too for Zelsis. But here comes the execution.
Ya, aduh.
Dapat.
This is awesome.
ada yang lebih jago, Cok.
Pistols coming in though from the guard, just trying to at least get a plant down. That was also the nightfall coming out from Dapper to get all of that information for Sentinel. So this is going to make things
Mampus lu ditarik, Cok. Ih. Lihat kan? Itu gaib, Cok. Itu gaib, guys. Itu tes gaib.
kiri ke kanan.
Itu apa sih, Bro? Itu apa, Bro?
Itu tes ngapain, Cok?
Wah, anjir, si saya sama Jonah belum nge-kill.
Make the round not
Dari
Dapper
3
belum
kasier
mati.
tadi cuma 500.
He's actually been having a great series.
Nanti siang.
Suri tidur lah kalian.
Dragging out pretty hard and holding
LCQ
his own
nonton lah.
situations
Onyx,
already.
coy.
If we recall the
Ya kan?
B round in Breeze where he held
Oh iya,
back,
kan
got 2 frags,
Mau
which
lu
allowed the team to
nggak
get
tidur?
Sebelum PMPL kan?
Iya, bangun gua.
in
Nonton
that
gua, Yan.
range where he's not ready to
Gua
make
kalau bisa nonton pasti gua nonton.
right decisions everywhere. It's really helping Sentinels out.
Kita
Soalnya
CB dulu
Guard
nanti,
for the
cuy.
timeout, Vance.
Ya CB dulu.
The rounds that slipped away from him are, but
The
what if,
problem.
right? What if that didn't dink
Yang
through the wall on
kemarin.
Dapper? It's the bonus doesn't go, another round doesn't fold over. So it's not like you get to say that and come back. You have to figure out what to do now because Sentinels isn't going to make it.
Dapur ngebul. Wah.
Ultimate's coming online here for the guard. Trent probably could get a nightfall.
Jam berapa? Itu kan jam 12 main. Cepet-cepetnya jam 2 lah. 2 match.
Pokoknya match 1 itu order secret. Gue yakin itu order dia boleh secret itu.
Well, that's it. Getting
Dia bisa mainnya itu jam 1, bisa setengah 2 malah.
Setengah 2 ya.
Setengah 2 lah ya.
Australia itu bukan level saya, bro.
Wah, keren, Cok.
Waduh.
Australia.
Live-nya mati katanya.
Emang ya?
Enggak kok.
Masih, guys.
Enggak, itu yang live sebelumnya itu refresh.
Oh, restart, guys. Itu restart tadi. Masih.
After actually this timeout, it's a paranoia to push through, and Sire player dashes forward to be able to get that headshot onto Zelsis. So a great way to actually adapt back into this aggressive A side that Shroud and Zelsis have been doing towards that A main. So the great timeout after all. But this is still going to be
Berapa ya? Paling kita kripto jam 12 lah ya, Nang ya.
Map control gained.
Right.
Kamu enggak?
Ya, 11 kalau bisa mulai 11.
Now on the conversion.
Pernah.
It's 5v4. Saya player is
Aman lah.
able to get and he stays
Bangun,
Kalau
alive.
bangun juga lagi.
Because a lot of the time we saw that, you know, Saya
Apa tuh?
player breaks that
Gua sih
Bangun
bangun
sih
ya.
kayaknya. Gue bangun sih. Gue langsung tidurin.
Maybe this time.
Habis PMPL itu ada PMBA.
Kenyang yang bego ini.
Iya, benar.
Coming up.
Iya,
They will be able to get a little more positioning. At least the knowledge is there. But here comes the initiator.
Wah, tren nih.
Dapat lagi, cuy.
UltraGaming, Cuk, trennya, Cuk.
Coming in hard for the guard. after this timeout, and that's going to be the plant on a 4 versus.
Gila yang open trennya anjir.
Pretty strong here for Sentinels. You can definitely go in to make it expensive here for the guard, and you could count on Tens to maybe try to get 1 or 2.
Dia mau miskinin
So the
lawannya.
attempt justifiable
Dia
here.
dapat 1 aja.
Dapat 1 sih.
It's nice they
Dia
clean
mau
this up,
miskinin.
helping out the 5v4
Di guard nggak ada duit.
version statistic for him. And that was a great pressure too,
Dapat
especially
2
in
sih
the
nih.
round where Saya does get a frag. He is actually the next
mau
one to
turun.
frag again, right? He
Oh,
was the one to
anjing.
push out. If
Bantingnya.
he gets one.
Bilangnya.
Valen will stop.
Ya.
Its tracks. But yes, Saya still with what 30 HP.
Susah sih, gak gampang.
They keep
Soalnya,
in order what they're supposed to do.
nggak
with
bakal
this
bisa buy
composition,
full
they
sih
follow up
katanya.
accordingly.
Iya iya
We
iya.
saw guard just pile in
Tren
after
dari map 1
Saya
tadi
did
sih.
finally go down. So really nicely done in
Dari
keeping
map
their
UltraGaming.
strategy in line, right? It's very easy to get deterred from it,
Ketarik.
but they're not letting Sentinels do that.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to get to too, as you see the rotation coming out from the guard is Sentinels playing it on
Siato
the A
rasa
side. If you lose control of
duelis
one
aja.
side, you can push
Yeah.
forward in the rest. So pushing 2 players
Jadi
inside
ini
the main
metanya nih ya, double fate-nya paling atas cok, malah cok.
from A main allows you to play the retake a little bit better, and I like how the guard rotated back to Cat and used utility to actually deny the aggressive pushes from Sentinels after
Tipis.
losing A main.
Gue masih bingung.
Tens mencari sisi tipis bro ya.
This round here, very
Yang lihat
very
jaga
similar
Bea
one
sofa
on one of them
sendirian.
out, as it was thrown out by Dapper to
Tapi
get control on mid
trap-trapnya-
and information, but this still allows Tens to push forward with this operator.
Kan ada
Game of one
trapnya
ways
si
and
Tens tuh.
stars being played over
Apa namanya?
today still.
Tens doang.
You see the change up of Net's
Gila
positioning.
lo sofa jaga
Mentioning
sendiri.
that from B
Pakai
towards
Odin
mid, where
emang
it's gonna be
sih.
able to grab a bit of info.
Ya haram.
Nah, kena ini Tens. Bye.
Operator in the smoke. TP out.
Dapat 1 doang.
The quick trade though.
Iya.
The triple walk into a smoke. I love it. And the spray back through the cloud burst, but the Nightfall coming out on the attack. It does
Mantap.
actually see
Odin
Shazam.
gimang. Ya,
Ya,
timing.
timing banget.
For only 1 kill, but these are looking really
Cok,
good.
serem,
At
Cok.
least
Kasih
on
yang
both
serem-serem,
ends.
Cok.
Immediately, the null command gets
1 lawan
dropped,
2,
so we have a
ayo.
2 versus 1. Shroud looking for the fake res, looking back towards
Ayo
our front of
Shroud,
the site.
bukan main PUBG PC nih,
Going
Cok.
for the real one.
Oh, nice try.
Very well done. Good patience by the guard and not going immediately for
Tren
the
lagi
counter to
nge-kill
ensure
3,
that they get
anjir.
the kill.
Iya cok, trennya tuh 95 Joy.
Lu lihat si
Clean
Jonah
play, I think.
05 anjir.
Just be collected was one of the
At least
probably
kill
one of
that.
the things said. It's speculation, but just collect yourselves a little bit more by the guard. Plays don't have to be made
At least
immediately.
nge-kill.
Mau lihat aim follow lu bro? Banyak di TikTok.
Obviously Trent doing what he has to do in a situation, but
Yeah.
it seems like they're just
Ya itu udah ada highlight yang bagus-bagusnya banget itu guys. Makanya udah gak ada konten TikTok lagi sekarang.
It's really good to see that the game hasn't shifted their mentality at all. Sentinels
Mirip-mirip
Tadi
lah.
Jason lihat TikTok tuh geter-geter ya bro sama Aaron.
Iya Cok.
Right? They're like, no, A space is ours. We're taking this. Stop smoking.
Nang
This."
Pablo
They actually put
Pramet
4
juara.
members there immediately, and now they control that orb. They'll back up and start to go back to what they were doing in mid.
Nggak pakai tour de
Still a
force.
stack of numbers though for Sentinels towards
Saya
this
player
site,
itu
'cause we
pemain.
have this
Oh,
little
saya player
small
itu mantan
Tens
pemain
that's walking
Overwatch,
up to
Cuk.
B main. Meanwhile though,
Oh,
as you
iya.
give that up, or
Berarti
Sentinels
Kata viewer gue nih.
still have that crossfire
harusnya
there, so
kalau dari pemain
guards
Overwatch
are still gonna try to play
apa,
this very cautiously,
mainnya kenceng.
waiting for
Harusnya iya
potentially
cepet.
the
Ya.
other
Refleksnya
team to
kenceng
come back
soalnya
over for
Thank you
kayak si
informasinya Wisnu.
kayak si
Oh.
Takel, kayak si Rian itu
Ya.
kan
Semua dari Overwatch.
Overwatch bawaannya betul.
Another smoke mid. Valen has
Gila,
it.
Temponya ya ini ya.
Sinatra lu lihat.
Quick prowler
Kalau
towards
bukan
Tens,
karena
so
pelecehan
get a
mah
call out and
main
get a
dia.
double lean over actually.
Sinatra.
About 3 members of Sentinels at B.
BT.
Orb grab and left and
Gak
right
bisa
here.
ulti.
Yeah,
Comes out.
and
Oh
the
iya.
orb gets
The
picked
Guard
up.
ini
That's
juara
immediate
stage
null
1 ya?
command coming out from
Yeah.
Jonah P to take the B site. So
Thank
Dapper,
you.
first headshot there with the sheriff, but that stops him right
Tapi dia
there.
turun di
Valen
stage
trades it
2.
out. We have a site open for the guard. The res coming
Up
out
down
too.
lah ya
So it's
biasa.
gonna be back on a 5 versus 4. But we talked about
Iya, kalau
ultimates,
Sinatra
the
tahu gue,
free
guys.
op is still available for Tens. We still have a cosmic divide, but at this point with all of them funneling out towards the spawn, it's gonna have to
Kalau
be
dia
off
bisa
utility
menang
and
lawan
the
The Guard,
Stinger hopefully to do
kemungkinan
much here.
lolos champion dia
Or-
tuh gede.
Gede ya.
Karena
Yes,
sisa
get by the
ya
one way.
kasar-kasarnya
Lane is the
tinggal
only
1
fight you
lagi,
can take
2
actually
lagi.
coming down.
Dan ini
Unfortunate because
bos
it does create the
kasarnya
longer
bos terakhir
range.
lah.
Bos terakhirnya dia nih ya.
Iya, seeding 1.
That we're committed to try to
Sio seeding
stop
1.
and contain the
Satu.
guard into the site off this pulse plant.
Anjing kok Jeno ya.
Everything we wanted to go
Dapat
for the views of
Wih, tren.
Dapat. Holy shit, bro.
Trennya anjing ngebanting ke wallbang asu lah.
Kill 3 lagi anjir. Wah gila
Ya
sumpah.
trennya dah.
Anjir 7 ronde kill 12.
Enggak, trennya ngebanting.
Right, it's
Baru
not
guys
just
lagi ya.
I mean, you get the same stuff out of Fade that you kind of do.
Kurang ajar
also,
nih.
but
Masih giniin gua.
still seems
Ngumpulin highlightnya mainnya sebulan gak kumpul itu klip 30 detik TikTok anjing.
4 to 3 here. A little closer
Enggak,
to
Cok.
start.
Kok jujur
And
banget,
Breeze,
jujur banget dah.
guard seems to
Sehari
be
satu anjing. Konten gua
1
bisa.
detik kan.
they can produce
Sehari 1 detik.
Sentinels took a bit of a push into B main for the first time.
Sehari,
A little bit
Cok.
deeper, rather. They have had peeks and checks. But this will be the extremity check that they usually aren't doing.
Itu nggak
It's been
sopan
left
tapi
open
trennya,
a
Cok.
lot of the time. One round, guard was able to test out. They haven't decided if it's going to be another cat.
Tree control, Nightfall right away, and a nice little scope too.
Oh, nice
Trying to
delay.
control a tree for the guard. But that is going to slow things down at the same time, because that was also a detriment to not allow the guard to get through. Potentially maybe go for an underhand throw through that smoke, but there was a lot of utility that was thrown back from Sentinels.
It's wild. Look at what Sentinels feel comfortable playing. Shroud is not moving. He is ready to play a double spot there, crossfire into sight, but he goes down on a trade. And now they have to consider what they can do. No controller on that side.
It was a nice little double swing out. Spawn in the cloud burst too. Zelda's down. Shazam off the rotation. And this continues to be just nice from both of these teams. The pushing coming through, it's well read by Sentinels.
Exactly.
Ya.
I just love this until this happens.
Menang nih, menang nih.
Towards the B main.
Tuh kan, gua bilang juga apa, Cok. Iya kan?
Lock it down here for the Sentinels.
Valorant tuh itu serunya, Cok. Keanehan-keanehan clutch.
Iya, Cok. Soalnya bunyi teng 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 gitu itu ya tuh kayak nambah damage, Cok. Ya nggak sih?
Satisfying.
Iya, satisfying.
Situation. I mean,
Tetap ada.
an arming
Kan
time
sempat
for
kehack.
the bot as well. Tens knowing well. I mean, Tens would fire through a flash there if it was on the screen before he would try to rendezvous away. So the alarm bot's not going to scare him. Yeah, really well played there.
Serot menolak tidak bottom frag, bro.
And bit of a misplay by guard that will haunt them coming into that round because they had positioning and they had
Ayo,
numbers.
ayo Shroud, naik Shroud.
3K by Tens turns the game into Sen's favor here. Still a
Temennya
bit
lagi
of a buy
kencang.
for guard, and they have
Susah
some
sih.
money in their pocket, so not too bad.
Susah dia nggak boleh paling depan, Cok. Pokernya cuma dia.
For mid control. As after the timing of the hunt from Dapper, we've already immediately.
Kan bro kamu nggak tidur abis ini, Bang.
But once again, it's still Tens holding the other end with a Vandal in front of B main.
Enemy tagged.
Drone out. The B main control has been a little bit more apparent
suara
here
dikit,
in the last few rounds, but in goes Saya player. Great chaos created by the guard.
Yeah, a little bit of a bad placement off the rendezvous points, allowing Trent to get a second kill there onto Shazam. And there's the first, I mean, this is the first lockdown I think that I've seen this coming out here from Trent, and that allows here Elise for the guard to play the pulse plan, and already Sentinel's going to fall back into the A site to save.
Saving.
Nicely done, and this is actually what the guard needs. Even though they have money, a lot of Breeze was plagued with them being just shut down on economy. So if they can build this up, keep the players in,
Sentinel yang menang.
they don't have to be dropping people. So 5 to 3 here.
Tapi masih menang Sentinel sih kayaknya.
Middle of the map starting to get pressure a little bit. That was a pretty funky round from the guard. The strategies they're coming out with here.
Dan di defense-nya ada guard ini ada Killjoy.
I think it'd be
juga sih.
Diri doang. Ya ini mana Sentinel
comes in with kind of unconventional strats.
Soalnya gue baru sekali ini lihat ada
That
Vet
might
sama
have been one of
Sofa.
the ones that they rolled the dice on.
Tim ya.
Nicely done. Then pushing through spawn was really able to get the trade.
Bisa selalu buat ganti-gantian tuh dua.
Who does that? They do.
Ada Omet juga ya.
Who does
And I
that?
could maybe see Tens had that rendezvous point there because they had some sort of positioning that maybe market should have been covered by somebody else.
Kalau guard itu agentnya apa ya? Killjoy.
Again, when you're gonna have to play a timing against side players' dashes, it's not gonna be as easy to TP and flick right away for the kill. So understandable that mistake kind of happened, but that's great for the guard to narrow down that lead that Sentinels has built like they did on Breeze. So once again, we have a close game early. Hunter's Fury to come out, and that pings up to one.
That's clean.
Pings up a
Dapat
second one.
Nggak nyampe.
Tapi 3 orang kena damage, jir.
Oh.
Lo kepala manggis kenapa tidur? Karena dia masih manusia sih.
Already took basically a
Siapa?
player out of the game.
Kepala manggis kenapa tidur?
Dia orang, udah bukan alien lagi ya.
Itu bukan alien, Cok.
Lagi jadi orang, lagi jadi orang.
Karena Doski masih manusia, masih butuh tidur sih. Bukan alien dia. Udah gak kuat, Cok. Tuh, pengen ngerokok kan dari tadi. Kalau ngerokok mesti mandi lagi.
Push B main the first few rounds. This time it's just a prowler and they are stacked towards Spike side right now.
0 point spotted 2 on the attack, at least holding at least spotted 2 defenders.
Lu nggak subaton? Enggak. Nanti lah guys.
But it's still gonna be the guard looking to push back towards the A main. Potentially be a Nebula or a grab. Well, it's gonna be a Nebula instead. Paranoid doesn't hit him, so Shroud has into the back.
Shroudnya bingung, Cok.
Saya's dancing inside the cloud burst.
Malah dia pakai pandal ya lagi pas ya.
Now though we answer back, Tens with the Guardian, the first headshot. Shot darts coming in, spike
Ya,
down now
kebanyakan
for
ini
the guard on the pulse plant. 2 players playing towards hell.
Wah, dikepung.
Daper anjing. Woi. Boleh kayak gitu daper anjing. Dia banting 3 kali, Cok.
Dia nggak mau kalah, Cok. Nggak mau kalah sama Vet lawan, Cok.
What the fuck?
Nice.
Kasih Shroud.
Deja vu dapper.
Tensnya
Same
mau
spot
nabung buat
behind
beli
Jenny.
OP
A
pasti
quick
itu.
3K. Instantly
Konten apa?
smothering the guard. Like you said, rest of it picked up there by Tens on the
Woi, nggak
Guardian.
sopan anjing daper, Cok. Banting. Dia lihat. Gimana sih, Cok? Tangannya. Dia tuh dapat satu balik badan, dapat ya kan? Balik. Anjing nggak? Hah? Ini kan kelihatannya slow motion ya? Ah biasa aja bang. Itu slow motion anjing. Gua kasih tahu. Ya buat yang baru nonton pertama kali itu tadi di slow motion.
Sabar.
Ini nggak takutnya kan? Ah biasa aja bang. Gue juga bisa orang pelan gitu, Cok. Ini udah slow motionnya guys ya, replaynya guys ya.
Mati dong.
But it's still going to be the guard opening it up towards the A side. Dapper's going to have to try to go for a hero play, trying to spray through the smokes, but the door is just going to close instead.
Dari mana itu ditembak tuh?
Dari mid.
We still at least have
dari
seven
CT.
already and propped up here, 2 towards the garden. Prowler clearing out towards Cat, so they could gamble now to just push in.
Nanti mulai aktif lagi, kan lagi PMPL.
Aduh.
Winnable loh.
Bisa. Kerennya mati, Cok.
The guard on the pulse plant. Tens with the with that all.
Tens belum nembak lagi.
More lineups being thrown here by Net, delaying that clock. Turret now up.
Wih, pas banget.
Ah, kena.
Telat, Cok. Astaga.
Dapernya.
Oh gitu.
Harusnya dapat
Telat ya?
ngepick.
Udah ngetap.
Iya, nice try.
Doing a really great job of being able to pressure into these sites.
Langit berangkat kerja.
Ability to at least get a few frags. Knowing where Shroud has been playing in the
Sangat Kiki.
is helping them at least, or they've stopped.
Oh, udah jamnya kerja. Wah, jam 5 bro. Ternyata bro.
Activating too fast or just between when Shroud's been able to get into those. But they've been able to really encroach.
Teman yang baru datang ya kan, jangan lupa di ini like dulu, subscribe ya, sama di Anang juga.
Early defensive 0 point smokes stars on this A spot just to hold down.
Lah,
tapi kalah.
tension low wave.
Ya,
lah.
Iya tapi Zelsis main bagus kok.
Paling stabil.
Make a play.
Dia sama tren doang yang stabil.
Enggak, dia ini apa ya? Dia harus menangin. Dia tahu gitu. Aduh anjing. Di run and gun bro. 6-6. Sama seru.
Susah sih ini.
Ya.
Tapi nggak tahu dah. Sentinel.
Soalnya map default juga gitu kan.
Ya map semua orang. Lu main pertama kali Valorant pasti asik.
Kami juga belum mengadu nasib di Bonanza. Siap bang, kalau gacor jangan lupa bang ya. Ini bang. Weh.
Jam gacor ya, Bah?
Jam gacor ya. Slot mekanik tua. Tapi nggak tahu ya, ini hanya opini pribadi gue ya. Masih kelihatan sih slot masih agak bingung sih.
Kaku ya.
Kalau
Bukan
buat gua.
kaku siapa ya bahasanya. Bingung bener sih.
Ya kayak gini lah, lu main rank. Infonya tuh pasti nggak banyak.
Nggak banyak yang ngomong ya.
Ya kalau di turnamen
Komnya
tuh
ya. Iya.
karena pressure kan sama hype juga pasti pada banyak ngomong, bingung jadi.
Live. Sebelah kiri. Bimen gitu ya.
Iya tadi yang pas dia jaga B itu kan dia lihat ke kiri, lihat ke kanan.
Jaga A.
Jadi jaga A ya.
Jaga A di bawah kan, bawa heaven.
Iya.
Mabok, Cok.
Kalau nungguin satu angle aja enak,
Bisa
soalnya
dapet.
ada yang jagain kan. Jadi satu
Di gardennya mungkin ada yang jagain, Cuk.
Iya, di garden nggak ada
Apa ya?
orang. Ya mending di bagian kirinya aja.
Ya. Ya tadi gue nangkep sih pas itu. Bang, kenapa kalau lihat PCT gini suka pengen langsung main tapi setelah pengen matiin PC karena aim turu. Emang gitu, Cok.
Di live chat ya Abil GG.
Kenapa?
P ada cewek nggak di P cari cewek. Aduh.
Abi ada tuh lagi live.
Ramak cabut.
Iya ada win goblok ya.
PLR.
Apa?
Iya ya.
Rahmat ngacengan asu.
Rahmat. Jir, rank VLR gitu.
Hilang apa? Yan, suara lu hilang.
Hilang.
Ranking Onyx di VLR beda 2 sama Boom. Gara-gara kalah.
Gara-gara kalah kan. Hello.
Plus minusnya berapa aja, Ten? Kalau menang plus berapa?
Lu tekan aja itu Onyx terus lu tekan bawah itu kan ada rating historinya tuh. Itu ada kelihatan minusnya berapa. Biasanya kalau kalah sama rank di bawah itu minusnya gede. Ini gua kalah sama Sersi aja cuma minus 22. Tapi pas kalah sama tim Secret minusnya 37.
Gila, itu ya.
Waduh gila.
Super quick start. Holy moly.
Anjing dengan tuh.
Rotate semua.
Quick backup.
Kenapa dang?
Say, okay, we need to regroup.
Bucu.
Sentinels.
Parah,
What they got
kopi
right there.
dulu
No
nah.
need to push.
Kopi dulu, Cok.
This is what they do all
bikin
the time.
kopi.
We saw this on Breeze. They keep back.
Kurang berarti garamnya.
And Saya player to
Spencer
have
sini.
is your first one is so big.
Biar melek. Gua aja belum tidur loh ini.
Bro, nama channel Abi berubah jadi Ripple. Iya kan Bang, emang dihack. Gila, dari California, Cok. Nggak tahu CA apa sih?
CA California. USD CA.
Iya, CA USD, Cok.
Harusnya California. Bahkan nggak mungkin dong.
Kanada.
Oh, Kanada.
Karena kan dia nama negara, bukan nama itu, bukan nama kota.
California tuh provinsi.
Negara bagian. Weh, rusuh nih.
Wah, keren.
Wah, tren 3 lagi.
Kayak tren tuh ngidolain Shroud deh. Makanya dia pengen bantai-bantai Shroud.
Oh, dulu gua nonton lu ya, sekarang lu.
Jangan dulu kata dia kan.
Ya, Shroud dibawa lagi guys ya.
Wah, buat frag lagi adik-adik.
Tot kurang adaptasi. Gua ada ini. Masih butuh waktu lagi sih.
Ini Cok, pressernya gila ini.
Tapi masalahnya gini bro, dia butuh waktu. Ini LCK cuma seminggu. Lu mau butuh waktu apa? Franchise.
Butuh waktu. Ya kan makanya dia bilang franchise, Cok.
Franchise lama anjir. Ya maksud gua kalau dia franchise gak usah.
Main sekarang. Nah, tapi ini langsung dicobanya tuh mental lu mungkin langsung aja gitu terjun udah. Gua learning by doing, bro.
Berarti mereka mau gambling di sini.
Iya, gambling di sini.
Berarti banyak nganggur ya habis ini.
Ada third party nanti. Habis champion tuh biasanya ada terpart. Kayak WR kan ada terpartis.
Iya.
Ntar ada lagi. Soalnya emang dari Valorantnya bakal ngasih waktu buat terparty itu setelah champion.
Biar nggak sepi-sepi amat lah ya.
Yang titip-titip yang Valorant, Cok. Kalau udah cuan-cuan.
He's hungry. He's not jet plane.
Apanya yang
He's gotta
cuan?
wait for people to come to
Iya,
him.
lu kayak pura-pura lagi.
Situation.
Ngerti kan?
Itu udah gue
Ngerti kan?
spill. Udah gue kasih tahu Matthew itu di DM semalam. Nggak tahu.
They get themselves to safety.
Ya baru tadi malam ya belum disampaikan ke
Lot in the
kita
back of
dong.
the
Oh, iya,
site
belum,
here.
ya.
This is up
Enaknya
to
langsung lah, ya kan? Bisa
That's
ditoel,
just on the
Cok.
other side. It
Ya,
looks like
lu ya.
Sentinels want it, but
Tanggal-
so slow down
Ya
this
pas
lane
17
side.
Agustus
Side player's gonna start off on
ketemu
10.
gue lah, ntar gue kasih tahu.
Wah.
Ketemu di mana?
Ya kemana kek?
Eh,
Kan nggak ada
gila.
turnamen tanggal
Enggak, gue kira
17.
ada acara. Kok 17 Agustus ketemu gua.
Kan kita merdeka. Siapa tahu mau panjat pinang bareng.
Bonus.
Tapi seru sih. Panjat pinang. Guys, ada masih yang panjat pinang nggak besok?
Gue dulu panjat pinang dapat rice cooker loh. Nang.
Gua sih panjat pinang di bawah udah badan gua kecil diinjek-injek anjing.
Tahun 2007 gue inget banget gue kelas 2 SMA. Gue panjat pinang dapat rice cooker. Pulang-pulang dimarahin gue.
Soalnya kadang ada loh guys, pemain jago gitu ya, ketika dia fokusnya harus diem, Cok. Ada yang bisa fokus sambil ngomong, beda-beda loh.
Beda.
Player tuh.
Ada yang emang komnya bagus. Ada yang memang mainnya jago tapi komnya kurang gitu.
Ya tinggal balik lagi ke timnya kira-kira seperti apa lah. Image-nya lah.
Nggak, patokannya soalnya dia lawannya raja terakhir gitu. Jadi orang pada nyepelein Shroud. Coba dia lawan seeding 5, seeding 6. Dia seeding 8 loh ini. Sentinel ini.
Sentinel seeding 8 ya.
Guardnya seeding 1.
But at least we're still trying to delay with the smokes being thrown out on the defense, so they only lose one player in the process. Updraft coming out.
Gila saya.
Trying to get a Marshall kill, but
Dapat.
that doesn't get
Oh,
any
enggak
kills
mau
yet.
belaga gila dia, Cok. Loncat, updraft pakai itu Marshall.
Looking to rotate towards the A site where
Gimana
once
Overwatch?
again we're seeing why this killjoy is still very useful for this composition
Gimana
of the
Overwatch?
guard.
Iya, Cok.
It is big.
Dia mau shoot and pray.
Sees that utility, still some insight. They have to get by being detected. This gives the rotation
Gila,
time.
susah
That's the
masuk ya.
important part.
Kan
No
lambat
fight
banget mainnya
Lambat
kalau
banget.
ada duelis
is
gini.
what Net wants right now. He's waiting for the team. They're waiting for the retake.
Rizky lagi nih, sekali gagal ke plan aja.
Delay as they're moving into the site with 14 seconds left
retake,
on the clock. The plant only starts now, so this gives the opportunity for that retake to happen. Potentially a double flank, but Valen decides otherwise, moving with the rest of the team on the top of heaven, and a late lurk from Net back towards to cover mid, and then they're going to try to retake and re-hit.
Yang Valorant nggak ada
Nice
jadi
little
konten ya
syrup point
kalau
coming
Onyx.
out, at least from Jonah P. That's gonna ping a couple of
Mic
players
check
down
maksud gua.
towards L. A smoke
Ada.
towards the front.
Kemarin ada
Paranoia misses though,
Ada kan?
and that's
Lawan
a
ada.
great position at least for the Sentinels at hell to get all of these kills. But Jonah P answers back for 3 kills. The
Untung
backstab
aja, anjir.
Untung.
A
Good
Sentinel
Iko, anjir,
bleeding
buat-
on that retake from the
good
guard,
bonus
but
buat
that is
guard.
3 kills
Ya,
on a bonus
masih
round for the
bagus
guard.
lah, bisa dapat 3 kan?
Soalnya Shroudnya nggak bisa
Mas,
buy.
Sentinels
Mas
doing a good
bilangin
job of staying
Pablo
alive.
Mayong
They did
satu
get a little
lagi
messy
gacor.
towards the end.
Hah?
Guard
Main
doing
lu.
themselves a good job of getting that money.
Apa lagi gacor?
The operator we were talking
Mayong
about
satu.
now in the hands of
Mayong
Sire
satu,
player. That's
buset.
what the Marshall buy was for. You see that utility towards the back top side. 0 points had already been used at this point, so there's a bit of an idea of what space was being
Let's
played,
go!
which is why I think
Sentinel, bos!
Sentinels to be able to
Untung
get
ya
deep
dapet, Cuk.
and find the shots they needed without
Red
second
ball dulu
guessing what was going to be aiming at them. Peek here, no. A quick smoke on
Wah
the
lu,
cat.
aneh-anehnya chat orang Indo nih, gue
They deny
kadang
any peeks there and maybe get a bit of
spamnya
more
orang luarnya
control after,
aneh-aneh.
and that's
Lu
gonna
lihat
be
di chat Twitch.
Shazam at the top of
Kata-kata yang sama, anjir.
What's happening. KJ utility switch back over to B
Control
here
C, Control V.
for the guard fans. Continue to keep Sentinels guessing.
Lu
I think
ngapain
Sentinels
bacain,
doing
anjing?
a pretty good
Enggak,
job of getting
gue kan udah
close
kangen
enough,
kan, udah
figuring
lama
out if
nonton
they
Twitch
might
lagi
be
kan,
dealing
gara-gara
with
mobile
Net's
terus.
utility, and then
Pengen
figuring
tahu
out
toxic
what would
apa
be the
orang
easiest
luar.
course of
Sama
action.
aja anjir sebenarnya.
Mirip aja, Cok.
Cuma orang luar tuh toksiknya lewat emot.
Tuh, abang-abangan, Cok. Shroud nggak ngerti main, mati mulu, mending mainin Sik. Wah.
Waduh.
Ya lagi bang, 2 kali bottom break gimana, Cok?
and a knife.
Perlu dihafal habis-habisan sih.
Baru sadar tanpa duelist dari tadi. Sentinel main nggak pakai duelist.
Dari round 1.
Dia dapat ini nih bocoran orang dalam kayaknya dah. Duelist nggak kepake cowok abis ini cowok. Ya seret. Gimana nggak mati? Dia maju begitu lu lihat tuh.
Zaya player lands it onto Zelsis and Jonah P gets the
Wah,
wall bang onto Shazam.
digunting, Cok.
It's a stronghold for the guard. And you mentioned it, Shroud made it through, so he's able to answer back onto Zaya player.
Tarnya masih ada dua.
As he
Nggak
gets
bisa
picked out by a
ngapa-ngapain.
Haunt,
Lah.
and that's a beautiful wall bang by Trent. That's some great stuff that we'd like to see.
Anjing.
First headshot.
Udah anjing.
Udah anjing mati Tens. Wih.
Aduh, tadi ini sih kena flash sih.
Kena flash.
It seemed like a bit of miscom there, just on the entry, right?
Wait.
As soon as they went to hit, Sentinels was actually hit with a bit of utility they weren't expecting. So as
Tapi
Shroud
Tens masih
was
gila,
able to make it, everybody
Cok.
else wasn't.
Dia banting dibalik lagi masih pala anjing.
After that, your
Orang bar kayak gini kena copyright gak bang? Enggak cowok, orang gua dapat watch party.
So
Ini buat yang
taking big advantage of that,
apak sih.
nicely done to keep themselves in
Aman lah ya
position,
tapian ya.
not do too much rotating. They again
Selama
switch
ini
to
masih
Killjoy
aman.
play to keep
Masih aman.
Sentinels guessing. The Sheriff play.
Selama kita nggak ngatain Valorant ini kan tujuannya naikin Valorant juga guys.
Keep it slow.
Aman lah.
Valorant nggak
21
sekejam.
mas tambah kopinya 21 sih meta.
Wah, Anda
respect
jangan
streamer
sebut.
ini.
Di live saya. Lian.
Oh iya.
Jangan dilanjutin.
Oh iya.
Apa lu
Saya
ngomong
cinta
apa?
semua. Saya cinta semua.
Kita streamer kapitalis. Hidup.
Hidup kapitalis.
Hidup kapitalis.
That said, though, this is an eco coming out for Sentinels, just trying to see and trying to get information at least.
Wah, jago main freak daripada Shroud.
Siapa jago Maverick anjay?
Main freak. Aaron.
Tapi gue di PRX, gue lebih demen Aaron sih daripada Forsaken. Lu kalau lihat, lu nonton Master kan bro?
Nonton.
Aaron paling seringnya clutch kan?
Iya memang.
Iya cok, Raja clutch cok.
Cuma kalau gue di PRX beda lagi.
Jing.
Davai.
Oh, Davai.
Gue Davai. Tuh deh.
Davai kan ini.
Sampai Davai itu kayak pembunuh udara dingin, cowok. Kalau ngeliatin tuh kayak ya biasa aja gitu, cool aja, tapi kelas gitu loh, kelas.
Jangan 21 mau Jumatan sabar. Kita doakan tidak 21 bisa.
Mati lagi nih. Sentinel
Udah
susah.
gila serotnya anjing.
Ya lu gimana shot gak mati dari tadi loncat crossing seenak-enak jidat anjir. Berat cok.
Ya good eco lah.
Beneran 21 nih guys.
Sumpah chamber nih kalau ulti jarak dekat rugi di chamber anjir. Dia nge-kill
kena slow sendiri.
Musuhnya kena slow, dia nggak slow juga.
Oh iya. Oh dia ngefek juga ke dia ya.
Iya semua. Sama kayak slownya Sage.
Lo Bang Sro tolong banget bang, saya mau Jumatan.
Iya cok. Tapi ini susah banget cok. Ini susah banget dia masuknya.
21 nih kayak beneran, sumpah guys. Gak bohong gua.
Kecuali bener-bener murni ya. Mesti mereka aimnya sakit banget itu dapat kayak early killnya gitu loh.
Iya nyari early sih.
Nyari early-nya mesti dapat gitu yang nyolong-nyolong.
Ini gua aja realistis nih, kira The Guard-nya menang 2-0. Sentinelnya ntar naik dari lower bracket. Soalnya The Guard tuh ya kuat itu.
Jadi gimana? Guard ini seeding 1. Sentinel ini seeding 7. 8 ya? 8. Jadi kelasnya tuh kelas A sama kelas G, H atau itu apa tuh? Lanjut tuh guys.
Kalau Icebook jelek kah Sentinel?
Nggak tahu juga.
Soalnya kalau ngitung dari stack 2 semua map jelek. Sentinel.
Gak ada yang bagus nang.
Kan? Paling terakhir kan?
Iya. And at circuit point. Guard ketiga. 4 Fast Clan. 1 The Guard, 2 Fast Clan, 3 NR. Cloud 9.
Wah, slot mulai diserang cowok sama netizen Indo, anjoy.
Tolong Mas Rock, sabar ya, sabar. Buat yang mau Jumatan sabar.
If it's not going to be on the Killjoy utility, it's still that KO.
Nah, Zazam dapat.
Quite well, and finally, as we get a first blood now in favor of Sentinels.
Nah, coba lihat nih kalau udah kayak gini lebih enak nih, harusnya mainnya nih.
Great little adaptation there by Sentinels. They were able to identify that it was Saya player that was out in the open alone, but now this B has coming in, so forget about that.
Surprise, Mark, DK semua,
Semua kan. Wah, Valin bahaya, Cok. Valin bahaya, Cok. Gua udah bilang, Cok. Gua udah bilang Valin bahaya dari gerakannya, Cok.
Kasih S.
Kasih S.
Wah, anjir,
S-nya Shroud lagi.
Report anjing. Harusnya di S terus Shroud bagian.
Last man ya. Shroud comeback Ace anjay. MVP itu, Cok. TikTok. Gua udah lihat nih. Valinnya santai banget, tenang banget, Cok. Dapat pasti momen ini.
Enak cara ngepicknya, bro.
Iya.
Tuh nih.
Mas swingnya enak banget, Cok. Kelihatan Valinnya soalnya.
S gua anjing kata dia.
Aduh, match point.
Ya, makin lama gua nggak ngerokok, Cok.
Coba kita lihat.
Tuh lihat maju gimana ya?
Majunya setor nyawa, Cok.
Soalnya ya gimana?
So that's an early 5 versus 4, but a eco for Sentinels trying to get inside the B side for a plant. Trent holding the back of B with an Odin. Saya trying to go for some blind picks through the smoke. But it's still going to be just a great hold.
Masih mending pakai Killjoy, Cok. Alarm bot bener sih, gue setuju.
Killjoy.
Iya, taruh alarm bot gitu.
Waduh.
Nggak kena.
Map 3 apa? Icebox.
Icebox ya.
Ah, berdarah-darah ini mah.
Tapi kalau Icebox, kalau Sentinel nggak pakai apa namanya?
Duelis oke. Bisa, iya benar. Di komen live Valo udah mulai full bacotin Shroud. Wah. Gua tahu
netizen Valo udah muncul kan?
Muncul udah banyak sih, yakin gua.
Dari awal sih. Masa dia baru kill 6, Cok?
Iya.
Yang lain temennya ada 2 digit.
Nah, mental kah?
Enggak sih, kalau mental enggak.
Fansnya
Oh.
Zoms 2,0
okay for that pause. We need a breather. We need a breather to also explain or try to show and demonstrate as finally on the scoreboard, Steven Trent's at 25 on this map so far, and I know he's put up some great numbers on the
Jadi
first
pas
map as
lawan
well.
MITH itu si main TH itu naik ke kotak yang dia jadi kayak CS loh. Temannya nunduk, dia naik gitu.
Oh,
naik.
Emang nggak boleh?
Nggak boleh. Lu boleh naik itu pakai util atau skill. Lu nggak boleh loncat kayak gitu. Itu harusnya rondenya di restart.
Tadi gue lihat tuh di Twitter tuh yang MITH tuh.
Ini si Abi kenapa pindah ke voice room ya, Cok?
Ke Garrett kayaknya deh.
Apa?
Abi di voice room.
Iya tadi pindah dia, nggak tahu ada yang pindahin kali.
Kagak bisa ditarik balik anjing. Hah?
Oh iya.
Kok gak bisa gerakin dia?
Serius lu, cu.
Sumpah. Anjing gak serot-serot. Ya. Inilah.
Compositions, they still had a few that they played since March, which would easily be downloaded by other teams. While those compositions might work, you can't
tidur guys,
really make
tidur
them work if
aman.
the team knows exactly how you're going to use it. So Guard will call a
Nanti gue
timeout
ceritain
after this, use
ceritanya
their time
gimana.
efficiently to make sure they can solidify this last round. Probably holding a few alts unless they know they'll necessarily secure it, so they can have a fail-safe for the rounds to come. But looking to close it out here. That operator, again, has been such a pivotal point for the Guard to convert rounds, whether it be on Breeze in our first map or here on Ascent. That's been something that we see the Guard going to very frequently.
Itu bridging jadi risiko. Kemarin habis
back early. Couple of ults, as you mentioned before here, Null Command and Nightfall available for the retakes. If they want to try to figure out how they want to cycle through this utility and the ultimates for the guard. Saya player with an operator also has Bladestorm, but it's going to be Sentinels taking the first step, pushing aggressively towards Tree. That forces out who does get a nice kill onto 10, who was fully blinded towards Tree. A swing out from Lian that doesn't amass for a kill, so we're trying to fight back. We're clawing back here for Sentinels. They're at a player disadvantage, but all split up across the map. But here comes the Hunter's Fury.
Nice!
But it's not even needed. Shazam gets a double kill with the Hunter's Fury. A player advantage going back into the Sentinels, but Dapper lurks in to make it a 3 versus 1. Now Saya player with this operator and the Bladestorm available if he wants to. Just trying to see if he can catch one off guard as the plant only comes in now.
Terus fokus endorse Logitech, gue juga mau, Cok.
Dapat royalty anjir.
I mean, he has that flank being watched.
Gimana mau gue juga.
Iya. Just because of
Logitech ada muka Pablo.
Gimana?
You now see Saya player opting to save his weapon.
I was going to be pretty amazed if he actually tried to go for that. He was walking forward with confidence. Only W keys to be pressed, but he did find the S key.
Terus tahu banyak pikiran. Habis kawin belum dibayar. Wah.
The operator, Bladestorm is there as well. So if he gets himself into a tight situation, he can make this work. I don't know. They're not going to go hunting. So Sentinels pick up a pretty clean round. You can see most of the action there coming through Tree. It has been how Sentinels have wanted to fight these situations.
Tapi kayaknya nggak menolong banyak sih menurut gua. Tetap ini rondenya
the one-way smokes have not been something they want to deal with in the main area unless it's just kind of for the post-plant retake. But again, right up the gut with Hunter's Fury. It makes it so hard to defend this position. And Shazam knows that, especially this late in the round with how Sentinels, again, try to read the rotations. The timing was there.
Yeah, and even Dapper eating one pulse off his team's Hunter's Fury to break the timing off the rotation back from Trent with that Odin. So this is some very nice scaling from Sentinels going into understanding where the positioning was from the guard in that mid-round. This round, though, as we had that timeout previously from the guard, we couldn't close it out, but thankfully we still have a lot of utility and economy, rather, and a Nightfall still available. Slayer player trying to go through the smoke, dashes away, couldn't get the kill, and pulls out a Bladestorm. But mid-control, under slight control as Trent plays the off angle. First kill onto Celsius. Updraft coming out in 10, swings out with the Vandal running gun to make it a 4-on versus 4.
The smoke there just denying the angle those two wanted to use to actually have a crossfire. 10's approaching it perfectly to get his frag. Now in the 4v4, it looks like they will start to pressure a bit towards that left side. And this is one of the only times we've seen Sentinels try to work towards mid. Taking down Trent's going to be a huge one because he has been so pivotal in being able to shut down these site takes. B is going to be the idea as Shroud prepares the stars.
That's no Nightfall for the retake too, so you're hoping that those daggers are going to refresh from side player with him landing as many shots of the Bladestorm.
Semoga gitu guys, ke marketnya bagus. Cakep.
Traded out instantly by Shroud, and that's a plant coming down now for Sentinels, and we're still far away for the rotate for the guard.
Shroud ini udah main semua. Mesti ngeplan ya.
Looks like they'll hold on the exits here, at least for now. Jonah P's movement super slow towards towers. That's the only way I would think that. But no, they're going to be entering the site. Valen at least wants these frags. Jonah's going to have to move a little bit faster if they really want to use all the utility correctly.
Happy that Tens is still alive.
Ya, flash ya.
Force Jonah P to break that trademark.
Gue kira flash keluar
sih. Give his position away. It's a 2 versus 1.
Kejar sih, save.
A switch of weapons and also a
mousepad gue pakai apa sih, Razer apa nih? Kan yang nyala-nyala apa? Oh, bukan Steel Series
Chroma.
Yes, Steel Series Chroma apa gitulah.
See if he can use it. Nice job by Sentinels there, encroaching, getting out of the site, but making sure that
apa?
They're doing it without really
having to
anak-anak
apa ya? Beda-beda sih.
Beda-beda.
Takel sih paling bagus anjir. Mousepadnya 1,6 aja.
Takel apa tuh?
Gue lupa. Pokoknya dia beli 2. Satu ya tuh dia taruh sembarangan kan. Ya ART sini kan nggak tahu. Itu mousepad apa? Dibuang.
Goblok. Serius Yan?
Serius. Bete dia itu 2 hari. Ngambek dia.
Mbaknya nggak ditegur pasti. Mbaknya pasti nggak ditegur.
Ya mau gimana? Mau nyalain mbaknya, mbaknya kan nggak tahu. Udah minta maaf kan. Ya udah bilang, udahlah, anggap aja lu buang sial. Ya.
It's going to be
Bilangnya pas kapan?
Itu GH berarti di GH isinya siapa aja?
Semua. Kalau GH ini isinya tuh semua. Termasuk gua sama coach Skip. Coachnya MPL yang dari Filipina.
Yep, yang Filipina.
Beda sama PUBG berarti ya?
Ini mana ya? Di live bilang nggak ya? Kalau gue bikin bahasa di sini nih komplek prestasi.
Oh,
Jadi yang juara pindah ke sini.
Waduh, gak ikut-ikut.
Terus ada rumah, kan rumah ini banyak kosong nih, komplek nih. Banyak yang kosong, banyak disewain. Kalau yang juara ntar dipindahin di sini, dikontrakin. Dikasih satu rumah satu tim.
Satu bentuk achievementnya lah ya.
Iya.
Apresiasi.
Gue udah bilang dari dulu ke anak-anak, ya kalau di Onyx tuh fasilitas lu ditambah kalau lu juara. Ini Valorant kayak gini satu rumah dulu dia bareng sama anak FF.
Ini mereka ngapain, Cok? Kita ngobrol gua nggak lihat, Cok. Ini kenapa apa gini?
Apa?
Lah, mereka defend. Dikasih meledak.
Ini
Saving.
Soalnya kalau mereka kalah nih, Eko kasih dulu.
5v4 goes stale on that one, but goes in favor of Sentinels, bring it within 2. Game point still for the guard. They're right there to tip this one over and get us into Icebox.
Terus tadi Shroudnya pakai ulti ya.
This is getting very interesting definitely in this matchup, and this is not as you mentioned here, one of the first times that we
Jadi ngobrol sama ngeliatin muka Syrian anjing.
as you were talking about, hey, the good old Sentinels is like,
Agak lihat gamenya gua.
flashbacks of Sentinels versus 100 Thieves and
Gara-gara komplek prestasi, Cok.
when you had 10 to take that 3K onto
Itu bahasa gua sih, bukan dari Onyx.
Sorry to bring that back to you. But now Sentinels are 2 rounds
Hei.
to force another overtime
Kemana tuh
into this
Crosshair?
game. Economy's still good for the guard, but it's quick for Sentinels.
Anjing dapper.
Dapper somehow flicks it to the kill onto Trent.
Dapper somehow flick to get that kill, anjing.
Net is trying to stay alive in the back. Nice flash coming out because Zelsis was full blinded from that. The swing out from Tens, and Net was still ready off that kill. That's off that. Guard cover coming out, and Net is holding down towards the back of the side. I can't believe this is happening. What a hole right now from Net and the rest of the guard in the back of the B side. And we are going to a third map.
Mereka kenapa anjir? Bukan udah tahu di backside, bukan majuin langsung ya?
Jam 1 mereka kalah
tidur dah sumpah.
Jam 1 kalah tembak. Guardnya. Pas game 2 trennya ngamuk. Udah.
Nah, kalau gini ini guys. Kan icebox. Ya kan? Kalau nyerang set A, kita bakal nggak tahu apa-apa dah gitu dah. Pokoknya dia bat. Si Santar lihatnya 2 tahun 2 gitu.
Apalagi mainnya di A.
Iya, mainnya di A.
Yohanes mana nak?
Sudah dibacotin?
Bilang Cok Yohanes, gua kangen.
Yohanes kan ngurus itu tuh.
Udah jadi top tim PEM WR dia.
Tim penguasa ESL Lian.
Juara di GWB sih, cuma ya MBR-nya masih tim 2.
Oh, itu bukan tim utama, Cok.
Tim 2. Nggak mungkin MBR kalahnya sebegitunya. Dan gue liat player juga beda. Ya WR ya begitu.
Apa Bro? Menguap Anda Bro? Saya juga menguap Bro.
Sebenarnya to be honest,
udah gak yakin lagi sih gue.
Nggak yakin, agak sedikit kecewa sih maksudnya. Sesuai dengan ekspektasi yang
terlalu berlebihan hype-nya.
Ya. Dengan Shroud main gitu. Bukan salah Shroud, salah guanya yang terlalu ekspektasi ketinggian guys.
Sama salah gua juga anjing, thumbnail gua Shroud anjing.
Ini pelajaran nih, kalau misalnya Super Nair balik kompetitif lu jangan terlalu ekspektasi berlebihan.
Enggak cowok, kalau Lian tetap cowok.
Gue pasti nonton anjing, kalau Lian nonton pasti.
Pasti, tapi ya takutnya kayak gini gitu.
Mau jam berapa gue tonton anjir, mau game apapun.
Oh iya.
Panutan cok.
Ini saya melihat mata mulai berair ya guys ya.
Kamu tuh anjing.
Gak bisa ngerokok nih gue nih masalahnya.
Kenapa?
Gue mesti mandi lagi kalau ngerokok.
Bini.
Oh.
Yang kemarin udah ketemu Yan, aman.
Apa?
Yang kemarin udah ketemu.
Apaan?
Yang kemarin.
Apaan? Gue sumpah nggak tahu.
Kayes.
Oh, udah.
Ya gue belum
Kan,
lihat story
oh,
lagi.
lu lihat status gue di Facebook.
Hmm.
Pelakunya tuh umur 24 tahun. Lu bayangin 24 tahun kelakuannya kayak gitu. Dia pas kan ketahuan nomor
bujangan.
Gua nggak tahu kalau itu. Kan dapat nomor teleponnya. Dapat nomor teleponnya, ditelepon. Habis itu nomornya nggak aktif lagi.
Yang nelpon Kayes.
Ada orangnya.
Oh, ada.
Apaan Cok? Emang ada apaan Cok? Kasih tau dong.
Tanya lu PUBG.
Ada sesuatu lah intinya.
Apa guys?
Ada fitnah.
Aja.
Fitnahnya
Ya,
itu
kurang lebih
bahaya gitu.
Nah, fitnah soal Kayes. Ya bener kan ya?
Apa Cok gangguin Kayes Cok?
Edit lah.
Adek gua tuh Kayes aja.
Belum aja lu di ulti Celi boy lu.
Ada kenal juga kagak, ngaku-ngaku ade anjing. Gua udah mulai gabut nih, jadi kayak pengen bebersih aja gitu.
Bacot lancip.
Mana lancip?
Tuh.
Cok. Discord sini Cip.
Gak ada niatan masuk Sentinel, gue di bawahnya Shroud kalau masuk Sentinel.
Iya, Anang masuk Sentinel juara.
Di bawahnya Shroud anjir.
Di bawah juara apa? Juara bertahan di lower bracket anjay.
Lagi pas karena Nimo nggak mas? Ya,
Lancip masih dendam anjir sama gua nih. Tumben nggak nonton di GI si Rian.
GI siapa?
Waktu tahun lalu kan ada TI. Gue bilang, Cip sini Cip di GI ada nobar TI, percaya dia. Lah emang ada Yan? Ada nih gue lagi nonton di HP gue bilang. Emosi dia.
Gila di GI. Aduh.
Ini GH Sentinel nggak diliatin Cok.
Tahu kenapa ya?
Padahal bootcampnya lumayan loh.
Iya kan pengen lihat kan.
Pengen lihat muka-mukanya
gitu
Cok.
kan.
Yang muka kena mental.
Kalah gimana?
Seru kali itu.
Anjir dari samping kayak pemeran Spider-Man Cok. Kayak Tom itu.
Bukan Tom Holland itu, ini yang Amazing. Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Pada ngomong apaan? Abi turu iya.
Moga Boom Onyx bisa grand final nanti. Cuman satu masalahnya slotnya.
Oh iya sama-sama. Enggak bis. Ya yang penting grand final dulu.
Grand final, kalau grand final kan
kalau Boom sama Onyx sama-sama grand final kan udah fix ada Indo.
Oh iya. Oh, amin.
Soalnya Boom harusnya lebih berat sih sekarang. Kita lebih berat emang, kalah sekali pulang. Kalau Boom masalahnya lawannya Bleed yang nge-ebol secret, Cok.
Iya anjir, Bleed anjir.
Tapi
saya coachnya Bleed itu loh, Bro.
Kenapa?
Legend CS anjir.
Siapa? Emang iya? Akan nggak tahu.
Siapa ya? Nggak tahu.
Ntar ya, gue lupa namanya. Gue cuma dikasih tahu si ini.
Tim apa maksud gue sebelumnya?
Ntar ya, sabar.
Bleed nggak ngotak. Iya, makanya gue bilang.
Nanti kita bikin konten guys, main sama anak-anak Onyx ajakin Cok. Ikut scrim nih.
Legija.
Oh,
itu dari tim apa? Ada nggak profilingnya?
Ada, Legija CS:GO.
Ini Cip Discord Cip. Ada botnya kenapa nggak jalan ya?
Oh iya, gue belum chat Maverick ya.
Dia dari 2013 di Mosport, 2014, 2015. Pokoknya dia zaman Mosport tuh dia kerat. Zaman 2013-2014.
Orang lama ya.
Udah hatam berarti.
Salah satu legendnya CS. Terus habis itu dia jadi coach terus tuh.
Oh, habis itu jadi coach langsung terus.
Tahu gue segitu ya.
Morning sunshine. Anjing Maverick baru bangun.
Rian gelap amat, iya. Gua emang gelap, Gun.
Ada gue, Gun.
Ada. Parah lu yang parah, nggak ngajak-ngajak Rian ke grand final lu.
Mohon maaf, saya manajer Valorant. Nggak, saya manajer Valorant dan Onyx Arc.
Kata dia, mau tiket nggak Yan? Katanya, diselipin nama lu satu tuh.
Sorry bro. Tidak ya, tim cewek gue juara pasti dapat tiket.
Tidur jam berapa nih Mas habis ini?
Imbang lah ya gitu.
Tuh mah, gue bilangin, Gon gue mau 1 tiket, Cok.
Lu ngapa masuk dari GPX anjing?
Lah, gue GPX anti pecah, Cok.
Lu aura anjing.
Ya lu kan aura, minta aja sama Iqbal.
Jangan diokein, bodoh, jangan diokein, gak usah goblok.
Iya, Cok, dia nggak dukung lu anjir, Gun. Dia dukung aura, Cok.
GPX spread anjing.
Mana anjir, gue tadi ada yang sawer GPX, gue teriakin, Cok, GPX anjing chicken juga.
Kapitalis banget ya.
Kapitalis gue.
Baru.
Kapitalis. Halo, iya halo. Benar.
Oh iya Mas, besok final kan offline, bakal ada orang kayak Miralda nggak? Oh host ya. Ada lah harusnya. Biasanya Windy kalau nggak nge-cash.
Pick.
Oh pick agent ya.
Ayolah, duelis lah. Tapi nggak usah sih.
Aduh, Tens masih pakai chamber lagi guys. Wah GPX
Brimstone.
GPX bawa talent GPX semua Cok.
Wah, kenalan Gun kalau gitu.
Bisa diatur.
Nggak pakai duelis lagi dua-duanya sekarang.
Iya, kalau di Xbox
pakai Brimstone.
Makanya gue bingung pakai Brimstone.
Anjir nggak. Oh, 2 smoker ya. Berarti mereka nggak pakai apa sage.
Daper sage tempur, Cok.
Daper emang belakang. Cuma yang gue bingung tuh Brimstone nih. Wah, keren.
Iya, nggak ada kamera sih bro ya, bikin konten ya.
Apa? Ada gua
untuk grand final.
Ada
beneran kamu ada?
Ada anjing, gua punya itu SLR gitu-gitu.
Mic-nya.
Iya, ada gua punya gituan anjir. Yang Sennheiser yang 2.600.000.
Yang bukan yang kekinian dipakai YouTuber yang kotak gitu.
Yang kotak itu. Ada gua itu.
Oh itu.
Oh itu Sennheiser.
Gua beli.
Ya udah gas. 2,3 enggak sih, enggak salah.
Ya 2, berapa dah? Ada gua anjir, gua tuh nge-vlog. Ke Bali tuh sebenarnya gua nge-vlog. Cuma ya itu kagak gua post anjing. Yang ketemu Vior, ketemu Awah, Cok.
Ya, kamarnya sebelahan ya.
Kamarnya sebelahan.
Terus nge-DM gua. Lu enak dong denger suara-suaranya kan.
Jadi kebetulan
masalahnya ada 5 lagi tuh.
Nah, jadi kebetulan gini. Kebetulan tuh kita nih kan kalau kamar-kamar terus ke belakangnya itu tamannya tuh ada poolnya. Private poolnya.
Ya.
Nah, jadi ya kalau dia di private pool ya, gue juga di private pool sebelahan aja gitu, atasnya kebuka kan.
Kalau ngintip gitu.
Gak Cok, jangan Cok, ntar hilang ini. Gak ada apa-apa guys. Aman aja.
Lu Rexan.
Nah, ngapain bro ngerekam apa lu anjay?
Iya, ada Cok. Aman aja Cok.
Oh, gua tahu pantas gak di post, bukan dia bukan ngerekam diri sendiri ya. Ini rekam yang itu sebelah.
Kirain gua Pablo udah punya anak 2 atau 3. Ternyata baru 1 kelihatan tua banget Pablo. Kagak, 1. Menjelang 1. Doain aja guys.
Oke, mati. Di wall anjing.
Anjir, mahal ya.
Kita lihat guys.
Waduh, crossfire. Oke, ini kita bakalan kayak apa? Hah? Biasanya sih gitu guys.
Itu dah flawless lagi anjir. Tapi ya aduh enggak.
In front of the orb, and that Saya player at least is not going to get the flawless
Dapurnya kena, Cok.
off for Sentinels, but we continue to trade these
Sezam kena
pistols
nih.
back and forth between
Enggak, Cok.
Sentinels and the guard so far.
Eh.
Less Saya player
Tapi nih,
pulls
tapi
out
nih.
some magic. 4 bullets left off the headhunter, make that even
Pelurunya
more.
tinggal
His
3.
position's given away on the top of the A nest. And he's just
Sayang, Cok, ganti klasik, woi. Woi. Klik kanan, Cok, klasik. Ini parah banget, Cok. Batu. Nah, buang pelor, kan? Ganti klasik ujungnya.
That's it. The frenzy from Celsius.
Batu udah bilang, Cok. Gak percaya sama gua kali.
Dapper's wall creating such a nasty choke point right there.
Iya.
That guard had to get through. As soon as
Kaget
that
itu
wall
di
was
wall,
done,
anjir,
it
langsung
broke. It
berantakan,
didn't have much
buyar.
time to solidify fully, but it became much less of an angle that
Ini Sentinel menang sih.
to bear down on to take down the guard as they piled through that.
Kita
wall.
lihat, kita
Gua penasaran
First round
aja ini
Sentinels,
Brimstone ini
it's
kepake
kinda
buat apa
this-
nanti?
This is how it's gone.
Selain
Sentinels
ulti ya.
grabbed first round, first half. Guard have grabbed second round pistol of second half. We'll see if it stays true for this game. They're keeping it consistent.
Dilempar kemana?
Pretty much unbreakable here as they throw a 0 point over to
B.
get a quick
Kena,
shot.
anjing.
Little bop there.
Yang oren-oren.
To Shroud, so they
Nggak kena.
get too much information. With Viper's
Turunnya nggak kena anjir.
sweet moves. Very
Casternya pun
articulated.
ketahuan.
I like it. I like it.
Hey,
One
dodged
way going
the-
up.
Dodged the dart.
Yeah.
To use a dance. Fight comes in now as the
Ada
rest
yang
of the
percaya
guard
lagi
are
gua
trying
ngepost
to
tadi ngetek
get
flow
some
kan.
control towards this B main, but that
Flow.
poison orb
Iya kan
Oh, yang itu.
netizen gua banyak bilang mirip Shroud kan. Gua baru tahu Flo pro player Valorant masalah baru post kan. Enggak gitu.
Jangan lebih bete.
Cara dapetin tiket PMP nanti kita bahas sore ya.
Dapat
Cok.
Ah. Hah? Phantom. Oh, dia beli
Ya,
Phantom.
kill banyak kan tadi.
Ten's been able to find a pretty great frag here, getting up onto that box and or that barrel on Snowman. You just take
Kita lihat Shroud masih di bawah ya teman-teman.
I love you sama Abi yang live tidur doang lo, Blo. Ya mau gimana guys. Tuh kalau gituin banyak juga Cok yang sakit hati, Cok. Emang Abi berapa guys? Suruh pada pindah, Cok.
Abi 400.
A and a B now.
500 sampai 400 nih.
Testing out the map,
428.
seeing what feels good.
Oh,
Not gonna slip on any black eyes.
ayo
so
guys,
getting to the site,
subscribe.
get the plant down.
Oh,
Only a few frags suffered by the side of Sentinels here, so a lot of
Ayo
saved,
mengserot
a lot of
semangat,
money there to
yoi.
work with in these next few rounds.
menang ini Sentinel serius. Kelihatan sih menurut gua.
Cewek gue udah bangun.
Ciai.
Gue bilang gue tidur loh ini. Gue bilang gue tidur ya.
Terus lo ada di live orang anjing.
Gue minta bangunin setengah 9. Tapi dia nggak ngerti PUBG. Gue minta bangunin setengah 9. Gue harus
Nggak ngerti Valo.
Nggak ngerti Valo kan? Ya streamer PUBG juga nggak tahu.
Nggak ngerti. Kalau ngerti e-sport ngerti.
MLBB dia.
Oh,
Ya gue banyak teman anak ML lumayan, Cok.
Nah, tetap cewek PUBG the best.
Yang belum gue subscribe dong.
Bukan. Rian Supernair tuh nanti ngelapor ke Ica lagi. Bukan ini Rian manajer Onyx.
Tapi Rian yang Supernair juga belum tidur, Cok.
Dia live juga.
Iya kali itu Ica juga tahu kali.
Ada.
Dapat.
Cakep dapet.
Panas. Menang bonus round lagi.
Menang, Bos. Kelihatan kan gue bilang kan. Menang ini.
Ya bisa menang.
Aduh, siapa ya fanatik booster, Cok, yang ngelepas ginian. Aduh, parah banget fatal. Yang nggak percaya sama saya siapa? Enzo.
And I feel like with the no sage, you're saving yourself from now.
Pas tayangan apa, Bro?
Lupa.
Baru-baru ini.
Yang kemarin, Master.
So they
Master.
forego that, put down more smokes to create their own angles, but still Sentinels find a way with their initiators in
Dapper
hand
dari
to
sate ya guys ya.
and make sure that defense is there. Dapper's wall has been coming
Shroud
in
masih
huge.
bertahan
It's just
K1,
the
guys.
retake tech he's been using. The places he's putting it is giving guard a hell of a time to get their positioning down.
Wah.
Seret ini cok, nggak pakai GAC cok, joki nih cok.
Ih, kaki kelihatan.
Ngakak anjing.
Lawan FPX iya kayaknya dah. Lupa guys
Ya
ya.
lawan FPX deh seingat gua. Kan fatal itu soalnya.
Fatal.
Yang semifinal ya?
Iya, bikin nggak lolos GF.
That's crazy.
Salah satu
He
faktor
pulls
lah.
out a total false at low HP.
Yeah.
Just mentioned. So
Brimstone-nya.
they're really banking on Saya player getting an opener here. And it's
Berbanyak
an off
muka.
angle from tens at yellow.
Ini dari 11.
Hold. It's like a mid hold, but look, rendezvous position that tens has is so
Dan
interesting.
bisa rendezvous lagi
The gas
kanan.
wall goes up instantly protecting the mid, so now he can just focus, but it's not quick enough. Saya player's quicker.
We wanted to know who's going to flick faster, and it's going to be Saya player indeed. It puts value into that duel
Dapat
pulse,
info.
and now we have a plant for the attack. But two players already inside this B site, a third to be met up, and look at how far we are from net. I have a feeling we got something cooked up with Pulse Plant potentially, or a late lurk. But the null command comes out from VIII on top of that too. There is that molly that lands first. And now things are looking tougher and tougher now to have Sentinels play this retake. Wall coming up.
Wah, strap.
5
4 block.
fights.
Mati.
Yeah.
Wait.
We're still trying to deny as
Kena
much as we
drift
can.
dia anjir.
Even an orbital strike. Everything's just cycled so well.
Kena drift.
Wah, kena trip.
Saya langsung ngamuk, Cok.
Drifty, Cok.
4 kill anjing saya.
Tuh. Sense. Trot masih kill
I
1 ya.
love this from the guard. We've
Tenang.
seen it come on.
Ren pun kena mental breakdown, Cok.
Playing out with walls playing out. The Viper wall so nicely placed. Because if we get a peek of it again, it goes up into the top area, right? So you're actually blocking off a lot of what people bring Omen to the table for, to get that high smoke, to get the wall down and have coverage. So great Viper wall towards B. They throw it again to keep that consistency there. So Sentinels think B is a possibility. And they've just been able to cycle the rest of the utility to keep Sentinels out of the site. That was a hell of a post. How many mollies and
Mau ketiduran, Cok.
thrown out there, right?
Iya, satu run lagi,
So
sabar.
we really see what the guard is trying to do with this composition.
Mau tiduran?
Enggak. Kelarin.
Kelarin kan?
Pass from the guard where I actually really like to see Valen going for the poison orb on top of Raptors with when they had an Omen playing in. And speaking of the Viper, it's actually net playing it all the way
Sama
towards
kayak
spawn.
Sinatra, iya.
Catches tens off guard.
Itu ada yang nggak pakai jersey dikurangin poin enggak lah. Enggak gitu.
Yang nggak pakai baju tadi anjoy.
Waduh, beda game, Bang. Beda game.
Beda, Sore kita bahas itu nanti.
They wanted that on Jenny. They wanted that to clear out where actually Dapper would be. So a bit of hesitation now for the forward push. The guard could
Jing.
have had an effectiveness.
Dari tadi guardnya mainnya tuh cepet, sekarang mainnya pelan juga. Bangsat emang nih Icebox nih.
Mana,
This
Cok?
wall
Ada
just
duelis.
dividing and decaying if they try to.
Asif ya jadinya ya, Bro.
Ya,
Mereka
iya.
kayak kira ya udah kita sama-sama
They don't
siapa
see
poin
anything.
paling
I
banyak
think
defense.
the guard's positioning here is perfect for what
Yang
Saya
setup
di
di
guard.
bagus.
Two sets
Yeah.
of gunshots. Don't know if there's a third. And that's
Dapat
just-
lagi.
Anjing Jona bisa berhenti.
Yeah. Nice little kill there from Jonah P. Gets traded out, but now you got Shroud.
Shroud ya, kita lihat guys ya.
Even
Ya,
spotted
setidaknya
by
Apakah
the
Shroud
Kraken.
make a moment?
Feel the full force of that slow field and picks up a vandal.
Wah, dia pakai
Trying to
vandal
save
kayak
it
gua,
for the
guys.
next round. Great
Bilangin
patience by the
Zem,
guard
Cok,
too.
udah lu nggak bisa nembak. Seven.
Nicely done. A few of the things, like I said, the molly didn't go their way, but still.
Lu bisa,
the guard
Cok.
found the
Lu itu
patience.
kemarin di kompe
And as I
anjoy,
said,
bukan
I
di
think one of the
turnamen.
big things there was with that wall up, the guard were anticipating.
Udah balik-balik
the
sep-sep.
longer
Iya
you
deh,
wait,
iya deh katanya.
maybe Sentinels will make a play since they have a pusher on the map and they're kind of trying to read it. Right when that
Ini match
flash
rasa
goes
berat ini,
through,
guys.
they read that Sentinels would
Offline-nya
back through
biasanya
their wall and
Main
guard
event
did such a nice job at then
Ini kan untuk yang ke Champions.
retreating Sentinels and
Oke,
take the
September.
site. So super methodical
September
there
ya,
by the
Yan?
guard reading out how Sen wanted to
September.
play defense.
Pokoknya
Like you said, we do
sebenarnya
have a
habis
vandal save
kalian yang
here.
ini kan LCQ
Guard,
beres tuh.
go ahead and
Nanti
take
akhir
another
Agustus
round.
dukung lagi
Operator for
Indonesia.
side
Tapi
Hmm.
beda player,
That the guard
dukungnya
has
Alter
for
Ego
Sentinels.
Celeste.
4 players
Soalnya
versus 1.
Game Changer tuh ada
Pockets
wordnya.
for Biden. Like,
Wordnya
yeah,
kan di
that's
Berlin.
Oh, ada ya?
offline.
All of our
Offline di
initiator utilities
Berlin.
to clear out towards the back A side and
Di
just
Apak
hold
cuma
there,
diambil
'cause
satu.
you're playing against
Champion di
Shroud
mana?
that could do the
Champion tuh
aim
di
battle
Turki.
duel against
Turki.
you against, from
Oh,
Garage.
Istanbul ya.
It's not gonna- it's
Gue
not
tadi
gonna
salah
pan out, at least
ngomong.
for
Gue
Shroud.
yang
Needs
ingetnya
some
itu
econ damage
ternyata
before
yang
the
cewek
guard
yang di
needs
Berlin
to
ya.
get the round as
Cewek
well.
yang Berlin.
One round away
Tuh
on
sih
Garage.
masalahnya
Putting right now once
gila
again
sih.
Sentinels
Ada
into an
wordsnya
eco
terus
position
offline
where
Berlin.
Shroud could
Ladiesnya ya?
Iya, yang Celeste kan yang
Celeste kuat
OP
lagi.
banget tuh. Anjing.
Yes.
Ratu Apak, Cok.
Pokoknya di Apak tuh 3. Cuma 2 saya nggak Celeste. Extend sama SMG. Marang. Cuma itu doang.
We still see the
Harusnya sih.
Itu di mana?
and the things that teams may still be trying to do to each other to get that upper hand.
Mulai gelisah gua nih.
Destroyed in mid, and now a patient push. Possibly 2 members in a kind of anti-flash crossfire. You see here it was Elsis and Dapper as they just keep check on a position in the iPad and moving forward.
Boom.
Overhand throw though, but
Dapat lagi.
held with the crossfire by Sentinels, but the weapons weren't enough. Little pistols that
Iya,
Tiga sama.
that little
Kan,
flash peek
terus
under
disuruh
the
save
voice
lagi
bomb
nih.
was just good
Yeah.
enough for the
Suruh
guards.
saving kah?
Things are looking good.
Itu.
Maybe Shroud going for another
Save
save
lagi
or
ya.
this
Kalau
time
bisa
can
bawain
actually
senjata
look
gua
for
nih.
recon damage if he wants to.
They've
Aduh,
been loving
seret
V
gitu ya
here.
mainnya.
Great job by guard to actually
Save
shut
lagi.
down
Kok
what was
kan
kind of
segitu sih
anti-eco.
ngambil
Not
angle-nya?
anti-eco, but an eco
Nggak
strap,
main lagi
rather.
cerot
From the side of Sentinels setting up
Ah,
to
asli.
affect guard in mid. to
Slot
have
ngisi
those
slot
numbers
doang
there.
kok ini, Cok.
So really well played around each other.
Tuh,
Guard
kasihan
having a
banget,
set
Cok.
play in mind and being able to execute that.
Salah
and using
lawan.
that on this one in another plant at B. Again. Sentinels fall. Every game has been so close.
Oh, ayolah,
This
Cok.
has been an incredible series so far. Going
Mantap,
with
guys.
3-3 on this one, top left of your screen.
Gua bukannya apa nih guys ya, tanpa mengurangi rasa hormat, tapi gamenya boring.
Both teams
Nggak ada
being
yang
able
bikin
to take
melek,
their
Cok.
map pick. We'll see what Icebox brings us now.
Gua
as we
kasihan
get
sama si
to round
Shroud.
7 here. Ultimate's about to come online. We're just a few away from being on deck for the side of the
Aduh.
Kayak
guard.
gini
Shazam and
doang
Celsius
mendingan Pablo.
are ready. Null command ready to shut down around here.
Lebih, aduh.
Mohon mohon
It's
touch
actually
kalau
going to
Pablo,
play in the
Cok.
middle. They've run out. They may not be where they're
Time out dia,
set
guys.
to be, but Celsius looks
Ntar
like he will be
lu
a full
kill
lean,
1, si Trend udah kill
towards
1
B
dong.
array this game to get that
Oh,
ball
iya,
in
iya.
place when necessary. They won't commit him just yet.
Bottom
Time
lagi.
to call a timeout.
Lagi
How
bottom
the
lagi nih.
results, what they've been
Ih,
seeing,
bottom lagi,
recap
Cok.
what the guard has been doing. They've noticed the favoritism towards
Kill
B
ke-
most likely. And a lot of the times they've been
Kill
waiting
to-
out Sentinel's strategies. So that could be another one if
Bang.
Sentinels tells themselves, okay, if we execute and make noise, be then even more prepared.
Nonton Perex ya, balik lagi, guys.
Itu
Itu nggak bisa dipungkirin sih, iya, tapi nggak semua tim bisa main kayak gitu.
A lot of talks going on here, so Sen can get the game back in their favor.
This is a comp that's
Tapi
used
kalau
quite
yang suka
often
mikir,
that Sentinels is currently using. So
disukain.
thinking of where the position could be.
Nih
Yeah,
short PUBG kan ya.
set on defense, okay,
Apakah
so
Shroud sama dengan Gedegate
there,
Sky,
or
bro?
how
Wah,
to run
anjing.
that denial
Bagusan
from
Sky,
Viper,
anjing.
Viper snake bites the
LS
poisoner towards
player
B,
BH.
and the guard has been doing a really good job of just
Coret.
Sentinel kenapa nggak pakai duelist? Di Icebox ini emang udah jarang duelist sih.
Kenapa?
Nggak tahu. Kayaknya udah mending fight di site aja gitu.
Kan
Apa?
Jet itu kan kalau di Xbox nih, kalau mau masuk A pasti lewat atas kan, nggak mungkin lewat bawah dong.
Saya player with
Dan
the
itu
operator. He wants to
dan
bring out
itu
the trouble.
langkah-langkahnya cuma dikit, jadi kayak udah pada kebaca gitu. Jet tuh mau kemana?
Nggak
Di
banyak
B,
variatifnya lah ya.
Kalau di B cuma kayak nggak ada variatif. Kalau di B cuma itu doang, satu arah doang, set, udah gitu doang.
Shroud nggak ngeke.
Kayak pada gamblingnya di defend rata-rata.
Shroud nggak ngeke beneran kan?
Ah, siapa sih nama asli Shroud? Gue lupa.
Mark, siapa tadi ya?
Michael Grazier.
Michael nggak? Mark.
Aduh, bukan Michael Winata ya.
Yeah, this is
Beda.
an incredibly uncharacteristic round. The push seemed a little disjointed there. The
Bentar,
coverage for B long is a little harder to do because you saw Shroud was covering the left side if they came around elbow and then a garage play, so it's hard to cover the 1v1s
Beda pasti statsnya.
play out as they do. And actually we see the guard doing
Tapi skin
really
champion
nice,
kayaknya keren.
kind of playing solo 1v1 plays, bringing out the star power and not
Apa,
needing
Cok?
each other as they did in
Press
on
Skin-
Breeze, right?
skin
Those
champion
Breeze
itu
firefights were
sesuai
going
juaranya
away
kan
from
ya?
Sentinels. It just took a bit
Ya
of time
tahun
for
ini
guard
ya.
to
Tapi
wipe
yang
out
lebih
the
enak
Cowboys.
tuh Nang
Still,
tahun
the
lalu.
operator's gonna be in
Semua
play.
tim yang masuk champion
300
Dapat kan?
dapat
Iya,
bagi
tahu
hasil
gua.
dari
rounds
itu.
together, so it's
Dan
gonna
itu
be
minimal
max buy for
500.000
Sen,
dolar
but
aja.
they will not
Kayak si CS waktu itu kan.
buy this next round. Joan,
Iya.
and that one
Hmm.
on Celsius.
Lu masuk champion
4 to
aja
3
setengah
is
juta
guard
dolar,
full
Cok.
away by
Mm-mm.
Itu udah kasarnya lu juara PMGC berapa sih?
Empat
jangan deh.
jut.
Aneh, jangan bahas.
Makan HP lagi Pablo nih guys.
It's in the wing.
Two players, you still had
Harus nyemil cok, kalau nggak ketiduran, sumpah.
unorthodox for where Tens was at because
$500.000 itu.
initiator.
Ya,
Trent
lu juara MPL berapa kali lah itu kan.
Anyways, so this could have been one of those great moments to catch one off guard and we talked about it. I mean, Trent's ready to play in the series.
Anjing nggak bisa dihancurin.
Double 0 point towards B.
Ini siapa sih yang nyuruh Shroud balik
Ships in the
kompe?
night as they cross up in the air. Push
Ada yang
up.
marah.
Oh, the play. Celsius.
Oh.
Maybe not enough. A 1-for-1. Hot coming up.
Wah, gila.
Dapat.
Itu cok, tim beaconnya di zipline kenceng banget cok.
Di zipline-nya kenceng anjing.
Kurang tahu. Kan sudah ngomong sama kayak dia. Iya. Welcome to my world.
Hey, duitmu banyak, jangan saving woi.
Close to impossible two marshals in a classic.
360 marshals, if you will. Oh no, he dropped one. No, he only much less chance to get one. Great round by the guard here to get back in, to smother, to know that the upper hand. It's a quick find by Trent there. As Shazam runs through, just pressing the W key here as they look to pick up the last few kills on the round. Spike's going to be going down towards this one. Good damage though by Shazam, actually really credited there to be able to do some work on the econ. But look at that, 9 grand in the hands. A Saya player feeling good. Operator still there. The guard starting to take control here. It has seemed like the Sentinels had more of the groove throughout a lot of this series overall. With as close as the games have been, I feel it's weighed towards them in the way they played. The strength.
Ame lagi nonton, nah semangat cok, mesti nge-cash nih gue nih. Jadi sini kita lihat guys ya.
Playing strong. Operator versus operator now. Tens is gonna have that one out.
Apa yang dilihat anjing?
Apa lagi? Ronde mau mulai cok. Ini kita lihat. Besok kunci Shroud di kamar mandi. Nggak dong. Udah gue udah yakin tadi Sentinel menang cok. Ujungnya kayak gini sih.
Sama.
A Brimstone on the defense, but what I also like is having this Brimstone in the attack allows this post-plan lineup that you lose from shock darts from Silva that you're not.
Ini enak sih, dia ada smoker sih buat masuk pakai brim. Guardnya cok. Karena dia tahu gitu. Sentinel pasti bakal pick agent kayak begini.
Iya.
Menurut gua kebaca ya, menurut gua.
Terus Brimstone-nya pokoknya kan 3 ya.
Buat ngeras pakai George itunya aja, cok. Terus satu.
Itu Shroud minta di revive kan. Cok bangunin gue cok.
Batem cok, nggak usah, nggak guna cok.
And look at this retake by the guard. They're able to come in from almost every spot they want to try and find the flank, but are they too far away now? Oh, Valen says no!
Who cares when Valen gets these kills like that?
Valin.
Incredible by Valen. With the distance the rest of the team was there, that actually could have been real scary for the side of the guard. Valen, absolute out of his mind play. Out of his mind play to get that turn as well on the flash. 1-2 control for distance as well, right? A distance transfer which
itu nggak buta ya guys, jadi cuma ngebling doang, teng gitu dikit aja cok.
Aduh, sedih banget gue liat kill KDA-nya.
What a round by Valen, he does it again. And like you said, all of guard coming online. The Vandal as well to boot, like you said. Pretty sure we just saw that ZC's pop off and go backwards.
Wah, akhirnya kill 2 cok.
Still gonna be an A round here for the guard. They're just feeling it. They're vibing.
Dia mainin steam beaconnya gitu loh buat ngeras cepet ya cok.
Iya. Itu makanya itu ternyata gue.
Oh, saya Liga di Indo Mas Anang bakal datang ke sini. Nanti PUBG lagi sebentar. Lagi cok.
Itu jepit loh itu.
Shroud
kill 3 cok.
Aduh, Tens juga sabun aja nge-wave.
onto the kill. Things were looking pretty good on the lower part that we had for Sentinels, but we flattened things out on the momentum that was built on Sentinels' first kills.
Dapat itu.
Dapat.
Lagi nggak sih? And Shazam gets to connect onto Trent.
Tapi nggak ada senjata Shazamnya.
It's a 1 versus 2. Low HP onto Net. Unfortunately, cannot capitalize onto the kill. As Shazam almost caught him off guard. Picking up Elisa Phantom on a 2 versus 1.
Mati udah diputerin dong.
And Webb is sandwiching him towards the front. Does have the Phantom for the pre-fired shot. Back onto the top. Drops down to make the other tap. And the swing comes in from behind for the backstab. And that is going to be the guard able to win that round. That was expensive. At least
tadi marahin sama
your McGregor. Incredible stuff. You can see just how tight it got because there was definitely a call to Shazam.
Wah, mulai banyak slot ini, Cok.
Net was one shot. You could see he was peeking unless it was going to be the last
menang nih,
thing
4-7 sumpah.
And it was going up to Saya player to take their first shot. So really nicely played out there by the guard in a situation Shazam was absolutely hunting for.
Gue belum nggak sesuai ekspektasi. Iya guys, Musret silakan guys. Gue juga nggak sesuai ekspektasi soalnya.
We could be seeing if Sentinels cannot bring this back to 7-5.
Wow, that was a quick orbital strike towards the A site. But we're still able to just stay alive right now from Shroud's Viper's pit to go back in there to reset the.
Masih ada lower ini, masih ada lower.
But for the rest of the guard, everything stays slow. After this timeout, you can see it's just let's try to isolate and get some information. This is off Sage walls from Dapper on the B site. We didn't really have too much of a Sage Viper combo on either side of the maps, right? Usually when you're seeing a little bit of information, the slow orbs could help to slow things down here on the attack. But guard, they have full control right now every time that they're running these defaults.
It's interesting to see the style of play that Tens is having.
Di sini tampak mata mulai menjadi makin turun ya guys ya.
A lot of sight defensive rendezvous plays. He's still getting kills in sight. It hasn't tried to be too aggressive, and he's keeping himself alive to play more with the team here. Double smoke going down, so they go through mid.
Masuk tabrak langsung pakai itu tuh, Lian tuh. Tim beacon, Cok.
Tim beacon langsung masuk.
0 points spotted all 3 players. So rotates coming out. Tens wins the fight for the lurk on B main, so that's huge. Now we're playing all the way towards the back. The underhand throw on the top of 410.
Gila loh, mereka berani loh masuk ke smoke-nya.
0 point coming on the other end.
Kira circle patch.
Ya
keliling.
Wih anjing.
Defuse dulu. Defuse dulu. Ayo, throat kill 6. Sudah.
Yeah, really nicely done.
Kill menang, Cok.
Iya,
woi, Shroud gak bot frag, Cok.
Gak bot frag.
Yang bot frag.
Kan suruh bucin, Cok.
Kan kebanyakan bucin anjay.
We see guard trying to open up mid, trying to disperse the middle of the map and be right in the middle of Sentinel's composition.
Kayaknya masih goyang.
Di Indonesia gitu, guys. Shroud bucin aja kok.
Seems like Sentinel's getting aware of that now.
Yuk bisa yuk 5-7 yuk kayak tadi match 1 yuk.
Obviously Viper's Space is going to give you a pretty king of the hill aspect on A once they realize they walked into it. But yeah, nicely played. Trying to bring back that 7-5 and keep it as close as possible for Sentinels. Operators just on the other side of these walls.
Siapa juga mas cowok yang gak bakal banyak bucin cowoknya kayak ceweknya kayak deh. Iya lagi.
Iya makanya.
Maybe not.
Nyalain orang bucin. Terjomblo.
Mati
nih Tens.
Dapat ini, Cok.
Mati. Kelihatan.
Posisi nggak enak nggak sih itu?
Ya itu posisi Rizky kalau dapat cuan dia bisa teleport. Udah ulti bro.
Everybody down towards B for now. Only site is going to be the rendezvous Saya player. 0 point fine, so that actually nixes his rendezvous for now. It's going to take a little bit of time, and that's the game. Pressure here.
Miss.
A missed shot.
Missed shot. Molly coming out once again. The annoying Molly from that brimstone. Now that's going to run that clock down. We got to try to push quickly.
Jadi ada 2 Molly kan buat
nice little jiggle.
Wah, ke defuse.
Now we're sticking onto that spike. We're picking up. Dapper seeing it so far. We're trying to break the wall. He gets the third kill. We get the defuse.
Gua bilang juga ke defuse.
Posisi kepalanya ke dinding anjir.
Dinding. Ngebak, Cok.
You got to save him while he defuses. Holy crap.
Gue baru tahu juga bro dia pakai Brimblow.
Iya.
Molinya ada 3 anjir, Viper, Kayo
sama iya.
Jadi buat ngelempar ke
bom terus.
Najis juga ya.
It's enough. They get the defuse. They bring it to 7-5.
Udah 5-7. Oke lah. There's still a chance, bro.
Let's take a quick breather
Oke lah. Tapi sekarang Sentinel yang defend nih.
Pablo mulutnya doa bet. Makanya guys, rajin-rajin lah nyawer gua. Nanti gua doain kalian sehat-sehat, Cok. Kapan lagi? Tuh, taruh dulu lah sama Kiara nih. Tuh.
Anjing, taruh dulu Kiara.
Taruh dulu Kiara. Tuh. Tapi terbukti serius sumpah yang nyawer-nyawer gua tuh lama-lama hilang, Cok, dari dunia streaming.
Mati.
Enggak, pada sukses, jadi udah pada nggak mau nonton-nonton lagi.
Pada lupa sama lu ya.
Nggak ada waktu nonton lagi.
Nggak ada waktu nonton lagi.
Kira ada lewat.
Jangan dong.
Sehat selalu.
Aduh nggak ada cengkrik. Sepi nih anjing, ngantuk nih.
Piala Dunia bulan apa sih belum?
November ya. Nonton, Cok. Lu masih numpang kan?
Pas.
Tapi ngetek dulu ya.
Ntar dulu, November. Tidak, 17 Agustus. Temu gua dulu dah, ntar gua cerita dah.
Ya udah.
Banyak yang ya sebenarnya.
Setelah ya diobrolin ya.
Tunggu tanggal 17 dulu baru gua berani. Soalnya takut gua
Belum final ya itunya ya.
Kuatan landak. Kekuatan Mobile Legends.
The power of. At least nyalain lah itu Yan. Ampu gitu.
Kok lu tahu?
Hah?
Kok lu tahu? Lain itu.
Apa?
Ya bisa lah tipis-tipis gua mah info masuk-masuk aja gitu kan, gua juga raja gosip ya, cuma pura-pura di sini kayak gitu-gitulah. Anang, Cok.
Apa anjing? Ngomongin apa,
Pasti
Cok?
dapat dari Lian.
Apa? Jangan sebut nama itu ya.
Jangan sebut nama.
Jangan sebut nama itu.
Kayak Voldemort anjing.
Apa, Cok? Ngomongin apa, Cok?
Ya game ini.
Yang tadi belum.
Buat tahun depan.
Yang tadi belum.
Bukan. Game ini. Bagus, Cok.
Gitu kayak comeback gitu, Sentinelnya jadi melek anjir.
Iya anjing. Main. Gua ini nonton pagi-pagi bangun buat lu.
QR code lu belum.
Sorry. Udah ditaruh nggak ada yang nyawer juga lagi, anjoy.
Masih pagi, bro. Masih pagi.
Buat beli McD guys, lapar guys nih guys.
Halo Alkin.
Playing it patient. Drone actually commits quite a bit. Your opponents hear drone.
Tuh, nih, tapi Sentinel juga susah masuk. Lupa nih.
Susah masuk.
Ini entry-nya sulit, kita lihat guys ya.
Itu makanya dia taking side. Brimstone mereka apa? The Guard punya 2 smoke.
Lihat nih 3. Cuk anak etik.
Walk it up until you see contact, and that's the contact they were looking for. Wall goes up to the left side, and Sentinels will try to get this plant down.
Ayo, ngapain lu berdua?
Tapi tense dapet ya.
Trotnya dapat kill lagi.
Nah, bingung kan lu pada nonton apa kan? Lah sama, Cok.
Ayo.
Dari 2 mau dibokong tiba-tiba balik.
Dapat.
Tens 3. Nah ini tens panas dong, let's go. Tens 3 kill.
Tapi nggak bot frag.
Zelsisnya yang jelek malah. Sama kayak ini trennya.
Tapi Dapper berarti yang paling stabil ya.
Dapper game 1 kurang.
Hah?
Game 1 nggak kurang banget.
Game 1 biasa aja. Game 2 gila. Tapi emang
right? So we might see that again. And then it's mostly this kind of walk-up contact strategy that they've been playing. Early round absorption of the utility from guard, and
Lah,
then they get into the face finding you.
Backtrack cok, ranin kan cok, gas, udah.
Here, it's a bit of a sit back line of scrimmage from both teams where guard has taken a
Pistol
position
run
mid.
mereka sering.
In that position in mid is spotting Tens. Is going to be the anchor, trying to find, basically being a killjoy turret.
Tens nggak belanja.
Hoping to get some headshots with that headhunter, and that's 4 players looking to go through.
Hari terakhirnya itu hari apa ya? LCQ?
Berapa ya? 17 ya? 17 ya? 16 ya? Besok ya?
Wah, aman. Kelar PMPL berarti ya.
Ah, berapa sih? LCQ.
What else would we expect? And look, that kind of denies the chance if you
Enggak,
get the
tanggal.
volleys in
Nah, besok kan?
left side, but
Tanggal
still
7,
instantly
hari
clear.
Minggu besok.
Oh sama cok. Oh tapi sebelum PMPL bisa.
Itu slot pengorbanan ya guys ya.
Jam 4.
Welcome to Valorant, Shroud. If you're going to be the designated spike planner, you might get into those. Celsius though, headshot onto Valent, player advantage. Actually, it's even up. As we have snake bites, shock darts coming down.
Dapat lagi nih.
And there you go. Sentinels across the board. Saya player by himself.
Itu pengorbanannya Shroud cok.
3 players now spotted. And that's now 7-7.
Abi bangunin bro, Abi bangunin bro. Buset dah bang. Lagi tidur.
Orang baru tidur setengah jam.
Really nicely done on the retake there. Making sure that guard could not encroach enough to get
Biarin aja dulu.
defused. Or the spike defused.
Yang ntar bangun bareng dia sama gua nemenin main Crypto Blade.
Go on to their bonus here. What will they be able to purchase? They do get a Vandal for Shazam. He's been watching the flank mostly if we continue consider what he's been doing from map to map. So you'll have that kind of watching the backside and being able to
77 anjoy.
that may have taken damage.
Melek cok, let's go.
Big here. An A hit looks like it will be.
Seruput kopimu guys.
It's going to be cleared out. There's the dart for Maze.
Oh temen anjing.
An interesting Viper's wall. It's kind of deep to the right here. Would allow a lot of space being given for guard to come back through screens, but we do also see this Sage wall continuously being used by Dapper in peculiar positions to cut off a lot of angles. Last one.
Terus dia dikepung itu.
Oh, but the repel not clear on the right. At least it gets traded out. Shroud coming out with the Spectre. Side player
baru di pub ceweknya.
This still is an advantage right now for Sentinels to potentially get a plant in, but it still gets slowed down by Net's poison orb on the right side.
Rotate kah mereka?
Foils out the plan because the toxic screen's coming down, and now you just got to wait it out until the next cycle.
Gotta love this. Good luck seeing through this. 18 seconds to click down. About 40 seconds, I think those will be gone based on when they're fired off. A nice 0 point again to kind of reset the knowledge of the round and where it might be. Seeing Shazam was a big one. Like I said before, knowing where that Sova is with that initiator find utility is actually quite big. And they have a sonar dart.
Still do the same execution now. Wall up, recon dart, 0 point. There you go. Now we've committed into the hit. Flash coming out
banyak terus, Cok.
coming out to deny again if you can. And now you're forcing a little bit of a tunnel to try to get into the site to plant. There's only 14 seconds left.
Waktu. Wah.
Jonah pushing forward through this wall. The third kill then on the
Wah,
with a 4K.
No way!
Kelamaan main.
Absolutely
Mereka
incredible
lupa ada
play
3
from Jonah
molly,
P.
Cok.
Been a little quiet. We talked about the first bloods between him and Saya player. And this time, he steps up huge, playing in the mind of Sentinels. And the moment they all turn to press W and go forward is the moment he preys on the backs. Oh my God, what a big play. Absolutely needed here. And really a statement play to break what was a tie game so far. That's the kind of round you want to just start to separate with. Sentinels still on high here. Light armor, though. For some members that could make those duels go in the favor of the guard. We're going to start off a little bit of B pressure, but the push is there from the guard.
Even a 0 point. Spotted a couple of players too, so it's going to be down to the basics. The fundamentals with the rifles as the wall's about to come down, and as it comes down, Shazam actually spots Saya player, and the second kill cannot be traded. Jonah P falls as well, and it's finally going to be one of those rounds where the guard gave that to Sentinels. Get into a side on an early 5 versus 3, it's Sentinels' turn to do that.
Boleh begitu ya?
Plant the spike.
Oh, dalam.
Oh, they
ngambil dalam deh.
Wah, gila sih
on
itu.
the edge of that damage. Oh my gosh.
Unlucky.
Shroud getting tagged just a little bit. Spike
Mati, Shroud.
has been planted, and now to find it instant eyes. That makes it maybe harder to get the diffuser once they're pinched in there. if we can get the defense from guard to step forward.
Well, especially after that.
Nah, ini nih susahnya.
Now we're tapping on to
Iya yang dapat keuntungan
ke defuse kan. Dapat nice.
Untung dapet anjing.
Itu dikit lagi.
Dikit lagi, Cok. Save.
Kirain kena karma yang tadi.
You have to be kidding me. If it can happen in this series, it's
yang nggak subator malah nggak turu. Iya cowok nonton. Kenapa ya cowok?
So scared that was going to happen, and it looked like such a clever play from the guard. Trent just squeaking in enough to get the defuse. But Sentinels wanted just a bit more as they smother that spike with gunfire. 8-8 here. Even with a statement round, Sentinels are able to pull it back into a tie game. Full utility both sides. I'm trying to see if that's what the priority is, because the buys won't be the same. It does look like they
serat bottom frag lagi.
Themselves forward, trademark.
Kembali ke setelan pabrik.
Being decided here on the side of guard. Looks like they'll hold on to it now for saving every single penny. This could be an alt orb to tour de force if they get B control.
Well, now we got the Pac-Man ult.
Oh dear.
Anjing Pac-Man ult juga ya.
A little bit of what Tens did, and it works out. But we already have players on the other end of that wall trying to go for the
langsung nabrak?
We don't have Shroud up with
Iya,
the
Cok. Ngegas langsung main cepet anjir.
Ini Sentinel main cepet langsung nih.
Iya.
Udah dibilang anjir nih daripada kalah juga adu aim bos.
Adu aim aja cowok.
Mereka nge-plan di situ terus sih. Ngeri anjir plan di situ.
Dapet.
What the fuck anjir?
Wih anjing dapet goblok.
Replay.
Itu wallbang loh.
Wallbang ya wallbang.
Anjir.
He did it on the Jenny, on Ascent. We saw some on Breeze. Oh my word. His ability to get that kind of
Enaknya jadi cuma mainin badan doang, crosshair-nya nggak gerak, Cok.
Starting of his strafe to shooting is incredible. Like,
Dar.
Multiple times. It's really hard to defend against that or play against that, and that's why we see 17 and 12.
Wah, saya player paling atas, Cok, 16-12.
Sentinels have always played it unconventional.
Juga nobar on. Belum tahu kalau itu Pablo ya pasti.
It was sick.
Kali harusnya sih nobar.
Belum pempel katanya.
Harusnya guys ya.
Yang kalian nggak mungkin nobar itu Blitz lawan Boom.
Ya nggak bisa.
Still super close on our final map.
Di channel Abi bocil-bocil berangkat sekolah pada muncul, iya kah?
Banyak kah? Orang baru bangun Cok.
Banyak kah?
Banyak.
Kaget gitu kan lah. Live tidur.
Wah, hancur Sentinel ini. Gak ketahuan lagi nih.
Udah play dulu biar dapat duit. Nah, bapalah kalah habis ini. Main duit,
Gue paling gak bisa sih kanan.
Ini dapur bukan DPR, bukan anjay beda.
Enti.
9-9 guys ya.
The choices right now by the guard. I mean, we saw how post-plant the guard was able to play, right? Mollies after mollies,
Itu nggak subatan sekalian aja.
being able to push the opposing team off.
Ngaco.
And then we see Jonah P here microwaving an open space. As soon as they
Gue
go
yang
under
belum.
tube, he hits Sentinels. Right?
Anang dulu lah.
Decisions right now from the guard are
lucu ya waktu Pablo 1 jam terakhir ya ditambah ya. Gak jadi 1 jam ya.
Terus apa? Habis Pablo Subaton dilarang di Nimo habis itu anjing. Bangsa.
Iyalah orang penghasilannya setengahnya ke ini.
Jangan masalahnya iya ke Saweria kan, bukan ke Diamond. Kalau dia ada fitur buat kayak gitu mah.
Wah ada yang ke Diamond ya, tapi setengah gitu loh. Jadi kayak setengah ke
Saweria.
Saweria.
Lu nambahinnya kan kalau lagi bangun.
Itu manual kan?
Manual ya namanya. Dicatetin anjing. Ada yang nyatetin, Cok.
Oh ya ada history juga sih ya.
Bang tambah 50 menit. Nah, Bang tambah segini.
Ya anjir.
Sedih kan, gue liat Pablo.
Overtime ini sampai 17 kayak Onyx Boom. Let's go, kita lihat guys.
Gue malam lihat Pablo, siang masih ada, malam masih ada. Kok jamnya nggak kurang-kurang gue lihat.
Tahan.
Itu HR lu Subatan dapat berapa tuh?
Ya gitu-gitu aja lah.
Tapi kan kebeli kan. VGA kan.
Beli cowok PC nih. Sampai sekarang menemani bro. Terima kasih teman-teman. Karena kalian aku bertambah jago guys.
Gak dapet loh.
Nggak dapet.
So you know he'll take another shot. He'll be up for another one.
29 nih.
Contact round so far. Drone will go out first. A lot of times anybody can reposition.
Ya Robot 17 juta. Aduh. Dapernya yang kena lagi.
Sentinel so much control inside the site is gone. To see if they can organize and get themselves in here. Tour de Force and Vandals to make it happen.
Look at that. We actually have a lot of ultimates just to get position.
Shroud nggak boleh mati sih.
We have a Nightfall ready as well. Or Trent for the retake, and it comes out right away as soon as they hear the tap. And here comes the Hunt inside as well. Prowlers to come out to help out to flush out the
bingung banget cuy.
And now Shroud has
Iya kan?
left and right, and it's
Anjir,
gonna
belok
be
kiri
to
belok
drop
kanan
the
kan
Viper's
udah
bit,
dijagain.
drop the spike
Kayak
carrier
bingung
as
gitu ya?
well, and it's 10s on a 3 versus 1.
Kan udah dijagain.
Kanan udah dijagain, maksudnya dia lihat kiri aja udah.
Getting ready for the double swing. 10s with the first kill, but Net comes back from the generator for the trade, and that's the guard back in the lead, 10-9.
Dapat lagi OP ya.
He is stepping up so big right now. The rest
Kelihatan tuh, bingung tuh.
with him, but the frags he has been able to change.
Wah, salam dari Amerika. Halo, Amerika.
Drawing the last shot as well.
Mantap.
Tens going down.
Berapa sana
to your teammate, right? Never forget who passed
12 jam.
And a lot of those are going to the Brim right now. As you see 8 on the board for Jonah P. 10-9. They continue to change leads, Vansili. Literally our last map. And they cannot hold it for more than one round. Can Sentinels again come back? It's a low buy this time. It's starting to be that taxing. And Shazam down to 1 HP to start. What? There's a heal. Okay, there's a heal. He's getting the sponge bath. We're good.
And thankfully, Dapper also has a res if anything does go foul.
Just go and get taken out. Oh my word. All right, let's see how they play this, Vance. Sonar Bolt is out. It's a 2-2-1 with a kind of a lean towards 3 for the guard. So they do have a bit of positioning here to retaliate. But I wonder what this duo team on Sentinel is doing over at A and what they can provide.
That's Jonah P that broke the dart to allow Sio players still keep a forward position towards yellow. Now with the 0 point, there's no TP. He TP's just before, actually. The 0 point pings out.
Welcome to my world.
Gives up his position, and that Sentinel's leading back towards the A site.
Remember, Sonar Bolt was fired quite a while ago, so this timing puts
Here,
Shazam back in A just about when that's coming
Bisa
back
nih.
up.
Wall langsung.
They showed KO util and Shazam's util. There's the dart. There's the entry.
Wall up 2. Shroud's gonna plant it safe. Fragment onto the ground, and Shroud makes it out unscathed. But now at least the guard knows that it's not positioned in.
Harusnya tahan nih.
Ya, Sentinelnya belum cetak,
Cok.
Udah.
Can Jonah P make it around in time? He's still trying to decide what the flank is. Oh, Shazam does go down. They know that's the flank watch, but will they know there's one more lurking?
Jonah P's gonna dip right now.
Mati lah. Dapper bisa revive.
Has been a hero for the team so far. Is just trying to hold back towards 410.
Dapat satu lagi revive lah.
Like I said, it's not.
Oh alamak, Dapper gila cok.
Salah plan ya.
Allowing for this diffuse to go down.
Gak dapet di tembak dari jauh. Masuk ke dalam.
Match point ini. Mereka pasti Icue aja.
They finally separate the rounds just a little bit from going back and forth, punch and punch. And Jonah P again, it looked like a frag on Shazam, but it's a pivotal frag. It's one that Shroud had to worry about whether that flank was still coming in and could not assist the team, right? So guard, take control of the map.
Gila ya dia force by kah?
But give it up.
Kalau kalah mah, kalau kalah round ini sih udah
goodbye.
Through, like you said, spawn side and retake the round. A low buy again. Guardian's coming out, and Sentinel's trying to Guardian this right now. Their first game back with this roster. They look to come out strong. There is so much power on this team, but the guard may have the final read here in the last few rounds. Vansili, it's getting close to game point.
Getting a lot of reads here from the 0 point.
Kayaknya kalah nih.
From the Prowlers
Kayaknya sih boleh.
and just heroic rifling from every single one of these players across the board.
It's
on this very
wild.
map. It's insane how they look so far for the guard, but you're not out of it yet right now for Sentinels. They still have that firepower for this roster. It stays really, really slow. After they got pinged out here with by the 0 point, you're still just going to try to hold as much as you can. The Owl try to clear out just a bit, maybe try to sell a double fake, a double pump back into B. It seems to be the case.
Such a neat wall too. We've seen this from Net. Allows him to play mid. Right? If he wants to put that wall up, he can go through mid. He can go to tube. He won't be seen from attacker spawn. The case is though, it is going to be a death ball to beat for Sentinels here. No command comes out. W keys press. Sentinels looking to close this gap.
You want this because this allows the wall to come up and potentially get the plant without having a frag maybe landed on the ground. But yeah, Trent gets the kill onto Shroud. Another one of those duels that's won here by Trent, who gets the second kill, but at least we get a plant down for Sentinels. The push forward coming out from Tense, spotting 2 players at Orange before he TPs back. A 5 versus 3, Poison, Viper's Pit available for Net on a retake if they want to, but he's still watching that flank while the rest are pushing forward. One start coming down here on the defense. It takes down Zelsis. It doesn't work out for the post plant. Tense is on his lonesome. 4 players swinging out. We get the defuse for the guard. And they're at map and series point.
And they're focusing Trent. They're still thinking ahead. This game is not one as close as it is. Nightfall is going to be on deck.
Iya, guardnya mainnya rapi banget. Sentinelnya bingung, Cok, jaga mana.
Incredible answers right now from the guard and what Sentinels is trying.
Semuanya kayak mau nge-kill, Cok.
They have the Sage Wall. It's instantly getting broken. It doesn't seem
to
be
be
providing much more than the few rounds of advantage it did. And now the guard has adapted. So they're continuously routing these strategies and combinations of utility that Sentinels want to use. And they just seem to be coming up short on the side of Sentinels now because the guard is answering so well on defense and retakes. A stack towards A mid here for the guard. You leave just Jonas PFP.
Iya. Ya ada sekarang dapurnya.
With 5
Astaga.
players looking to fight against them. We're not actually going for
Maju, Cok, Shazam tuh kita revive, Cok. Oi.
the contact first as we cleared out towards green.
Ayolah, revive lah at least, bro.
Ultimate's there for Dapper.
Jangan dipasang situ lagi sih, pasang ujung aja anjing.
Tahu anjing.
The wall, same wall. It's at a different plant though. They push forward. First time they've gone this far through their own wall.
And
Dappernya mati lagi.
But it's still Trent that's alive. Another player that's been prominent for the team. Tens finally gets another kill. 4 Sentinels onto Valen. Spike is down. Trent and the rest of the guard. I mean, Saya player is way too far back in 8 still. And as you mentioned it here, Riv, one of those moments where you're just pushing very quickly. Well, now, with the econ that they have, somehow they land that shot! But it's traded out here by Tens. Trent?
Ya,
Somehow a 2 versus 1. No way. Shazam only with the Guardian. Picks up here the second weapon of the Bulldog on the ground. We have it at halfway. He gets the headshot. It's a 1 versus 1. Recon guard out. We're still clicking on that clock. And now we get
nice banget.
The headshot coming in. And should I say the body kills for Shazam? The Red Bull clutch. And we stay alive for Sentinels.
Apakah masih ada harapan?
More than your IGL, top fragging, clutching, keeping you in the game. Shazam using it all. Because he has it. What a great play here. Showing a little bit of a touch towards the left side, which drew his opponent. Was able to get the 1v1 in the planter and find the same for the next one. An incredibly necessary play. It couldn't have happened any other way for Shazam there. And he keeps Sentinels in this series. Let's see what they have here now coming in around 23. Our first map went to overtime and Sentinels want this. They are so hungry. Saya player looking for some shots. Operators for both sides. 10 goes down. Saya player first blood.
Masih bisa nah gitu ya, kepake.
Tapi kalau dihidupin gitu ultinya masih ada nggak sih?
Ada.
Oh masih.
Ada deh.
Ini ready.
It seems like Sentinels don't really want to do too much until they receive information from the guard again. A little bit. Who's here? What are we facing? Any bit to favor or put the odds in their favor. We see the rotation now coming over from Dapper. Doesn't find too much of a flank. Remember, we got the res back in this one. That was the ultimate we saw focused from Dapper for the last 2 rounds. B is a hit again, and Sentinels are gonna try it.
Cakep gitu dong. Satu ngecek, satu udah jagain angle-nya gitu dong mainnya.
Akhirnya plannya di situ juga anjir.
Allowing Sentinels to get the plant down. Trent moving forward, slow orb flash, stuck inside the slow orbs as well.
Nice, Tens.
Sentinels on the post line. Tens, he's activated. Long have we waited.
Last round ya, antara menang atau
for the guard to try to go for the retake, so they're saving here. It all will boil down to the last round of regulation. Oh my God, Riv.
I cannot believe this is what we're getting out of this game. Like, again, the simulation, I'm so glad it hasn't blue screened yet or anything that we're living in, because this is surreal. Oh my gosh. Sentinels is going to bring it in with a full 5, too. A flawless round to bring it within 1 to tie Icebox versus the guard. Again, both teams bringing not new comps for the guard, but new, very new. In Sentinels for Zelsis and Shroud.
12 OT cok, let's go cok.
The organization behind them
Miskin ya?
and the guard adding Cupid after Masters 2. There's so many changes have gone through. Holy crap, this is the game that we get out of it. Absolutely amazing play coming out of both orgs.
Lawannya nggak pakai OP.
Pakai si ini pakai Tour de Force tar nih, saya player.
Saya kan tadi udah Tour de Force. Oh iya belum.
Ada cok.
Tadi si Tens ya.
Tadi Tens.
Because you have the TP activated, so the reaction time that was needed for Tens to get that
Last
kill
round
was
nih keluarkan semua
it.
ulti.
And now the total false comes out for the defense. Saya player has it ready.
Wah, Valinnya ada ulti cok, penyakit.
Actually spotted a few as well. As they fall back now for the guard. Time to play more passively.
Apa fednya?
Nice.
Dua guru terbuang. But we also have the null command for Valorant, so that's no utility to come out. At least for now, the nightfall, the flashes, everything is coming out right now for the guard. So early in this round, we have a great opportunity to reset now for Sentinels.
The 4-1 still being played on defense by the guard. They were hoping that came into play, and Sentinels will be able to choose the right one. This mid wall, once again, instantly cleared. Fowler's not going to make it through. Yeah, that wall is actually huge. The fact that it's solidified really starts to throw guard off and how they can rotate. Only one's going to be coming through. B's to play again, but the mollies, the play.
The push!
Jonah P goes down.
The headshot hit Jonah P, but then runs back into the molly because that stays on for so long. It's a 4-1 offshot missed by Tens. We're still moving forward. And we're staying back at least, trying to run that clock down for the guard. Dapper doesn't have that wall anymore because he used it towards mid. We have to wait for the toxic screen to come back up, but this is an opportunity for the guard to push forward. We have to spray through the wall.
Kelihatan Dapper.
The gun another shot from Saya player. Only 2 more to go. Tens and Shazam. No Hunter's Fury as Shazam needs to get the kill to activate it on a 4 versus 2. A 0 point comes out and Tens is posted with this off. Looking back.
Dapat Shazam. Nice.
For Saya player. They're going to get a kill. It's 2 versus 2. Now we're pushing forward on a 1 versus 1.
Sabar, jangan gitu. Nice.
Let's go. He gets the kill. We're going into overtime.
Anjing. Ah, ini baru nonton guys. Baru mulai nonton guys.
Ini baru match yang sebenarnya guys.
Ini baru nonton guys.
A clutch master of this series throughout.
Aduh, Dapper sih sayang banget sih.
We're going to overtime. The teams could not be pushing each other any harder to the max here. And it is the operator play. It is still Tens to come up with the plays
to make
sure we get there. The chamber, the jet, it doesn't matter.
Shazam ya, iya. Too much clutch ya.
We're in OT round 25. Let's do it.
Tens heard me, man. We talked about it. At some point in that second half,
Bangke viewer OT. Lu baca komen gue ya? Bangke viewer OT GGGG dari tadi sepi.
Padahal yang nonton banyak.
Nonton banyak ya, diomelin terus coy dari tadi.
Pas OT rame langsung.
OT rame loh. Tapi ini baru nonton nih, baru kayak nonton nih. Valorant baru seru ini.
You really can't believe what Tens and Shazam have done for Sentinels in the past few rounds. I mean, you have to think the guard is a bit shook coming into this first overtime round with what just happened, how close they came each time. And then you just have to take another breath and do it all over again. Sentinels, though, hungry. A huge push up here onto B. Not too much forward pushing by Sentinels. They're still getting the only read. What they see is what they get right now.
Oh, tuh caranya tuh. Ada batu lempar ke atas dikit.
0 point goes out.
Lu lihat tutorial YouTube aja, belum banyak.
Iya, tapi gue nggak setu ngapalin. Mereka mau retake kah?
But the slower and Snakebite also comes in from Sentinel, so a great way to delay. And now you know the execution is coming out from the guard on the attack, and it's Valid and Net at least opening up the first two. Shock Dart misses because of the smoke. Those damn Brimley smokes. He lands both of them on the ground, and now we get the plant coming in from Jonah B. And Shazam swings out for the kill. Shock Darts can do it. I'll do it with my gun, man.
Just enough to get the frag there. Set up for a 3v3 to end us up on this round of our first overtime. A slow rotation here. You can see the intention coming in from the side of Sentinels. They're letting Tens go as slow as possible before he meets with the team.
Chamber nggak bisa.
Nah, ini udah. Now or nothing.
Nobody wanting to peek. Nobody wanting to be the first one to go down. The shot misses.
Shroud!
Nice Shroud. Itu Shroud penting banget. Shroud penting banget.
Satu lagi. Shroud kill 4
Dibutin anjing.
Shroud berguna, Cok.
Wah, itu.
He may have been a bit quiet throughout this game on Icebox, but Shroud with the 4K once again popping off.
Akhirnya Shroud buktiin, Cok. Aduh, anjing udah kill 4 aja. Masih di bawah ya. Baru 2 digit anjing.
Itu dari 9 baru ngerasain 2 digit ya.
Iya, Cok.
Akhirnya ada gunanya, Cok.
Ayo guys.
Match here between Sen and Guard. Absolutely.
Definitely gonna be blasting some Drake music after this series with the hashtag blessed for sure, man. This is a great way to kick things off for the LCQ. And let me remind you once again, chat, that we have another series coming up after this, and that's FaZe versus EG. But before that, let's see the conclusion of this one. It's continuing to be intense as you talked about the guard potentially being shook here. No forward pushes. Look at how the 3 players are working towards mid. Jump spot, super passive towards
Ayo,
back game, looking to play the retake. The
Ayo,
only
satu
one
lagi,
that's
satu
really
lagi.
Kalem.
Walaupun attack agak susah.
Sentinels towards mid.
Kalem,
A
Cok.
contact mid play.
Vetnya dapat info ke base semua.
Nice. Menang ini.
Menang, Cok. Dapat.
No way, but we still have Trent in the back of the site and Trent.
Astaga, wallnya.
Konsepnya apa sih?
Kurang dalam, Cok.
Astaga. Alert towards mid doesn't work out. It's a player advantage back into the guard.
Aduh, Shroud, Cok. Kita percayain Shroud, Cok. Kita percayain Shroud.
Enggak anjir.
Sniper fatal dia mau dilewatin dikit gitu loh. Kasih space dikit.
Nggak bisa keulang, Cok, Shroudnya, Cok. Nggak keulang Shroudnya, Cok, GG-nya anjing.
It blew my mind. If I was Sentinels, I'd be like, why the hell are there 2 spawn looking through the Omen TP spot? Through Omen Playground. Why are there 2 there? Oh my gosh, the guard just mixing it up.
I even thought that was going to be one of those moments where Jonah P has been playing.
Dia udah mau menang loh, dia udah dapet ya.
Gets caught off guard by that one by Dapper, and that was going to be the nail in the coffin. But thankfully, the guard were able to trade back and fight back to show this double overtime. We're resetting things. That momentum that was built by Sentinels off that retake is now gone from how that round panned out here for the guard.
Dev yang benar.
2-1-2 across the map. Super default defense by Sentinels here. To make sure they have utility on each side that they can use to delay.
Apalah, tapi dia udah berjasa banyak.
1v1 duel. The same thing, really set up by the guard. They have taken this one patiently. I think we may be moving into the not want to lose phase of the game, where we may get a little bit hesitant on the plays. I would be very surprised to see a super fast play coming out here, but that's what we love. We love to be surprised. And just, it's going to be a waiting game right now eventually. We're down to 1 minute. I think everybody has cemented in place right now.
Dangerous position at the beginning of this round for Shroud, though. Because if he actually does get flushed out by a Prowler, by a Haunt, by a Recon, or anything, or should I say a 0 point, he's not the one that's going to be able to TP away. So you're going to have to run that snake bite onto the ground to run the delay, because you want to use 10s to look down towards under 2 from his positioning on the top of B. So that's on lock, at least for now. And the guard are looking to work towards A site at the beginning.
Kok di B? Dia mau nge-fake anjir. Tapi udah di wall, pas lihat wall. Lah ada wall.
Wow.
Already there. Remember that choke point really did him in last time, so they're going to make sure they clear out most of it.
Banyak banget, Cok, molly-nya, Cok.
Flash play to come through. Sentinels isn't ready for it. The wall goes down because of mistiming.
Molly-nya kebanyakan
beautiful flash from Valid as well.
Udah.
That's it. It's a 5 versus 2.
5-2.
Yeah,
But it's
how-
Shroud
it
and
happened
10.
so
Shroud,
quick.
Shroud and
alamak.
10.
Astaga.
Aduh, kena.
Tens.
Tens. Tens.
Looking back towards the 410.
Kalem,
70
kalem.
HP left, 10 bullets in the chamber.
Pelan.
Speaking
Tapi
of
susah
Chamber, he
Cok,
also
udah
has headhunt.
plan di sini tuh.
Molly set up by Jonah P just on the right there by Electric Box on your right. And
Molly-nya
happy
ada
to fire
berapa?
that out and
Udah
set up
habis.
for another one. Is he going mid or around? He is.
Eh.
Look at the rotation by Jonah P right now.
Chamber.
Oh, yeah.
He's laced up and sprinting mid after firing the molly. The ability to continue to delay.
Dia rotate ke kanan, pinter banget.
They have like a guarantee on this round. A 2-year guarantee right there. 14 to 13, the guard pulling into the favor now. And OT. Oh my gosh, game point. Let's go.
Ini gara-gara dapet Cok. Tapi udahlah, fatal sih.
Dia emang buka jalan tadi sih keburu Brimstone, tapi dia nutup jalan aja.
Iya.
Habis itu.
Aduh, dapet fatal Cok. Sayang banget. Udah gitu di sebelahnya ada lagi kan dari apa? Snowman ya bahasanya.
Dari seberang, iya.
Aduh.
Dan itu dapat 2 gara-gara nge-wall itu.
Terus jadi setak gitu padahal bisa main kemana.
Aduh. Udahlah nggak apa-apa, setidaknya nggak buat frag. Matinya nggak
Sampai
paling
round
banyak.
berapa bentar lagi? Sampai dapat 2 menang berturut-turut, guys.
Ah, penang. Coba gue liat tuh padang dulu bentar ya. Wah, terlihat rada mengantuk Mas Anang.
Udah miring kepalanya. Iya.
Kenapa?
Udah miring kepala lu gitu. Udah kayak nyari bantal.
Terus rame di Twitter. Iya sih. Ayo, fokus dulu, fokus ini.
And you can do the same thing at A. The guard is doing so good at identifying that negative space that they're not getting info from is where their opponents are. And they're using it so well. And Sens do the same thing with a bit of their comp with the KO and the Sova, so credit to both teams, but they're using it so well to dissect and take out
Tadi itu momen loh.
Jonah, 25, 24 frags. Everybody's getting deep into this one. Prowler made to start things off, and it looks like Tens is actually going to be on a solo mission.
Kayak gue yang nonton aja susah riset, apalagi mereka yang main. Ngerti gak?
Sekarang solo di GT.
Okay.
Dapat kah ini?
Kanan. Aduh, teleport dong.
Upshot missed by Saya. Player still has that TP available.
Ya.
Looking to swing back out, and this Aljon will probably confirm that it's time to go for the TP back.
You know they always hold for possible shots there. The wall goes down quickly. Dapper trying to set up defense actually against his own wall. The forward positioning is a must right now. They have to.
Apa sih konsepnya begini mereka?
Still a bit of hesitation on getting into the site from the
Wall
guard.
dulu tadi.
They want to know that Sen is just as committed, and here's the plant going down.
Wah, ini mic-nya di situ lagi anjir.
Dink indeed. Now the wall
Nggak
gets
tahu dia itu ada orang.
close.
Aduh.
Menurut oke lah.
What a bait by Trent.
Explode
How
nggak main.
crazy are gonna do that in overtime?
Nggak
Two
kuat tapi.
kills then come back from the guard. It's a player advantage now for the defenders for the retake. But like I said, it's still planet for long. We have good positioning right now from Sentinels. No more fragments, no more post-plant positioning.
selesai
And
mati
because
udah.
of that, players are falling
Aduh.
down.
Ente, Cok.
One more to go. It's Celsius with the kill.
Ya, dia salah nembak.
Looking for the spray.
Aduh.
It's back and halfway out with the classic.
Sumpah lah, plannya Sentinel ini aneh-aneh, Cok.
Kenapa nge-plan di situ, Bu? Menurut lu?
Ya mau coba yang beda dari tadi.
Asli, beda sendiri.
Rencananya tuh ya dari situ bisa di cover dari yellow gitu gampang.
Apa rencananya sih oke lah ya.
Rencananya
Kalau berhasil.
Rencananya tuh mereka jadi habis ngeplan mau mundur semua ke yellow gitu. Jadi bisa dari yellow, bisa dari apa itu namanya yang itunya tuh, yang 2 bijinya tuh. Itu rencananya mah. Tahu gua nangkep.
Kami butuh POV dari GH Sentinel, guys.
Telepon lah tuh. Mike. Mike.
Udah, Cok, ente nih, Cok.
Ente.
Nang udah selesai nih.
Iya, udah ente makanya. Ini hype bukan, ini Valorant. Kebaca lagi.
Yang Bang Pen main itu.
Nah, saya juga dapat.
Aku juga deh.
Marunya
Pasti,
mana sih?
komennya banyak gak guys? Bring back Sinatra guys. Coba kita lihat kolom
Coba
komen
nih.
dulu, guys.
Sentinel, GGWP, UJ.
Sinatra live soalnya. Sinatra live.
KD nangis gak guys? Kita cek KD guys.
Ya, Sinatra live pakai
Cakep, Cok.
PS.
Ih sakit pala KD guys. Tuh. Hilang wajah lucunya.
Kalau gua jadi Sentinel sih gua harusnya masih seneng sih sama.
Masih ini ya seat 1 seat 8 nih.
Iya, the guard-nya aja dibikin nih ngap buat lawan Sentinel. Ingat juga lo itu tim baru.
Bro, ada yang lucu nih bro, komen bro.
Apa?
Mas, aku belajar banyak dari game ini. Dari Shroud, aku belajar untuk memainkan knife.
Nah tapi kalau buat jiggle pick gitu emang enak pakai knife, Cok. Harus. Lebih enak aja bodinya sih.
Enggak biar cepat.
Kalian istirahat loh,
Lu
guys.
pakai senjata loncat ke kiri lambat.
Lambat iya.
Udah closing ya. CB kita nanti, Cok.
Wah, langsung turu juga lah sekalian.
Hah?
Langsung turu kan?
Iya, ini tidur gua.
Ya udah.
Yan, makasih Yan.
Yan.
Ya, thank you ya, thank you.
Istirahat dulu, Cok. Ya, Nang, makasih Nang.
Yuk.
Yuk. Aduh, ini lagi ngapain, Cok? Ada yang masih streaming anak BB? Yakin. Lanjut lo, wah, kuat guys. Tuh. Udah gak ada yang streaming emang? Itu udah Veresa sih.
Kalau FIFA lo anjir udah di HP.
Percaya gue sama gendut anjing.
Kalau mobile, Cok.
Ya kan? Ada apa lu mobile?
Cok.
Login tot.
Hah?
Tot.
Apa? Kamu suruh jadi gini dah?
Nanti di jalan anjing. Aku udah login nih, lobby aku dari tadi. Login tot.
Gigi lu anjing.
Gigi lu swing. Nggak jadi nih, yaudah kopi ya.
Nah,
goblok.
Ini sekalian tuh ke Karin masih streaming tuh.
Ini pernah ada anjir.
Ya, udah guys ya, mau tidur dulu. Ntar ketemu lagi kita Onyx. Kalian kalau mau lanjut nanti tuh ada Bertot, ada Peresa tuh katanya tuh masih streaming. Sana aja udah ke sana. Mau turu guys. Tuh ya. Ini ada Bertot, ada Peresa. Kalian bisa lanjut ke sana guys, jangan lupa di subscribe juga. Game 2 nonton di siapa? Dia aku ada replay itu ntar aku tampilin kok. Sabar. Begitu terus. Ngantuk banget. Oke. Kita seru-seruan nonton Onyx ya. Sekarang kita istirahat dulu guys. Semuanya adik-adik terima kasih. Buat yang mau beraktivitas silakan beraktivitas kembali. Kalau se-end live public, mau ngapain? Itu Abi aja, Cok. Gua kan gak subaton. Sayang PC. Ngantuk guys, ngantuk banget ini udah sakit badan, sakit kepala ini, wey. Oke. Go Pablo, sign out bro. Guys nggak nonton lah, ngantuk banget. Ngantuk. Bye bye guys. Turu, Cok.